Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a new episode of the X Button, Season 5, Episode 42. I am your host, Alejandro, with me, my favorite grumpy uncle.
Rick, how you doing?
Doing good. Here, ready for our grump session. This
Not today. Yeah,
yeah.
not well. Actually, never mind. Never mind.
Yeah.
The
Let's
one the
give
one thing's gonna make me pretty miserable. But
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, because like it's the time of the year now. But good to see you again, Rick. We're getting ready finally to get some well-deserved rest with Thanksgiving literally next week. I cannot believe that we're there now, literally.
I I can't believe it's taken this long. Thanksgiving is finally the first day of my 11-day vacation. That's counting weekends, but so yeah,
Ooh,
I
yeah.
got I have 4 days of work left
hmm
tomorrow, and then the next 3 days,
hmm
and then finally 11 days off. So
Yeah, that's actually nice. So it's gonna be like 11 days starting from Thanksgiving and bleeding into
yeah,
December.
that's counting Thanksgiving,
hmm
Friday, the weekend,
And
and then
then
the full
after,
next week. And then what's very nice about that is
hmm
after I go back on December 8th or whatever day it is,
hmm
I basically work 2 weeks and then I'm off the next two.
Okay,
Because
that's yeah.
I took the entire week of Christmas and New
hmm
Year's off. So
And
I have 2 full weeks off then.
and is this like allocated kind of like you have earned your vacation days and you decided to kind of like just
Yeah,
bleed them through?
I always backload it. Actually do in part because number one, I've always taken the week after Thanksgiving off,
hmm
but I usually couldn't take the week after Christmas because it usually was being taken up by other people.
hmm
When I moved into the position that I'm in now, I didn't really have to deal with that because it's more or less me on an island anyway.
hmm
Um, and it actually works out well this way because my customer tends to be very slow, if not outright closed,
hmm
for almost all of these too. They're a lot of the things they'd be buying for would be like people that are in
hmm
like unions and stuff like that. So the
hmm
union gives typically gives them the ability to be off.
Yeah.
So it works out that I'm like, hey, this is when I went off, and it actually works because the reality is I would be sitting there staring at the wall the whole time anyway. So
Yeah. Yeah, like to me, because Thanksgiving is not a break that's usual here. There's some
mhm.
people here in El Salvador that celebrate Thanksgiving because they're posers. Like we have
Well,
like
but when it comes to this, I mean, there's obviously Thanksgiving and then Black Friday, but there's also a very big element to this based
Mhm,
on where I live. So for those who don't
mhm,
know, I live in Western Pennsylvania.
mhm.
Western Pennsylvania is a very large hunting area. And
Ooh.
and hunting season starts like it might start next week sometime. I can't
Mhm,
remember, but a lot of people take off because they want to go hunting. So that's
mhm.
so again, that's why another reason why so
Yeah.
many of them are so slow and stuff like that during that
Yeah.
period.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, but for us it's like there's a few people that celebrate Thanksgiving as a just a symbolic thing of like they like the idea of what it represents of like let's give thanks for what's happened in the year and all that, but it's not
Mhm.
like a national holiday that happens here. We do have Black Friday. Unfortunately, that has been like really co-opted.
Of all things
Of all thing, yeah.
to absorb, yeah.
Dude, I have to say, I have to send you the first time that Black Friday was co-opted here in El Salvador back in
I
2011 by
I
one
think you did.
store.
Is
Uh,
it the one you sent yesterday or whatever?
yeah, it's not that.
Oh,
Because
okay,
yeah,
okay,
but that's also another funny one that one of these
yeah,
stores like, oh yeah, become a black gamer. It's that's kind of
yeah.
like what's so funny because it's like, why like they just take the black thing and just put it like on like Walmart is like, welcome to Black Walmart. I'm like, just out of context, it just sounds so stupid because you just think it's like, oh, because it's called black, that's gonna be symbolizing. I was like, yeah, welcome to this long extended period of sales of a sales period because it's not just Black Friday. Even though whenever we get to Black Friday, they do like a last minute, let's slash the prices even more. They promote and give you like this savings for an entire month.
Mm.
The entire month here is like black. Welcome to Black November.
It's not quite that much around
Mhm.
this way, but ever since COVID, they kind of have
Extended a little bit the.
adopted a more like yeah. It
hmm
used to be you had like Black Friday and then that weekend typically you would
hmm
have like your doorbusters, which was the crazy the psycho people that are trying to
Yes.
trample each other to
Trap-
death.
I love
Um,
those. I love those videos so
you
much.
would have them at the time like 4 a.m. to
Uh-huh.
11 or whatever time it was, depending what store it was. But then you would also usually have other sales that ran through the weekend. But now it's totally different. Now it's like
hmm
most of them open on Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
whether it's noon, 7 p.m., whatever, and then they usually run the sales all through the next week or two, sometimes even all the way through Christmas.
Yeah, online shopping has really ruined like
That too, yeah, that too.
the spirit of Black Friday because it's like only the psychos that still want to go like trample each other and all that for
Mhm.
like measly sales like actually go, but it's like online just makes it so easy. Like it literally
Mhm.
makes it so easy now that it's not worth doing, and because of online. they start sometimes telling you about the deals way ahead in advance because they can
Yeah.
have
Oh
like
yeah.
a
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
They don't hide their brochures anymore
mhm,
like they used to. I mean,
yeah,
they would leak every year anyway,
yeah.
but they didn't want them out until usually either Thanksgiving or the day before.
Hmm.
And but now they don't care. Now they just release it in like the beginning of November.
Yeah. The only thing I care about Black Friday for me of things that I want is I'm hoping, well, because I always go through the PSN sales. That's usually like where my Black Friday goes for me since I don't have a disk drive, so I don't buy discs for my PS5. I'm hoping for the Final Fantasy Tactics Ivalice Chronicle like a sale. That's been long and it's been like 2 months.
I can see them knocking 10 or 15 off for that
Yeah,
for
and I'd be
sure.
down because it's $50. So like just
Yeah.
knocking $10 would be like a sweet deal, especially with that deal that I got with Paul where we like split on stuff. So that makes things cheaper for me. Is why I'm still gonna be remaining subscribed for Game Pass because we share Game Pass together. So that $30 sub now it's 15 for me because we just do it half. So if it wasn't for that, it's like I don't know if I would have the amount of games that we usually get. Like it's a great swindle that I've kind of like got him in to try to like get in a bunch of stuff. But and I don't even know like what else I would like to get in sale because I did get Chronos. That was another one that I was looking and they did a Halloween sale where they
Right,
knocked it to
right,
$50. So that was
right.
$25 for me. So I was like, yeah, that's pretty nice for Chronos. What else is there that I would like to play for the year? I'm like, I don't know. Like,
Off the
it's
top of my head, the only thing I can think of that I'm going to be looking for is the one that's going to make your eye twitch. I'm going to be looking to see if Blades of what the hell is it called? Blades of
Let's a
Fire.
fire. Look,
Okay,
if it's
I'm going to see if I can get it for like 30 bucks. 30 bucks, I think is
yeah,
probably a good buy.
yeah, for cheap and knowing that because here's also the thing, Rick. Remember that I had to review that thing.
Right.
And the
I don't have to sit and do nothing but it for a week
exactly.
straight or whatever, which is the
Exactly.
difference.
That was a game that I just wanted to unalive myself because it was like it wouldn't end, and because I was like, I need to get this review done, even though
Mm,
like I made a part like that wasn't a game that I got super early. I just got code for it
mm,
relatively early, but we didn't get it early enough to be able to hit embargo. So some reviews had already gone out, but I still committed to the thing, and the thing just wouldn't end. And I
mm.
was like desperate to find people to be like, can someone that already reviewed this just put a fucking guide out? Because it's like I need to see because I cannot like I don't understand where I'm supposed to go. Like the level design of this thing is so ass and so dependent of those specific things that when you're like in the time crunch, I'm like running in circles, be like, where the frick am I supposed to go? It's like that,
I could see that
yeah,
absolutely affecting things for sure.
exactly. But then like you that because you don't have like you have the normie. I like to call it kind of the normie style that you don't force yourself to finish something that you don't have to.
I
You
have
just
the
like
most drop in, drop out perspective
exactly.
of anybody that's ever played a game.
Yeah, so if you can get that for 30 and the combat of that game is good. I even said in my
Yeah.
reviews the thing that I like the most, it just sucks that this great idea of a combat and a good visual style because I love the visual style of Mercury's theme from Lords of Shadows and all that. It's saddled in this dog shit story and an endless story too. This is like it sucks
Mm.
that it's like the good moment. It's like the perfect example that you get too much of a good thing where even the good thing starts losing its luster because it's too long for the amount of things that it gives you.
Mm.
But if for like what Ho said or at the big, I don't know if you heard, it's like someone should make like this thing where they do like a review of just the 10 hours because that's only the only thing that I will experience from a game, which is like the
I
weird.
might be the perfect person for that.
Exactly. So it's like I can
I might be the perfect candidate for that role.
exactly. It's like in that role, I can kind of see like you played that a little bit and you see this is kind of fire or there's something really good here because there is. It's just that
Uh, And
it's a
I
different
will say
context.
to somewhat suggest another channel, I guess it's not exactly what Hoog said there, but
Hmm.
it's a similar idea. There is a guy. Actually, I think Ains knows him. I think I've seen him mention him before.
Hmm.
They have a channel called 1H1D, which stands for 1 hour, one decision.
Hmm.
And the whole thing about it is
They play for
or
an hour.
they play for an hour and decide
Hmm.
from there if it's something they want to keep going with or not. And I
Hmm.
believe the whole gist is everything that they do this with is a Game Pass game. So
Hmm.
it's like, hey, that's I mean, depending what genre. I mean, if that's a JRPG, that's not exactly a useful metric to go
Uh-huh.
by,
Oh yeah.
obviously.
Oh
But
yeah.
if you are somebody who's like, I really want something to play, but I don't want to play something that's going to take 15 hours to get good, that's a pretty clever idea, I think.
It is because it's
Yeah,
like I actually witnessed it with my dad yesterday. He was a randomly he used to be a gamer. He stopped being a gamer for a while, and then yesterday he just got the bug to I kind of want to play something, and he was trying some stuff over in my PS5 that was in the living room, and I could literally see that whole thing of like
the
that
slow openings. Yeah.
slow openings, how quickly like that could lose him, and all that. It's like that is so true for so many people. It's like
Mm,
that's a very big epidemic that happens. It's like it's a lost art, like a game that
mm,
just immediately. knows how to grab you instead of like just slowly like
Mhm.
it's why the original Last of Us is so brilliant that way. Within
Yeah.
30 minutes, you're like so invested in that thing, and it's like that's
And then they immediately did not do that in the second one.
exactly.
I mean, there I love it. I love the opening,
Yeah.
but it takes a little while to get going. It's like 2.5 hours till the game really gets moving.
Exactly, and that was like by design too, because he
Mhm.
needed to set up a longer
Mhm.
motivation. Whereas the other one at least just was more attention seeking. It's like we're being
Right.
serious. It was Naughty Dog's first M-rated game, and they wanted to hit
Right.
you with that punch. It's like that's like so rare to get a game that starts that fast. I feel the three Insomniac Spider-Man games, all three of them start really good. Like,
Well, yeah, they because every one of them starts with some big set piece. Unfortunately, in the
yeah,
case of Spider-Man 2, then it freaking dies for
exactly.
the next
Yes.
5 hours.
That's kind of like the worst part about like 2A.
Yeah.
That one has probably the most exciting one because that massive spectacle with the
Yeah,
Sandman
the
thing,
opening to that was the best of the three,
and
I
then it
think.
just and then it
Yeah.
just like pumps the brakes
Oh,
so
yeah, yeah, and then
spectacularly
the
hard.
floor falls out on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas the other ones had like excitement, but the momentum kind of like
Yeah.
yeah. That's something that when I did my spoiler cast with Paul, because that was he was having a hard time explaining why he didn't like the Sandman intro compared to like the camping one until much later he elaborated that it's like that slowing down afterwards like what made it hard because like you elevated my
Yeah.
excitement so much.
Oh, yeah.
Now I feel like I'm
But
waiting for that high again, and then everything is so hard to like just grasp when there
when
was
I was
nothing to
first
grasp.
playing it, I'm like, oh man, this is going to be a very strong contender for Game of the Year.
Hmm.
And then I was like, I take that back. It's not going to be at all.
Exactly, because you're like,
It
um,
takes so long for anything good to happen again. I
yeah.
don't want to say that because the reality is I do like the downtime stuff too,
Hmm.
but it's like it was really badly paced.
Yes.
It was really badly
Especially
paced.
for a series that already had criticism that some of the
Yeah.
downtime was a little too downtime for such a
Yeah.
fast-moving game. They crammed all the slow time like from the very start.
Mm.
It was like I remember the first night I played that game because I was like playing when I got to the bicycles. I almost fell asleep.
See, I actually don't mind the bicycle, but
Yeah.
everybody else does.
I,
Um,
I was playing late at night when I was playing because I was like the high. I
yeah.
was like, but then when I was playing, I was like, oh, it's one of these sequences. It's a flashback that reminds me of Uncharted. I mean, I like the Uncharted 4 flashbacks, but I mean, I already felt the high die down at night, and I was like, no, no, I'm turning this off. I'm playing this tomorrow, and then I played Mario Wonder for an entire day that day, and then an
Mm.
entire day that day afterwards. But yes, like that's a lost art. So it was funny seeing that from my dad, and
Mm.
not a bad idea that whole thing with 1 hour a day because it's like some games nail that immediate attention grabbers, other games just absolutely fail at it, and then excuse themselves. And then those games are
Mm.
still great, but some people just don't have the time, and at the time economy is so
Oh yeah.
it's so valuable now. But enough of this long preamble because we have a few things to talk about because this is the X Bottom Podcast, Escapes Gaming Podcast that posts every Friday from 10 a.m. onwards. God willing, available on the YouTube channel Escape Gaming as well as most audio services around the world, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and the like. You can find links in the RSS feed at 10yearold.com/escape gaming. If you enjoy our show, give us a like and subscribe. Last week already. I'll just have to apologize for the erratic upload schedule that my upload speed at this apartment has completely fucked over for the podcast. I have now gotten a slight internet like improvement because I demanded it because I was like, this is utterly unacceptable. This is like fucking up my what I'm doing, and they up my upload speed at least to 30. So by with this week's episode, I feel we're finally gonna realign the schedule again to where it's been because just been like past delays. Like the last three episodes have just gone out late. So sorry about that. But this is the last. This is gonna be the last episode. Is gonna be posted delayed, and from there, like until we finish the season off on December 12th. But and next week because of Thanksgiving, no episode. We're taking a week off for that.
And don't forget, it's up to you. And then,
Mhm.
I don't mean to put you on the spot just because we're on the thing, but
Yeah.
if you want, I can the following week episode. I can do it whenever you want. I know it would be an off week for me, but if you want the
Hmm.
three of us together, I'll
Yeah.
be off, so I can do it.
Yeah, Paul was gonna tell me that he was gonna negotiate because there's like some company holidays that may give him a swindle out that he will be able to swindle out to kind of be at home. So we'll schedule it with him. But
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
mean,
let.
even if you got to do it at a different time, I mean,
Hmm.
if not, that's okay. I was just
Yeah.
letting you know I can. If you want to have
Hmm.
kind of a last hurrah with the three of us,
Exactly. Yeah.
I can do whatever.
Yeah, because I definitely want. I already kind of gave the plan for next year with the last episode that I recorded with Paul about us switching to the live stream to not get through this upload problems again, and my speed has worked for like the dual streaming at the very least, and streaming has been going. I still stream there. Stream less this week. The streaming every day right now is like that takes more than people realize. That takes a lot of mental energy too. But Rick, time to talk about games that we've been playing. Since you only have one, I'm gonna start with you because this
Well,
is like an
actually,
update.
why don't you do me last? Because it almost functions as a news story as well.
Okay, then
So why don't you go over your games first, and then I'll just talk
all
about
right.
mine.
So it is another November, and it's time to talk about Call of Duty. I got to review Call of Duty Black Ops 7. I submitted my review yesterday. It should go live at any point. By the time that you listen to this week's episode, the review should be up. I gave it a 6 out of 10. And for a context, like it's an entire package review. I was thinking if I was gonna do like in the like if everyone goes to IGN, they started
Mm,
adopting that they review every piece
mm.
of the package now
Which I
separately.
actually think is a good way to do it because
Mhm.
if you're buying it for one reason, it tells you if it's a good
Yeah.
purchase for that reason or
So
not.
I was wanting to do that, but it was gonna be too many articles, and I have a real life and a real job too that I do too. So the time wasn't there. So instead, what I did was I consolidated what I would have done in three separate writings into that one big review. But I did give individual scores to every section. I separated like in the three sections, so
Mm,
campaign, multiplayer, and zombies. And I put at the bottom of each section, if I were just to score this, this would be this. If I were to be scored, that would be this. And then when you see the bottom, the bottom score, it's basically an average of the three scores that I gave. That's kind of like where I
mm.
landed. I was like, okay, if I said this and all that, I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna give the score that basically just puts it all together. Even though a lot of people are like, you shouldn't score based on math. Fuck you. I'm gonna score it for math in this way. So to our context, I've been reviewing like for season game. I've done the last three Call of Duties. Modern Warfare 3, I gave a 5. That was like one of the worst ones that they've ever
Yeah,
put out.
that's pretty in line with what most people gave it, I think.
Exactly, because and it makes sense why it scored pretty low. It was an expansion that Activision enduring because the deal for the ABK deal kept like getting extended,
Mm,
and they didn't know if it was gonna be approved because they're already getting kind of like a little science. Because remember, it was like the UK block, the FTC suit, and all of that. So it was like there was a point where that deal was not gonna make it through until the EU kind of were the first ones to give the go ahead. Uh, what was going to be Modern Warfare 2 DLC, they said no, it's going to be like a full on game for to the chagrin of poor Sledgehammer Games because they've been like so royally fucked
they
by
keep
the
getting the
press.
wrong end of the stick, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
they built the last two Call of Duty games that they built. They've been on the shortest amount of time
Yeah.
possible, and it sucks for them. And that
Yeah,
was like probably
they
the
had
worst.
something like 7 months to make the campaign to that game.
Yeah, and you can literally tell because there's four missions in that campaign that feel like a nice Call of Duty campaign, like in polish and all that, and
Mm.
then the rest was, oh yeah, let's
It was the
bring.
Warzone map, yeah.
It was a more Warzone
Yeah.
map. It was like, and it was like you can finish it in 3 hours, so you can definitely tell that it
Mm,
was like cobbled together. And another reason that you can see that it was cobbled together, they literally the map offerings for the multiplayer for that game was literally just hey, let's
mm,
bring all the maps from 2009's Modern Warfare 2
mm,
and like, put them in the thing. So it was like they copied pasted it into the new engine. And zombies, it's like, oh yeah, the first open world zombie was like, it's literally Modern Warfare 2's DMC mode with zombies in it. So
mm.
you could see how that package was so cobbled together. I feel bad for them, but it's like they still put it out for $70, so you don't get a pass for that. And you could
Well,
definitely tell
they don't get to decide that. Activision picked that,
exactly.
but yeah,
Exactly. But it's like that's the package that they put out, and it got
mm,
reviewed accordingly. At that
yeah.
point, people were like, the analyzation of Call of Duty is just you can see that the well-oiled machine is like losing its like the
I
machine.
genuinely believe that was the game that started the current downward trajectory. I know last year's game was
Mhm.
good,
Yeah,
but you can see that they have lost the grip. They've lost the iron grip on the fan base.
yeah. No, they totally did because like
It was a mistake to do what they did. They should
mhm.
have stuck with the original plan
Yeah,
instead
of
of
just
trying to
doing
get
DLC.
greedy.
Yeah, of just doing the
I think they may have shot themselves in the foot by doing that. But
because
yeah, you
it's
continue.
yeah because I'm doing this whole preamble because Black Ops 7 is sadly
Works.
yeah, it's worse in spots. There's
Yeah.
parts of the package that survive the compressed time because here's kind of like where they basically set this year's entry like to just lose because remember it was like Black Ops 6 first one under Microsoft. The ABK deal was done. Oh look, we have given them extra time for them to like to give you a really solid one. And to be fair to Black Ops 6, that one did get the full 4 years for Treyarch
Mm.
and Raver Software to.
That said, if Microsoft said they gave them extra years, they're lying because they didn't
Exactly,
own them for that
exactly,
time.
exactly. But they use that PR. They kind of use that
Right.
PR to like because technically like Black Ops 6 was supposed to come out in 2023, but because of development woes
Mhm.
of Cold War, they needed the extra time. That's why they were gonna do DLC for Modern Warfare 2 to kind of like, and that was done and that was planned by Activision. You can go read the Jason Schreier reports around when ABK deal was first announced in 2022. That was like always in the cards, but they basically took the PR win. It's like we now own them, and now we're gonna like steward this back into quality. And to be fair, Black Ops 6, I would say, of the modern PS5 Series X era of the franchise, is probably the most well-rounded package in the solid campaign, solid multiplayer, and solid zombie modes. Like
Mhm.
a lot of the packages has been like campaign has been crappy, multiplayer hasn't been has been
Right.
good, but not the like it's like Call of Duty used to be like a solid like 3 tier package, and then that balance have been started to being lost. Like the longer the series has been going, like and Black Ops 6 was like okay, cool. It's like with extended development time that you gave them, it feels very solid. I like the campaign a lot. I would say it's like one of the better campaigns that they have put out. It just fumbles its ending at the end. And that's pretty sad because it's like a better Cold War camp or like the ideas that they were toying around with Cold War are better fleshed out in that campaign, but the story's worse because it's like
Mhm.
it just gets so messy and it just feels very incomplete near the end. Whereas Cold War, it made you could see like they were cooking something. They built that campaign really quickly, but at least they had solid ideas. They're like you're trying something here. The story is actually really cool. I'm hoping that
Yeah,
you're able to
Cold
flesh
War,
out.
they actually did genuinely try some new things. I
Mhm.
like the whole like finding like the collectibles actually mattering to what's
Uh-huh.
going on. Like
It's
I thought that was a cool thing.
and that's
Especially since
still
like the whole idea was you were trying to piece together some
hmm
mystery. So
Yeah,
I thought that was a cool idea.
and that's back in Black Ops 6 plus more stuff because
Mhm.
and even more variety. I would say like from the variety standpoint, Black Ops 6 is one of the most varied campaigns where no other mission you play is similar to the other one.
Mhm.
It's all a new idea, and I feel that's actually pretty good to kind of keep it fresh. And it was lengthier too. It's just near the end that it kind of like loses the plot when it starts like going in the usual Black Ops batshitness of like it's all on the mind and things like
Right,
that.
right.
Which
All the sleeper agent stuff. Yeah.
Yes, which takes us to Black Ops 7 that basically is like hey, what about we just make the entire campaign the biggest asset trip of all time, where we just straight up go for like the nonsense of like going into the mind games and all of that. And the way we're gonna do that is stitch together the multiplayer, Warzone, DMC modes, and zombies into a sorry excuse of a campaign. um, Immediately when Black Ops 7 was announced as the one more thing, by the way, people remember this was the one more thing at the Xbox showcase this
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
This was the game that Xbox is like, oh yeah, it's like what's gonna be like their big punch then? Oh yeah, the annual entry to Call of Duty, Black Ops 7, made by the same team from last year's game. After you had told us that you gave that team a lot of time to do
But
that,
yeah, that already should have been a bit of a red flag for a lot of
yes,
people.
and immediately the PR was like, "Don't worry." It's like we planned Black Ops 7 at around the same time as Black Ops. We have had the exact same amount of development time for those. So don't worry. It's like this one has been cooking for a while. I
Yeah.
would say you watch that campaign. That's a big fucking lie.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like it's absolutely it's a big fucking lie in every way possible because like everything that was bad about Modern Warfare 3, like in those like open combat sections, basically Modern Warfare like Black Ops 7 has just embraced that
Mm.
tenfold. It's like it's multiplayer matches. It's called co-op campaign if you log in, and you like you had the chance to play by yourself by disabling matchmaking. Don't do that. This
Yeah,
campaign
yeah. You
is
really can't do it by yourself, is what
yeah,
I heard.
it's
Yeah.
borderline hostile to anyone that wants to play it solo,
Yeah.
because it's like you cannot pause. There's no like a mid-game saving. Like if you decide to quit a level,
There's not even any checkpoints, which is
yeah,
insane.
there is. When I started reading
I
that, I
heard
was
there
like,
wasn't.
yeah,
Okay.
it's like there is no mid-level. I'm gonna exit. I'm gonna
Mm.
load in back to a checkpoint. That's what's true. But I died a couple times, but I was checkpointed in
Oh,
specific
okay.
points. So, but it's the whole before in Call of Duty, you could do like a save and quit, and it would save you at your specific checkpoint. You can pick up from there, no matter when. That's no longer here because this behaves more like you are within multiplayer. You're gaining XP for the multiplayer too. When you're like killing enemies, you get the plus 10 and the plus points, and like you get when you're like XP building because everything is kind of like homogenized now. together. The story, my thing with Black Ops 6 was that Cold War, at the time felt like, okay, are you just gonna ignore Black Ops 2 and just do like a new start from Black Ops 1 because Woods was back, Mason was back, and they added Russell Adler, which was that Robert Redford looking dude.
Mm, mm,
Um, so it was like, okay, I feel you're doing the same thing you did with Modern Warfare 2019, where it's like you're using the same characters from the
right,
2007 game, but it's like a new story.
right,
Black Ops 6 was like, oh no, you're retrofitting now the original Black Ops 2 story, at least the past section, and you're trying to retcon it and make the new stuff work. I'm kind of glad that you feel like you have more to tell with an already established narrative because it's like it's the sixth game. So I'm like, okay, cool. I think that's kind of cool. I want to see where your ideas take you, especially like in the time zone that you're playing it. And this game, they set it up in the future storyline of Black Ops 2, the David Mason stuff, like the futuristic, like the drone, like post Raul Menendez death. If you decide to kill him, because that game you had the choice to either kill him or
right,
not, they basically
right.
canonized that the choice that you picked was that he died.
Mm.
Uh, and then he's like, oh yeah, but somehow there's a video of him that's back. We have to figure out why. And then you just figure out, you just find that this this organization that just wants to like send the entire world on the biggest acid trip with this hallucinogen called the Cradle. Which, by the way, Black Ops 6 deals with a hallucinogen, it has hallucinogen too at the end. So it's like, oh, so you're basically telling the same story. Kind of my theory is that the original Black Ops 6, maybe like I could think of maybe the original version of whatever they were planning to do that campaign was a dual storytelling, because why are you telling the same story?
Yeah.
Like literally in the future, like in the next game. Probably what happened was like, nah, let's just stick to the past because the past is the part that people like the most about Black Ops 2. That's like the most memorable parts. I kind of tell you like the wood section in Panama where where spoiler, he kills Mason and he gets his
Mm.
kneecaps blown off, and Roman Menendez just like slits the throat of uh Ed Harris's character.
Hudson,
I forget
Hudson.
Hudson.
Yeah.
So it's like that's like when people think of that campaign, they remember those parts more than the future stuff. So they probably were like, let's just double down on the past and let's leave whatever we're planning in the future. But it's like, oh, we got to do another campaign. Let's just set the other one in the future, because it's like it has nothing to say. It's the exact like it's playing out the same. It's like we have to stop this organization from throwing this like hallucinogen thing, and then that entire story just becomes, hey, remember the prison level of Black Ops 1? Hey, remember the Battle Los Angeles thing of being in China and Black Ops 2? It's like it's kind of like running through the exact same scenario, but like with the mind bending of like the world is kind of turning around,
Mm.
and you're fighting zombies or zombified enemies as you're doing that, and they have like uh, health bullet sponge. Like every enemy in the campaign of Black Ops 7 is a bullet sponge. It's the most
And,
boring
and the
thing
thing about that is such a fundamental misunderstanding of what
of
your
Call of
audience
Duty.
wants.
Yes.
If you want to make a campaign,
Hmm.
whether it's, I mean, it's obviously not mil sim, it's nowhere near that,
Hmm.
right? But the reality is people want a military game. They
Yeah.
don't want a zombie game.
Hmm.
They don't want uh, to fight a fucking 80-foot tall Michael Rooker.
Exactly.
Like
Or a Frank Woods that turns into three-headed plant. A plant
yeah,
Woods if you
like
want.
nothing about that is what you should have. If you want to do that was like as a zombie maps, you know, so
Uh-huh.
be it. It makes
Yeah.
sense there, right? It
Mhm.
does not make any sense in the campaign of Call of Duty. None.
Exactly. And I'm like, if you want to do a zombie campaign, then make call this game
Right.
Call of Duty
Right.
Zombies and do it that way. But it's like it's
Right.
them trying to like swindle everyone into
Black
being like,
Ops is the
Black
big
Ops.
name now, so just keep Black Ops.
Exactly.
Keep it Black Ops.
Yeah, it's like
But
it's just I will say this. It gets so bad in like how ridiculous it gets that I would say like it gets so bad it's good. And this is so bad it's like you can get a good laugh at just how bad it gets. And I could imagine there's a version where you bring three of your friends, pop a drink, start talking shit, and just watch this like if you were like Mystery Science Theater 3000, where you're just playing this to make fun of just how utterly ridiculous it gets. I
mm,
appreciate the commitment that if they went so ridiculous, they just went so all out of just when you. I do love how a lot of people have caught a lot of this campaign just by random clips that they've seen on Twitter where they're like,
mm,
"What is this?"
yeah.
And it's just like in that way it can be funny, but at the same time I find that so incredibly sad because
It's
like
terrible.
it's
The,
absolutely
the
terrible.
the reality is for the longest time,
Mhm.
up until really the Modern Warfare 3 reboot,
Hmm.
even when they were not good, their
Hmm.
campaigns were at least serviceable.
Yes, yes, that was Modern
Right?
Warfare 2 2022. Hmm.
And you had some that were truly great. You
Hmm.
had some where people were like, "Yeah, I'm even going to play the campaign of this," but you had some where people were like, "Yeah, I don't care," but it was still worth playing.
Hmm.
It's like we are not even at that stage anymore.
No.
Like Modern Warfare 3 and now this one,
Hmm.
we're at the point. It's like, man, if you're in it for the campaign, you better wait just so you know if it's something you want to,
Yeah.
like I'm almost glad that I used to keep buying them, and I'm like, God,
Hmm.
I'm paying a lot of money for something that's like 4 hours long.
Exactly. Yeah. And it.
And I want to say, I think Modern Warfare 3 was the first one that I was like, yeah, never mind, I'm not going to bother with this anymore. And I'm like, you
Mhm.
know what? With the way it's going, I'm gonna keep not bothering with it anymore.
And here's also kind of the thing that sucks because it's like after Modern Warfare 3, I was like, I'm glad this thing's gonna be on Game Pass because at least I'm
Yeah.
usually a campaign guy, so it's like I'm gonna have like a cheap way to buy in into the parts that I want and then just die with the multiplayer and just bounce because I'm not a year-long Call of Duty player, but like I played all this soccer since 2005, since the 360 launch. Like it has been such a constant in my life for like what November and December is for my gaming time that it just feels like a cozy blanket to just kind of play a Call of Duty. It's like I'm gonna play a couple hours of the multiplayer, whatever co-op mode it is, and go through the campaign. I usually enjoy them as if it's a quick. I want to beat something that's gonna be well produced, has fun, spectacle, and things like that. That's what Call of Duty had become. That when Modern Warfare 3 was so bad, I was like, I'm glad that Game Pass is gonna be my way to like get in. And then last year was like, oh, now it's $20. Okay, that's still
Mhm.
like it's a $70 package. It's like I hate that they raised the price because it's clear they did it because of Call of Duty.
Mm.
And then now this year it's now $30. It's like
Yeah, they're
yeah,
not exactly justifying that price increase, are they?
exactly. So it's like and now when the quality has gone down, like you can go look at the Open Critic. It's so funny because when the thing came out, there were a few reviews up, including from the notorious Xbox era that they gave it a 9
I was gonna
because
say I have come across two places that were giving it good reviews. That was one.
mhm,
I was gonna try not to name drop them, but
yes.
the other one I'm not gonna name drop.
Hmm.
But and I haven't read the reviews. I can't tell you what their review is.
Hmm.
However, I follow the guy who I believe wrote the review
Hmm.
on Twitter, and for a long time he was Battlefield 6. He's been saying that he was a Call of Duty guy,
Hmm.
and I saw him going to the absolute defense squad of this, and I don't just mean the
Hmm.
multiplayer.
Yeah, just the entire package.
I saw him saying, "Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people talk about the campaign. It's fine, guys, relax." And it's like, no, dude, it's
No,
clearly not.
no,
Like
it's bad.
you
It's
and
bad.
Xbox Era are the only ones who are saying the campaign is good.
Yeah,
The only ones.
the only thing that you can give them with the campaign is that okay, you can look at the campaign of Black Ops 7, look at Black Ops 6, and seeing that it was from the same developer, and they couldn't be more different.
Yeah.
If your entire base is like at least they tried something different, that's like the only thing that I can give it kudos for because
Mm,
technically yes, because like yeah, it's like these campaigns are nothing alike both from aesthetic and even in its design, but different is not the same as good.
right.
And the worst part is that I would have accepted if it was different if I didn't clearly see the multiplayer mechanics, the Warzone mechanic, the Warzoneification of Call of Duty that's been happening over the last few entries, ever since Call of Duty has become Call of Duty HQ. That has homogenized the entire line. There was at least something that was like so unique about depending on who was doing a Call of Duty. It was like, oh, this is Modern Warfare's time. Okay, they might do something interesting aesthetically with the multiplayer. Oh, it's Treyarch's time. They might do something interesting with the campaign and the zombie mode and do some weird movement that's not in the other ones. And then when you went to
Mm.
Sledgehammer, it's like, oh, this is gonna be the most visually arresting one out of the three because they like you can play Vanguard. Vanguard is a visually stunning game.
Yeah.
Like it
Vanguard
just
had, I mean, for as much shit as it gets, it had a lot of good set pieces too.
oh yes, and that one was just cobbled together really quickly, and it was a
Yeah.
World War II game
Yeah,
that
so people don't like World War II. That's why everyone shits on it.
exactly. Yeah, it's like, and I mean, Battlefield didn't even escape that. People love World War One, but as soon as they went back to World War Two and Battlefield 5, people are like, nah, boring, get out of here. And people said they wanted World War Two in Call of Duty, and then World War Two just kind of came and went. It was just something that
Yeah,
people.
meanwhile, now again, I want to be clear. This is speaking solely of the campaign. That
Mhm.
game had a great campaign,
Yeah.
actually.
Oh
It
yeah.
really did. It had a great campaign.
It was the last time that Sledgehammer was given time to
Hmm.
actually do it. It's just that it's like it's sad for them because they wanted to do Advanced Warfare 2, but their reaction to Advanced Warfare and the fact that we got three futuristic Call of Duties like back to back soiled any desire, and we're like, hey guys, can you do something other?
Also, the headlining actor didn't help things either.
Yep,
It was what's his name?
Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey. Yeah,
Yeah, even though he dies at the end of that campaign, but it's like
yeah.
the reputation of that campaign dropped more after All
Yeah,
that
because
came in space, if at all.
it was only a year after that game, I think, is when all the
Yeah.
shit with him happened. So like
Mhm.
you couldn't really separate the two.
Exactly. So it's like so they basically drew the short end of the stick,
Yeah.
but they were giving enough time. That's a fully featured game. I don't
Mm,
think people look back on it fondly, but at the time it was like Activision read the market, they did market research, said people say they don't want futuristic stuff. Let's turn it back to World War II. But yeah, with this one, it's like going back to the futuristics. I didn't mind that it was gonna go to the futuristic side. It's just that this is why you don't play the PR game last year of saying how much time you've given someone to do a game
hmm
and then go the next year, do an immediate number follow up with the same developers and me not
hmm
notice how you're cutting corners to do this
hmm
stuff. But there's also a reason why I didn't score this too low too. Because the multiplayer compared to Modern Warfare 3 is fully featured. It has 18 maps, 16 of them original ones. They brought three. That it's just
That's
actually
fair. Yeah,
it's,
that's a good
so
number.
it's like new ones. It's like 15 new ones, three ones that were from Black Ops 2, like and repurposed into like the new. So it's three from Black Ops 2, and a full smattering of modes. They added a new 20 versus 20 like big team mode that wasn't there in Black Ops 6. It's not the ground war, the 100-person ground wars that were in the Modern Warfare games, but it's like they have added stuff. I feel they have done some changes in the multiplayer that can be seen for the better. Call of Duty since Modern Warfare 2019 added tactical sprint, so you know they start running and then if you click, then you start like sprinting more. So it's like that started affecting the way that they were designing maps, that they were making flow like the flow of the way you were doing flow, because by adding tactical sprints, why slide cancel and all that, it started to become a thing with the meta, and a lot of people are playing that, and because those games were also played with skill-based matchmaking too. It's like if you're wanting to play super sweaty, you're always playing a sweat fest no matter what you were doing, and
Oh
that
no, you were playing against people who were your same skill level. What a
exactly
horrible idea.
exactly. But it's like the community had been screaming because skill-based matchmaking wasn't there in Call of Duty before
Right.
until Modern Warfare 2019. And that's
Right.
been like a constant
Yeah, and you know what you always
cry.
had? You always had people that were 50 and 1
Uh-huh.
and people who were 1 and 30. So
Exactly.
it's like if you like those or like that, you're
Uh-huh.
dumb. I don't know what more to tell you, you're dumb.
Exactly. So this is the first year that they relented and finally were like, oh, this year we're experimenting with the open matchmaking. So you're gonna be matched with anyone, and it definitely feels like older Call of Duty where you're gonna get it. You never know what you're gonna get into whenever you go into those matches. Thankfully, because I'm more of a middle of the road Call of Duty player, I wouldn't consider myself a pro. My brother would be a pro. I'm also not a casual. I feel like it's been a net negative, a net neutral for me, and like in the quality of matches. I'm like, I feel I'm getting the same amount of. Oh, this was a close match. Oh, we just got curb stomped here. Um, and I feel like that's so dependent on the player. I've heard people, oh yeah, I'm getting absolutely decimated. Oh, this works well because I'm now like can just clown on people. So it's like depending on who you are, this is a change that I don't know how it's gonna be received because I know the people that were pushing most for eliminate the skill-based matchmaking were the streamers, were the high-end players, like
Surprise.
Shocker. Yeah, so it's like that's I wouldn't put that as a positive or negative, but I would say the one positive is them eliminating tactical sprint because now that has to be a perk that you enable. And if you enable tactical sprint, your normal movement and even normal sprint movement is even slowed down. It's like it's if it has leveled the playing field even more, despite the fact of adding like a wall jump now. That I feel like it's a nice change. Be like, oh yeah, Call of Duty works better when it's not just a tactical sprint niner. Because Black Ops 6 was positively received early on because of the Omni movement, where it's like you can sprint in 360 degrees, and that added an extra smoothness to every movement you miss. Like you really didn't realize how nice it is to start like aiming down the side and then slowly the character be like slowly leaning because all the movement is so smooth. Because then when you go back to older Call of Duty, you could feel the stiffness of not having the 360 movement. But then because there was tactical sprint and all of that. It's like people were doing like all the John Woo, like let's do the big slide down and kill, and it just
Yeah.
became like so sweaty that it's like at a certain point, it's like after the launch period, it just became unenjoyable.
Mm,
And so far, I feel what they've done is like Omni movement is still there. The smoothness is still there. They have not like walked back that innovation, but this abstraction makes the multiplayer feel slightly better. And the maps, I feel they have a last year I liked 8 maps and I didn't like another 8. They had 16. I was like, okay, I like half of these at least. But then the other half were like 3 of these are too big. Omni movement works shit because it's like a camp fest, and these other ones are like so tiny that is like you're just basically spawn camp killed all the time because everything's so fucking tiny. I haven't found that problem this year. So it's like okay, cool. It's like I don't hate any map. I also can't tell you a single thing about it. Everything kind of blends together. So it's like at least I don't hate them, but also I don't have my standouts too. So it's like again like balances.
Mm.
So if I were to score the multiplayer by itself, it's like a 7.5. It's like okay, this is still. It's like it's not as groundbreaking as last year with the Omni movement. They have added stuff, taken stuff out that I still don't know if they're good, like additions and all that. So I cannot say that it's like a net benefit better, but it's at least net. And it's still like in the multiplayer side, it's still good. The zombie mode, which is never like something that I play quite often because like every time that you play the zombie mode at start, it's so bare bones because like they
Mm.
have the one map and it's a mode that always like in a year's time gets great because like you then have all the you have all the offerings. There's kind of like variety.
All
Last
kind of
year
new
on
crazy weapons and stuff
mhm,
too.
exactly and with this one compared to Black Ops 6, this is the one area of the package that I would say, okay, they're starting in a slightly more robust place. Last year they only launched with one map, and then you needed to wait till season one to get the second map. They
Yeah.
launched with two. A big one called Ashes of the Damned, and a small one at the farm. The big one's actually really interesting because like you have to fix a car, and you can kind of drive the car in kind of like a bigger map. And it's like, oh, it reminds me of a Black Ops 2 map that you had a train that you had to kind of log in, but that train kind of took you. It's like it's taking that, but now you're the one that's kind of driving it. And then there's the Easter eggs for the psychos that love finding Easter eggs. I've never been that person, but that's the map where you kind of want to be in. And then the farm map, it's your usual small survival map. It's like let's see how far we can squeeze surviving as many rounds as possible here. At least you're starting with two, and the top-down Dead Ops arcade is back. Like the one that started with the original Black Ops. The last time they did that was in Black Ops 3, the twin stick shooter top-down thing. So it's back here,
I
and
don't
it's like
remember that at all.
yeah, they've done. It was called Dead Ops.
Mm.
They did it three times, and then after Black Ops 3, it disappeared. So they brought it back. They brought it back with this one. So already the zombie mode, just from looking at last year's, like okay, cool. You're starting like with more stuff in this mode than you did last time. And last year there was the promise of oh, we're eventually gonna patch a mode so that the zombie map plays out like old school zombies, where it's like you only start with a gun and then you like have to get points and then buy the
Mm.
weapons. Like the
Or it's
zombie
basically a tower defense, right?
exactly. And I think it was Cold War that started allowing you to start the zombie mode with a loadout. And people were like, that's just takes out the spirit of that. And then it started with a guided mode where you had to actually do objectives. It would tell you, go here, because before you really needed to figure out, oh, what does this do? Oh, do I pull this lever to do something? Uh, they were like, okay, we hear you. We're gonna eventually patch a mode like that. This time it's back end. If you want to play the loadout, we're gonna guide you everywhere. You have that mode. If you want to play it old school, of you only start with your sidearm and you only get 10 points per hit of zombie, or get 100 points if you kill them with a melee, and build your arsenal from there. You have that mode too. You have the two maps. You have that up. So I'm like, okay, that's a. I would say if you're a zombie player, I can't imagine you feeling shortchanged with what they're giving you
Mm.
this year. They're giving you more. So I gave that part an 8. Did I say how much I gave the campaign? I gave the campaign a 3, by the way.
Yeah, you did
I
not say.
yeah. So the campaign is I gave it a 3 out of 10. I said that's one of the worst things that I played in this entire year, and that just brings the entire package down. The entire $70 package they're gonna play of this thing. So in average, I added those six. This is a 6 out of 10 game, and you can go see the Open Critic. It's a 67 in top critics and 45 of like general critics. So it's like I'm not alone with that one. There's been some people. I saw Game Informer gave it a 7.5, and specifically because of the package of like no multiplayer is kind of where it's at, but the campaign's bad. It's like
Right,
that's just
right.
general. And me it was just like I cannot in good conscience give this a high enough score when I say that one piece of it's one of the worst things that I played this
Yeah.
entire year. It's an insult to what you want out of Call of Duty. And the worst part, last year gave me a solid 3 course meal. Like
Mm.
all 3 pieces were good. I was reminded, oh, this is what having solid all 3 of these were. And I gave it an 8.5. So I was like, no excuse. It's a decent enough package but this is the 20th entry for Call of Duty. 20 years in a row of them releasing a single game every single year. It's like, I have no excuse to like be like, like do the kid treatment when something
Mm.
can be this bad. And
Mm.
I didn't pull the kit treatment 2 years ago with Modern Warfare 3. Certainly not gonna do it this way. Even though Black Ops 7 as a package is slightly better than Modern Warfare 3, but the campaign is significantly worse. That's kind of like the worst part. Like the 3 was like a consistently mediocre package overall. This one has good multiplayer, great zombies to start, but absolutely abysmal
Mm,
campaign. And that's just and I feel like when you have a part of the package that's so bad, it's like it's hard to like give it a wholehearted recommendation without really telling you. It's like, yeah, just know this. So 6 out of 10
mm,
for yeah, it's my token 6 out of 10 review for the year. I it's so funny, I have not given a game a 6 this year. I give a 5.5 to Blades of Fire, but I have not given the 6, so finally I gave a 6. Because I've given sevens, I've given eights, I've given nines, not a 10. I haven't given a 10 in 2 years now, but very disappointing because I gave it an 8.5 to Black Ops 6, and I'm like, it's like, I guess that was just a fluke, huh? I guess this just keeps proving my
mm.
point that maybe annualization. The one thing, remember,
It's
people were like,
I was
what
gonna
did I
say
say?
I was talking to Clint about it today. I think it is time to stop the annualization.
Yeah,
Hey, go to a biannual method,
yeah,
and if you want to have a product to sell in the off years, sell a paid large
yeah,
map expansion.
mm-hmm,
It is time for the full releases, and
mm-hmm,
even if you want to charge $50 for it, so be it, right?
yeah, mm-hmm,
But if you're going to have a full new game, it is time to stop annualization because love 'em or hate 'em,
yeah,
Bobby Kotick had it figured out.
mm-hmm,
Phil
yeah,
Spencer and company do not.
yes, and even
I
then,
mean, this
like,
isn't all on them because obviously this started before them too.
exactly, this
But
is
clearly the wheels are starting to fall off.
yes, and it was very clear that even when they inherited everything, the problems in annualization reared their ugly heads again. Back to back numbered
Mhm.
entries. The second entry, of course, suffered because if it's the
Mhm.
same developers working, it's like there is just no time. These games need
Mhm.
time. That's why
Mhm.
there was a point in the PS4 era when they added Sledgehammer. That was kind of like the right thing to do because it
It
finally
was to give
took the
them a
cream.
third year. Yeah, that was the
Exactly.
whole point.
Yeah, because they ran into that trouble with ghosts because they're like, oh, okay, Ghost
Mm,
Did It Goes like, okay, we're starting to see there's a problem here. Let's rotate in Sledgehammer. We
mm,
build them for a reason. They helped. I was like, okay, every of those years, that PS4 era was generally solid. It was rare. I would say you got a bad game in that lot after Ghosts. It was still like, okay, they
yeah.
got it figured out in three. They needed to add a fourth studio. Let's just say it's just
Mm,
that then the annualization, it was like they started pulling everyone was doing a piece of each pie
mhm.
of every game. Like if you look at Vanguard, it's like the Treyarch did the zombie mode of that. Shanghai Studio helped with like the multiplayer of that, and Sledgehammer did the campaign and part of like the multiplayer because there's like the best plastering of studios that it did. High Moon Studio eventually kind of like was cycled in after they became just a support studio after they killed them after Deadpool.
Mm,
But it's like a they started just pulling all this to do the piece instead of giving like the full course meal. Black Ops 6 was the one that was like, no, Treyarch and Raven really handled this one. Like they're
mm.
taking the credit for this, but then they also wanted to give them credit for this years too. It's like that that's such a quick
Yeah,
turnaround. It's just such a
yeah.
quick turnaround. It doesn't work. Next year's, I'm very curious because it's like Infinity Ward has not done one of these since 2022 because 2023 was
Right,
also was Sledgehammer.
right.
So they technically
Yeah,
have been given
Modern
time.
Warfare 2 would have been their last one, yeah.
Yeah, so that one's gonna have 4 years. Next year's gonna be interesting because they're gonna run straight ahead into GTA 6 if that doesn't get delayed,
Mm,
too. I feel that's gonna be the real test of because Modern Warfare 2 it was still like super early on the ABK like transition to Microsoft and all of that. If that one also turns out bad, then I think that's gonna be the full referendum of how Xbox is handling like this franchise, or if there was any future over like the way that the machinery has been going. That has become very clear. Just don't like annualization. Stop. Like
yeah.
give it time. Battlefield. Look, they decided no. Let's take our time. It is the highest selling game this year.
Yeah, but then of
It's
course
insane.
they're talking about annualizing it, and it's like
Exactly. It's like
that is
no,
not the right call at
exactly.
all.
It's like
Just
a
support the hell out of
out of your.
six.
Mm-hmm,
Support it for like 3 or 4 years while you're making the next one.
mm-hmm,
Just keep a flow of maps coming, keep a flow of modes coming.
mm-hmm,
You don't have to give them for free. As much as people bitch and want everything for free,
mm-hmm,
if the quality is good for a multiplayer mode, they'll
mm-hmm.
buy it.
Yeah.
Do
Oh
that.
yes.
Do
Exactly. It's
that.
like yeah.
Make new maps and modes. Charge $20 for them if they're quality or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But take your time on the next one. Do not annualize. That is not the right call.
especially if you want to do this high fidelity and all that. Because the one thing also
Yes.
kind of like what I said on the I said it at season game in the at the Discord where I was like, I wanted to give this a 1 out of 10, but because it looks good and it's technically
On
sound,
on the technical side
yeah,
alone.
I gave it a technical side. I was like, it's not an unplayable. If it was unplayable, I would have easier going down. But it's like I
Yeah.
can't quite say. But then everything else is a it's a polished turd for sure. But
Mm.
but it's like because they always do this high fidelity because you know the production value is pretty high in Black Ops 7. Like all
Oh,
things
I mean, it always is in Call of Duty.
exactly. So it's like that's still a huge strain because they gone with this new engine and all of that. That's clearly just not working. I feel bad for this people that I remember it's so funny how badly aged takes of like, oh, I'm glad Xbox is finally buying Activision Blizzard because finally it's gonna take the Call of Duty the Call of Duty machinery out of the yearly sweatshop and gonna give it more time. I was like, no, they haven't. They have
Yeah,
kept everything.
I could probably say I didn't believe that for 1 second. I, I,
I
I,
wanted to
I
believe.
had said I could see maybe like them letting Raven out, but they
Yeah,
obviously didn't even do that.
no,
But I was like, yeah, if you think the Call of Duty train is coming
mhm,
off the tracks, I don't know what to tell you.
no.
Because if
It's like
anything, it's going to be pushed further down the tracks.
Exactly. In Black Ops 7 profile, it's a big definition that they had the choice to just keep supporting 6. But
Mm,
instead, no, let's do a new one. Let's give it the
mm,
prime spot in our showcase. It's like the next big thing. And I'll never forget being at that Xbox event where I went, like when we saw the showcase with all these Xbox fans, how excited they were looking at this futuristic thing or what is it? And then at the end,
mm,
it slapped the Black Ops 10 and the immediate like excitement left the room, like the dead
mm,
quiet. It was so funny. I was like,
mm,
yeah. Oh, what a shocker! Like the immediate follow up the year after is
mm,
like not like it's tepidly like a receipt because like you play the cards like look what we did of letting them letting them cook for so long is like you play that you immediately put your immediate next game the year after at a disadvantage and unfortunately one side of that package is so abysmally bad that it's like this is
mm,
the result for not giving them time. This is what they came up with to
mm,
be creative, to be like, we need to kind of put up campaign because the last time that they wanted to launch without a campaign in Black Ops 4 in 2018, the backlash was massive. For the
mm.
people that is like, because I know a lot of people are like, why are people slamming this package when it's like, who cares about the campaign? No, a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Like, if they didn't care, the moment
They're
Black Ops,
just not the people talking about it on Twitter. That's all.
exactly. It's like, and it's like, because if campaign was so unimportant, the moment that they took it out in 2018, they would have kept it out for every subsequent
Mhm.
entry.
Yeah, yeah, because that's got to be where all the development cost goes into. Like
Yeah,
that has to be a huge cost.
and you know why they do it? Because through the campaigns where you can do your marketing beats, through the
Hmm.
campaign, you set the tone
Hmm.
of the aesthetic and kind of like the vibe you're going for that specific year. A campaign
And the
is you in.
campaign also you can show off the tech way more than you can the multiplayer.
Exactly.
The multiplayer is not going to show how pretty and fancy it is. You know, except
Hmm.
something like Battlefield it does because it's all about the destructibility.
Hmm.
But Call of Duty it's all about the set pieces and all that shit.
Hmm.
So like that's where you have to show that off. That the multiplayer doesn't show off well to be sold
Exactly.
unless the person you're trying to sell it to already knows what they're looking at.
And they probably saw it when like they did a multiplayer only Black Ops 4 and you saw how that
Hmm.
went. And it's like
Hmm.
that's one of the most utterly forgotten entries ever. And it was a
Hmm.
Black Ops game. Think
Hmm.
about that. And even because the thing is that even Black Ops 3, like its campaign is not well regarded. In fact, there's a lot of like the things
Because it's
that
basically
made
just a bunch of loose missions as opposed to a
uh-huh.
campaign, right?
Exactly, but it was at least more coherent than what we got here. It's
Yeah.
like it basically 7 is an even worse version of the mess that was Black Ops 3, but
Mm,
at least there was a coherence to 3 that wasn't even here because at
mm,
least it still felt like it was built as a campaign that's not like reusing the multiplayer and zombie mode. Like because
mm,
that was always Call of Duty. It was like they just give you
mm,
3 completely different, well-produced separate parts that felt like you were getting 3 games in one.
mm,
This time, it feels like you've gotten the exact same game with like a different mode each, and you feel how bad that is. And it's like
mm,
if last year had not shown us the difference, we wouldn't be as harsh this year as we are. And it's like
mm,
and it's like it deserves like I would say it's like that. It's very easy to dog on Call of Duty and all that, but because of its popularity and all of that and how long in the tooth it is. But when one of these games is good, it's really good too.
mm,
When one of these is really bad, it's worth calling out. So yeah,
mm,
a very big miss for Call of Duty, and like I hope Xbox it's takes a deep hard look and be like, hey, you did this on yourself.
mm.
Like there's no excuse here.
Yeah.
You yeah, like you could have easily delayed Black Ops
Sure.
7 and be
Yeah.
like, this is the one you put out in 2 years, gave it more time to cook like you did this. No, you decided to put out this year. So this one's on you. I'm sorry.
Hmm.
So uh, worth the 69 billion expense, worth lifting Game Pass to $30 now, and worth destroying your console brand for to get this
Hmm.
thing on Game Pass, right?
Hmm.
Oh, that makes it even funnier. So,
Hmm.
as a palate cleanser, real quick, after I did that review, I went back to Doom the Dark Ages as a. I just want to stream like something, but I'm not feeling playing a story game because I've been debating on doing KCD2 on stream, but I'm like, I remember the beginnings of that game can be really slow, and that game is very story heavy. I don't
I
know
don't know if that's going to be the greatest game to stream either, to be
exactly.
honest
So
with you.
so
That might be a better play by yourself game.
exactly. So that's why I was like, what else can I do? Like the day of the Game Awards nominees, which we're gonna read real quick later on in the headlines. After I casted my votes. I'm gonna reveal those votes later on whenever we get, or unless you're following me on social media, I already posted. No, in my Discord I already posted. I haven't posted in social media. I'm keeping that a secret. If you want to know, follow us in Discord. But after I casted my vote, I was like, I'm gonna play one of these nominees. I played Hades 2, so I still enjoy Hades 2. Like if you didn't like Hades 1,
Hmm.
you're not gonna like Hades
Yeah,
2. If you're not
there's nothing there for me.
exactly.
I know it, so
Exactly. Hades 2 is the one thing that I would say out of the nominees that happened. Just for a spoiler alert, I feel this could be the one game that I would have swapped out of anywhere else. Just as the game is still so similar to the first game that I loved, but it's still so similar in a way that at least every other nominee in that and in those entries at least can be seen as unique. And I was reminded of that just playing the Hades 2. I enjoy it. It's like there's some fun weapons and some fun randomized customization that you can get in one of your runs. I love the art style. I love the music. I love the vibe of Super Giant. Kind of what they do with like their presentation. That's still pretty strong. And I still feel like the way they do storytelling with every run is still pretty cool. Of like every run feels like it matters because it's like it's always new dialogue. It's like it's always taking into account your failures and gives you dialogue to kind of make you feel like you're always constantly progress instead of feeling like you're stuck in a loop because I'm still stuck in the second biome on that thing. So that's still a fun thing. But again, like you have to love roguelikes. I wouldn't say that if you don't like roguelikes, you would like Hades too. And then Doom the Dark Ages was like when I streamed yesterday, I was like, what do I want to play? Do I want to play another do I want to beat my head with Silk Song on stream? Or do I want something more chill? And I was like, let me go back to my backlog. Let me play Doom the Dark Ages because I only got to chapter 10 out of 22. And I
I'm on
played up.
chapter 9, I think. So
Yes,
I'm roughly where you are.
exactly. So I played up until chapter 15. I kind of just tweaked some of the things in the options to kind of like give myself some momentum. So like I'm playing at 150 speed, so that thing feels so insanely fast that I make a joke that this is autism mode. I like seeing everything so insanely quick. How it goes that it's actually really funny seeing it for a game that at its core it's so much slower than the last game
Yeah.
because it's more you're more of a tank, you're with a shield, and that's kind of like how the pace goes. But it was fun seeing it that way. I increased the damage that I did to the enemies, and I felt like I was like just going through like all these arena combats and all that in a really fun way. I feel Doom the Dark Ages. Obviously, I'm in the outlier where I mean, not quite outlier because I feel there's a split camp. The 2016 enjoyers, the Eternal enjoyers, because I fell more in line with the 2016 enjoyment. This one's works for me. I know for Eternal fans, like this is definitely a step back. I do feel that this game really came and went in a sad way because
Yeah.
I feel that it's still pretty good. Like there's still such a great.
There still is supposed to be a story expansion coming, I think.
I hope
So
I hope.
I'm almost positive there is. I think the
Mhm,
premium edition I think had at least one. I
mhm.
know Eternal had two, but
Yeah.
so technically they're not done with it. So
Yeah. And I feel it's still pretty good, like because at its core, it's like it's still Doom, and Doom can be like a pretty cool, a pretty cool first-person shooter. So, and I would say like playing Doom in the arcades after slogging through that Black Ops 7 campaign last week, I was like, oh yeah, I'm being reminded what having a great campaign that has love, time, and care feels like. Even if choices are not the best for some people. Like I know some people are like are not feeling the shield, or specifically the things that people don't like is the distractions. Like, why do I have to get into the big Mac to do this thing where I'm just like pressing the
yeah,
triggers to
well,
do the
I
pump?
think largely people would have been okay with them if they actually were good. The problem
Yes.
is they're bad.
Exactly. And the one section I did where you do a mech, they actually gave you a gun. I was like, why did they just give us a gun? Because I feel this is more fun than just having to
Mm.
alternate between RT, RB, RT, RT to just
Yeah,
punch.
yeah. Actually, to be honest with you, if when you were in the Atlan, if you were just shooting the giant things, the Titans, whatever
Hmm.
they're called, I think it would have been just fine. But the melee combat sucks, and that's what it basically is built around. So
Yeah, and to confirm what you said, yes, there is a substantial campaign DLC which is currently in
that's what I thought.
development, expected to include a new hub similar to the Fortress of Doom, expanded combat mechanics, and more Metroidvania style exploration with side content. Oh, so they're actually going all out with that
Yeah,
DLC.
it's a
That's like,
pretty big. It's why there's
yeah,
only one because obviously it's a meteor one.
yeah, compared to like the Ancient Gods one from that was
Right,
divided in two parts for
right.
Eternal. But I would still say that even then, I want to give Doom: The Dark Ages a this is a sleeper of the year. That
No, it's a good game. It's
it's a
just
pretty good
I
game. So.
I considering how good both 2016 and Eternal were,
Mhm.
I think it's a pretty marginal step down, or not
Hmm.
marginal. I'm sorry, pretty big step down from those two. But it doesn't mean it's not good because it's still
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah, and I would say that it, and also depending on the camp that you fall in, that's kind of like what defines how much of a step down it is. I would say that 2016 I feel was just perfect in what it went for it. This one tries to do too much, and
I,
Eternal was very specific in its gameplay loop that whoever like loves that this strat because like Nova founder from our Discord, he Eternal is one of his favorite games of all time, and kind of like his thing is like he felt like that game wired his brain in such a way that makes you feel like a god when you unlock the weapon puzzle element of this is for this thing, this is when you need to do this is how you deal with like this thing. And I feel like that game was so specific. Like Doom Eternal required you to play it on its terms, and
it
when
was
you
a
go
giant
all in,
combat puzzle.
exactly. So it's like, and for the people that do that, there's no better feeling whenever you like nail that combat puzzle. And
For
the
me in particular, the biggest issue with Dark Ages is the actual guns kind of suck.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can
That
kind of see that.
uh, they put so much focus on the shield
Hmm.
that they kind of really neglected the actual guns. Like the super shotgun's obviously still fun.
Hmm.
Um,
The Shredder is
the shredder sucks. I think it's worthless.
yeah. There's
Yeah.
the secondary mode of the Shredder is actually really good, but that's later in
Is
the
it
campaign.
okay?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
So
good because the regular shredder I find it almost
I was
useless.
barely using it,
Yeah.
and then I unlocked that thing where it's like the secondary mode narrows down because it's like the Shredder is the one that kind of like is shredding basically the
The
or
skull,
no no
yeah.
yeah skull no actually never mind the Shredder is like the equivalent of the assault rifle
It's more
Ravager.
the chain gun is what you're
Yeah, the
is what
chain gun.
it's
Yeah, and then the Ravager is the one that's like shredding the skull. It's like it's weird. But like I would expect the one that's shredding the skull to be called the Shredder. That's kind of I found so funny. You should look it up. It's like because I was like, oh Shredder, but I was like, why am I pulling out the assault rifle? Why is this a Shredder? Because like this is the one that has
no,
the
no the shredder chews up the skull. The,
funny enough, it doesn't. It's something like because I was like playing it yesterday. Like let's see, Doom the Dark Ages Shredder. What gun? We're gonna put it up. I'm gonna send you
I
the.
mean I don't know what the second one is, but the first one 100% shreds the skull.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what it is.
No, the Shredder is the assault rifle that has kind of like the Gatling gun
Yeah,
that
yeah.
then turns the secondary puts like a what does it put like a big stick to pin people on. It's like the second. Yeah, I'm gonna show. Yeah, I'm gonna send you the link to your so you can see it because it's definitely not this gun. So it's like I would expect the one that's called that's called the Shredder to be the one that shreds the skull, but no, that one's called the
Uh,
Ravager.
oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so it's like
So no, actually the shredder is okay. The Ravager is what's
yeah,
useless.
yeah, the Ravager is the one that's useless. That then now when you get that upgrade in chapter 14, it's actually really big because it just narrows down for
Mm.
multiple hits into like in a very specific secluded area instead of like trying to get everything at once like it's a twin stick shooter almost. I like the guy the
The the pulverizer is the name. That's why I was like I was like man, the Ravager doesn't sound quite right.
uh
Okay, yeah, yeah,
yeah, it's just it's some weird. I wouldn't put those names to those
yeah,
kind of guns, but it's like
yeah,
the Arsenal. I'm gonna give you that. It's like it's not as notable or as cool as
yeah.
like the more futuristic entries. I understand why they did it because of the whole motif of like this is the Dark Ages. This is kind of like a pass. Like I even got that version of the BFG. It's called the BFC
Yeah,
because it's
it's
kind of
the ballistic something
yeah, but
crossbow.
it's like
Yeah,
a crossbow. And it's like it's kind of funny that it actually works like a BFG, and it's actually
yeah,
works really good that way because
yeah.
like funny that they found a way to keep the Doom some Doom traditions
Mm.
in the past, but it also comes with some drawbacks, kind of like you were mentioning.
Mhm.
So I can kind of see it. I do like the shield a lot, though. I feel like I've gotten so used to the parry, sand. I feel there's a certain character action based quality knowing how to mix that weaponry with the shield that does give it its unique flavor. So again, still pretty good game. It's still a pretty good game. I kind of
Yeah.
still want to finish it. It's like when I saw that I blasted through chapters 10 to 15 out of 22. I'm like, yeah, this is one that I at least want to see through. So Stalker 2, Rick. I want to hear it.
Yes, so that's why I said this is kind of a news as well as a what I'm
Mm-hmm.
playing because so at the time of recording, Stalker 2 released today on
On
PS5,
PS5. Mm-hmm.
and it's obviously been available for a year to the day on both PC and
And Xbox.
Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
But alongside the PS5 release, it would have been, I believe it was Monday. They also updated it to version 1.7, which is kind of a quick turnaround because
Mm-hmm.
1.6 was only in September.
Yeah.
And they usually take like 6 months between these big updates, but 1.7 is by far the biggest update they've had yet
Mm-hmm.
because it basically redoes a lot of the major systems of the game to bring it. Yes, do you have a question?
It's basically a Cyberpunk 2.0 of what they did, right? Of like reworking everything like
It's hard to directly make that correlation just because, Cyberpunk was an RPG. This is not an RPG, but
Mhm.
this one, it more changes a lot of behind the scenes things in terms of how things
Okay,
work.
cool. Mhm.
Um, like the biggest one by far is the advancement of the A life system to 2.0. And for those who don't
Mhm.
know, the A life system is kind of what makes Stalker Stalker. There's two things that make Stalker Stalker. The
Mhm.
first is being set in a pretty much laser scanned Chernobyl nuclear exclusion zone.
Mhm.
The second one is the A life system. What these games do very uniquely as compared to just about anything else is they are not just your typical uh, open world first person shooter. They have this functioning A life system under the hood that pretty much makes it that the game is. You obviously have your story, your uh, typical story missions or whatever,
Mhm.
but all the AI and stuff like that in the game, whether it's the factions, the mutants, the whatevers, um, they function on a relatively dynamic system.
Mhm.
Um, so by upgrading this to the 2.0 version, it actually makes it that now the different factions will outside of like your hub cities, like Zalicia is the first town you go into, like that won't be affected. But when you'll find like various checkpoints or little areas, the different factions, including the mutants and stuff like that, will actually compete with each other for control of it. So on paper, this might not sound like much, but in practice, it actually makes it that every playthrough is legitimately different because you'll find things in different places. You'll like I already just after a couple days of playing it in the very beginning because I restarted it because of this
Mhm.
update. Um, I've seen tons of like territory battles between things, like just regular soldier groups that were um, um, like wandering around guarding things or whatever.
Mhm.
Um, and they'll be fighting like large groups of whatever kind of mutant or whatever, and it does really greatly change how the game plays because the next time you go wandering through there for whatever reason that may be,
Mhm.
you might find an entirely different type of enemy to deal with. You might have to deal with the blind dogs as kind of like your base level mutants, or you
Mhm.
might have to deal with a bandit group, which is using say like AK-47s,
Mhm.
or you might deal with this isn't actually one that you would typically fight, but say the ward, which is like your almost like military
Mhm.
side, and they'll have obviously much more advanced weaponry. Um, and so when Stalker 2 came out, they were having major problems with A Life with this version of A Life, so
Mhm.
it really scaled it down to the point it effectively was not functioning.
Mhm.
This kind of brings it now to the point where it is functioning, and now this is the version of Stalker that everybody was waiting for.
Mhm.
Like this is Stalker 2,
Yeah.
right? This is what.
The complete version now.
Well, it's still not complete because they actually have. I think it's three DLC packs, which I don't even know if
Yes.
they've started on them.
Or the
But
completed base version finally, like
well,
now
well, it's
without
it's it's basically what version 1.0 should have
should have
been.
been. Yeah.
And I
And to be
mean,
fair, we know that this is the particular developer that's really suffered the most from the Ukraine Russia kind of like like
yes,
war
but that
expo.
said, I am not as willing to give them a pass on this as everybody else. They
Yeah,
still sold you a product.
exactly. So yeah, but you kind of understand why some things came out like that way, but they had the choice to be like, we're
I
gonna
I
delay
can
another year.
understand why it maybe wasn't ready.
Exactly.
I
But it's to
can't
put it out.
understand why they sold it unready. Now,
Exactly.
to be clear, I actually still find it to be a pretty fun game
Hmm.
because it's still a very competent shooter,
Yeah, it was just a
but
seven. It was just kind of like a shooter in the
it,
sevens.
it,
So.
it wasn't Stalker though. It didn't have what made Stalker special. And also something I haven't even mentioned actually, and I didn't even know this until I started playing it. They
Hmm.
made some. It made Yeah, no, it would have been this update because I've played it since 1.6.
Hmm.
They've had massive like optimization improvements. Like I'm playing it on Series X now, and so just as a little bit of history here,
Uh-huh.
I mostly played it on quality mode because
The performance was like completely all over the
yeah,
place,
yeah.
and
So you kind of typically have if you don't have a good performance versus quality mode, you have two versions of it, right? You have the
mhm.
Final Fantasy 16
Yeah,
performance mode, which
yeah,
is it looks good, but
yeah,
it runs like shit.
yeah.
Or you have
Outside combat,
Rebirth,
yeah,
where it runs fine,
but it looks like
but looks
shit.
terrible.
Yeah.
This one very much fell in the 16 version, where it looked
Uh,
very good. Like honestly, I even now I can't really tell much visual difference between quality and performance,
yeah, that's actually pretty good.
but
That's a good
but
book.
it does not run consistently at all.
Hmm.
Now it does. Now it runs really, really smooth. I'm like, okay, now there's no reason not to play this in performance mode because
Hmm.
when you're out wandering around, just the and now to be fair, I'm not in any of the cities that or some of the
Hmm.
locations that are known to really drag it down.
Hmm.
But either way, I have seen huge gains in terms of frame rate, and it runs at a pretty smooth 60 when I'm out there. You know, if I get to Zealous, it drops a little bit, but
Yeah.
not bad.
And by the way, like because I just turned on my Xbox and I was like, I kind of want to install it because they removed it from Game Pass.
Yes,
Yeah, they removed it.
Sunday I believe was the day it was removed. Yes.
Yeah, bastards. I guess I have to buy it on PS5 now.
Yep. Um,
I went to tell
Yeah,
Paul.
I will say I 100% suggest getting it if you don't have it because
Mhm.
it is an awesome game.
Yeah.
Um,
I was literally waiting for it to get better because when I was playing it, because
yeah,
I'm more of a performance knob that you are, where it's like I toughed it out with Rebirth with the performance mode because I was like, I know it looks blurry and all that, but it's like this combat it like just syncs better when I have more responsiveness to it. Uh, that I couldn't do the quality mode for too long. So and in that one, when I started seeing it, I was like, uh,
yeah. I mean,
it's like yeah,
being a shooter, make no mistake. I wanted to play it in performance mode, especially
exactly. It's
when you're fighting
specifically.
like a pack of blind dogs. It was
Mhm.
really hard to do in quality mode because you didn't have the responsiveness.
Exactly.
Um,
So for a shooter, it was even
right,
harder for me to like
right.
justify it that way. So yeah, for Stalker 2, I definitely want to see. And I heard, I know I put that Tidux, the the
Yeah.
guy that posted the screenshots like
Yeah,
pro
there
Xbox.
was. I can tell you right now. Like I said, I was playing the game literally when you posted. I'm like, it does
It
not look like
doesn't
that. I can,
look like this.
I can promise you that is not what it looks like.
Exactly.
So I
It's
don't know what he did to
uh,
doctor that, whether intentionally or not. I'm not saying he was trying to
mhm.
be a fanboy.
No.
The game does not look like that. Now I'm not disputing it looks better on Pro because it
Hmm.
does. However, and here is where I looked at it. I'm like, I could tear this apart because I know what looks better on Pro, and it's
Hmm.
not what he's saying it does.
Yeah.
What look like it doesn't actually run any better on Pro, but again, it runs fine now anyway.
Hmm.
What looks better is it has better shadowing, it has
Hmm.
better reflections, although I assume still not great there because there's no like ray trace reflections even on the PC
Hmm.
version. Um, it has a better skybox, which to be honest with you, the skybox is already pretty good anyway,
Hmm. Yeah.
and it has I think it's slightly better vegetation. But again,
Interesting.
that's another thing. Actually, the vegetation looks very good anyway, so I
Hmm.
don't know if I'd even notice much of a difference there. But yeah, when he showed it, looked at it, it's like that's so washed out. That's clearly not what the game looks
Exactly.
like.
The only
That's
thing
clearly
that
not what it looks like.
yeah, yeah, the only thing that I could see is that this I remember this actually funny enough, this happened back in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 2009 PS3 360 version. The brightness between both versions was like at base different
Mm.
between both of them. Like
Yeah, that
the
could be.
the 360.
Or it could be maybe like
Mhm.
maybe on one console he didn't have HDR settings set up right.
Yeah,
It could also be sometimes one console doesn't like to take. Actually, that very well could be it. Now that I think about it, the Xbox can get really messed up with HDR when you take a screenshot in it, and
exactly.
that could be what happened.
I remember when I was taking some screenshots when I was doing the Monster Hunter Wilds review, and I was like, "This does not look like it looks
Yeah,
in my TV. What
you
what the
almost
frick's
have to turn
happening?"
off.
Uh,
It has something to do with how it exports it.
mhm.
I'm surprised they haven't fixed it yet, but
Yeah,
that might be what that was
it's so
actually.
funny. PlayStation, like it's so funny. Usually Microsoft is so good at
Mm,
making like anything software related so easy, but
mm.
when it comes to the actual act of sharing,
Yeah, they're
it's like
terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
PlayStation is like it's like
yeah,
dog walks them so eeasy
yeah,
because like
yeah.
It's like it took them until this gen to put the share button down here when they didn't even have it at all. You had to press like the guide button and then just press
Mhm.
for the screenshot. It would never give you like a clean screenshot. Whereas the PlayStation controller had that share button like immediately here all the time.
$200 controller, and they
Yeah.
still haven't put a share button on it because that
Yeah.
is not a share button. That's the toggle.
Ooh.
That's a toggle. Now you can make one of these buttons a share button if you want,
Hmm.
but that's just the button to toggle between the three presets.
That's so
And
funny.
it's like how have you not made a version 3 that has all of
Yeah.
that on it yet?
And usually Xbox is the one that gets credit for good software, but I mean with the whole
Yeah.
Xbox PC thing right now where they're going, it's like
Mm-hmm.
did they lose their software engineers or something? Because it's like I feel that's just been like constant step backs over and over and over and over for them. But
Now that said, actually mentioning the Tidix thing,
mhm.
what's surprising was that he focused on the looks because my
Yeah.
understanding is the Pro version does look a little better, but not that much.
Hmm.
The big difference actually is the stuff that nobody's talking about.
Reflection.
Apparently, no, apparently the PS5 version is maybe to this day the best use of the DualSense yet because number one,
I can imagine with immersion. Yeah.
they put a lot of time into the adaptive triggers. Like when your gun jams, you know,
Hmm.
your gun loses
I remember.
durability, and if you let it get bad, it can jam. Apparently, like it'll actually make it that if you pull the trigger when it's jamming,
Hmm.
it'll be a dead trigger, which is how it actually would work, right?
Hmm.
And they put a ton. I was watching some reviews because I wanted to see what the real difference was. It sounds like they did a really impressive implementation of the haptics
Hmm.
because like so you know you have to eat in it, not a ton, but if you don't eat, you know you'll hear your stomach growling or whatever.
Hmm.
Apparently, when your
It
stomach
starts
grumbles,
growling in the controller.
it'll give you a different kind of haptics. It'll
Hmm.
give you a different kind of haptic depending what kind of ground you're walking on. It'll give you a different one. You know, maybe I can't remember all of it to be fair, but it's like man,
Yeah.
that's actually impressive.
Yeah, that is something that the only games that you even saw, even from first party, that use that are basically
It was
fiduciary obligated.
Astrobot. Yeah,
Astrobot and
yeah.
Returnal are like the two few ones. Like
I
Spider-Man
don't
2
remember
didn't.
Returnal doing much with the
It
haptics.
no, no, from the vibrations, the different
Yeah,
vibrations
yeah.
going through the thing. Returnal was different, and
Okay.
even the sound that came out of the out of the thing was like giving you
But
depending on the environment that you were.
that's
So,
another one is they do a lot with the speaker on the controller.
mm,
Between and actually, some of that I'm like that's actually a cool idea. I guess now if you're playing with headphones, obviously it's not going to
yeah,
do it.
you lose that.
But right, apparently it will play the sound, and you can change all this, which is cool. They have settings there so you can turn on and off what you want coming out of that speaker. If you want everything out of your TV speakers, you can do it.
Hmm.
But they made it that if you're walking on, say, gravel, the
Hmm.
crunching of the gravel will come out of that speaker. If you're listening to a audio recording, which there's not actually a ton of those in this game, but it'll
Hmm.
it'll come out of there. What else? Radio calls come out
Hmm.
of there, which I mean, none of that's new. You know, we've seen that for a long time, but there's a lot of stuff that they used to come out of like that's I think when you reload a gun, it actually might make the sound of it coming out of there. And actually, that's another thing about this that I
Hmm.
and this is just overall, not just the PS5 version that I don't hear people talking about is the sounds in this game. Honestly, well,
Hmm.
this game came out last year, I guess.
Hmm.
If it came out this year, I can tell you right now, this is sound design game of the year. If it had
Yeah,
come out this
I can imagine.
year.
Sad at the time that
And
it came out.
that's how the old Stalker games were too.
Hmm.
I actually noticed something yesterday that I had not noticed before, and this is something most games do not do. This is kind of the attention to detail that they took with the sounds in this.
Hmm.
So I was using Skiff's gun, which is basically just a Makarov,
Hmm.
and I had a silencer on it, and I noticed this because I was actually playing with headphones, and I shot it, and I'm
Hmm.
like, that is not a typical like bullshit sound like games like to make. It actually made like a cracking sound, which is what it sounds like because that's
Hmm.
the sound of the gunpowder igniting.
Ooh.
Like that's what guns actually sound like with silencers on them. They don't sound like James Bond. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
I'm like that is a very impressive actually attention to detail
That's
because
so cool.
I
That's
mean
really
it's still
cool.
very quiet as compared to firing a gun unsilenced, but that is what they sound like. It sounds like a crack. It does not sound like a
Hmm.
and you know every gun has a totally different kind of sound effect to it. Oh, that's the other thing about the adaptive trigger.
Hmm.
Apparently, each gun does feel different in the trigger with how you pull, like more accurate to how they're not technically real guns, but they're all based on real
Hmm.
guns, right? Like
Hmm.
there's no AK-47, but
Hmm.
it's like the KTM 49 or something like it is that gun. It's just not using the license of it.
Yeah, makes
Um,
sense.
yeah, right. But like no, this game genuinely, if you like okay, there's those asterisks. But if you like first
Hmm.
person shooters, this is a really really good one. With the
Yeah.
asterisk being, this is not Call of Duty, and
Yeah.
I don't mean obviously your Call of Duty. I mean this is not like immediately from one action piece to another.
Yeah, it's like it's a
There is a
thinking man's shooter because
there
you
is
have
a
to.
lot of downtime in this intentionally because it
Hmm.
is you exploring around the zone, the zone as it's called actually.
Hmm.
Um, looking for and so a large part of it is actually exploration and checking out again a basically laser scan version of the Chernobyl exclusion zone.
Hmm.
Um, Another thing that was added to this, which actually, when I do end up restarting it again on PC, I might try this mode.
Hmm.
So they added a new difficulty called Master, which is the highest difficulty. It's crazy difficult.
Ooh, nice.
But Master adds so Master is the highest setting of everything, obviously, but it
Hmm.
also kind of changes how certain things work. It makes it more of a you got to be careful because it'll have obviously some auto saving
Hmm.
in story missions, but it also actual quick saving is disabled. Like it is locked to saving when you are in like a town.
Really?
Yeah, or something to that effect, right?
uh,
That said, they were smart and they added a mode in this update called Expeditions, I think is the name, which
hmm.
enables that, but it lets you pick any of the lower difficulties as well. I think there's other changes to Master as well. I think it probably greatly lowers the amount of resources you find and stuff like
Hmm.
that. Like it is like the hardcore mode that don't start on Master because it's apparently insanely
Yeah,
difficult. Um,
and yeah, I usually I'm not that like I will never ever start a game, but to me personally, ever as in the hardest difficulty. I always love playing normal because I usually see that as the intended like for not the normie is more like a normal difficulty is kind of like this is the initial intended like focus we want for this game, and obviously there's the option for those that want it from the start. But I usually love my first playthrough to always be normal, and then if I like the game a lot, then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna tough it up now
I,
for a
I
second
I
playthrough.
I am currently playing it on veteran.
Master.
No, 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 I'm not
Okay.
playing on a master. No,
Okay.
I'm playing it on veteran, which is basically hard.
Hmm.
Um, when I was playing my first playthrough prior to this update,
Hmm.
I was doing stalker because veteran was so insanely difficult.
Hmm.
But now that they have fixed certain things, actually, there's something else I haven't mentioned that I want to mention that they added in this update too.
Hmm.
Um, you kind of have the tools now where it's like, okay, now if you can't do it on veteran, it's kind of, I mean, maybe you're just not good at shooters, and that's fair, right?
Hmm.
But there was times in the original version I thought veteran was almost unfair because you just didn't have the capability to compete with some of this.
Hmm.
Now it's like, okay, this game, bear in mind, Stalker is meant to be difficult. It is meant to be punishing. It is meant to be challenging.
Hmm.
But there were times where I'm like, this is just not fun. Like this is cheap.
Yeah.
However, now that they have added over the 7 updates, whatever, they fixed things. Certainly performance being a big one.
Hmm.
Um, I'm like, okay, now I can play, and you can switch between Stalker and Veteran all you want, but I'm playing on Stalker, Veteran. Another thing they added actually, which was something that I don't know how this was in it before. Did you say you did play it previously or no?
Yeah, I played at a
Okay,
launch. Yeah, I played it when
you
it came
remember
out in
how
Game Pass.
annoying it was that you couldn't see through vegetation, but the enemies could?
Yeah.
Now, I mean, technically they still can, but they did make it that when you are in overgrown grass and stuff,
Hmm.
it does greatly reduce the chances of the enemy seeing you. Now,
That's
you're not
yeah.
invisible.
Okay.
This is not Far Cry. You're not invisible,
Hmm.
but it greatly increases your chance of remaining undetected or evidently when you are in that or hiding in like a bush or something like that, they have a lesser chance of hitting you even if they know you're there because they
Hmm.
don't know exactly where you are.
Yeah.
So now the tools are there to allow you to play the game the way
You
it's
know what
meant
I
to.
mean? It reminds me of like Last of Us Part Two. Like you.
It's nowhere near it is nowhere near that detailed. Let's be very clear.
Yeah, but
Like
but that game
yeah,
was like you couldn't hide completely if you were like crawling.
right,
If like the enemy was close, they
right.
could see you. That was just
And
for further out.
if you were laying down in very tall grass was the only chance you had of the enemy getting very close to you in
Hmm.
Last of Us. Yeah,
Yeah.
you never get that kind of hiding because you also still can't go prone like that.
Hmm.
But no, they if you look at like the stalker community, they're saying this is what I wanted this game to be.
Yeah.
Now I'm very happy. And I,
I,
also, I mean, it's still got it's
mhm.
jank. It's always going to have jank because the first games to this day still have a ton of it.
Yeah, I
But it's a
literally
much more polished
yeah,
experience
because
now
when
than
I
it was.
started playing just to try it, and then I remember hearing the summon signs that had Lockmort in it that he
Yes,
because he
yeah,
was playing
he wasn't even gonna like he stopped playing it to wait
bec-
for this update.
and
This is
that's
the
why
update he's waiting for.
and that's why I
Yes.
stopped because he said it's like usually what's there
Mhm.
for what you expect out of Stalker, they haven't enabled that, so that's just
Mhm.
not gonna give me the experience.
Mm.
So wait, so I was like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna defer to
when
that.
he was playing it, I don't think they had made any
No, it was launched. They
improvement.
launched.
Like
Yeah,
it was basically a launch. Yeah,
mhm.
yeah. At that point, so the way that it works now is like the zone itself is basically okay. So actually, to very further clarify the A life thing, basically, again, outside of in towns where it is more or less a safe haven, like stuff doesn't happen there.
Mhm.
Um, the zone itself is operating dynamically whether you were there or not. So you'll never miss out on like important quest gear or something like that
Mhm.
because they keep them mostly in the safe areas. But random enemies, or I'm sorry, random NPCs or enemies, or whatever, you may never see them because they just get killed by some random enemy out there. Like you could very well stumble
Uh,
upon their body. Um, for example, I was watching a video yesterday where a guy who was like a stalker content creator was saying how, and he had this content because they got to play a beta of this update.
mhm.
Um, he had encountered a guy who was working on some hunting mission or whatever, which he was able to join, but he chose not to. And he said he saw the guy run down the path, and he heard a mutant make a noise, or whatever, but he just kept going. He said like 15 minutes later, he walked back. The mutant was dead, and the guy was dead next to him. And when he checked his body, he was actually holding some item. I forget the exact details of what it was, but his corpse had some body on it, or some item on it rather, that basically told him, he was like, yeah, this isn't just a random guy. This is the guy I was talking to. He got killed dynamically in this fight. This was not a scripted event. This just
Mhm.
happened, and it's just like that's really cool. That's kind of what makes these games unique. Is that it is a dynamic, like living, breathing world almost, and that's
Mhm.
really cool.
Yeah.
I really really do like that, and I like this semi more realistic uh, kickback and range. Like you're not
The old
you
school
are
Rainbow
not gonna
Six style
you are not
shooter.
gonna snipe with a pistol in this game.
Mhm.
Like the reality is, you've got your pistol, and you want at all times you want that to be your fallback because it's just not that great. You
Yeah,
want to use
you're not gonna
yeah,
end someone like that
yeah,
that's up in a perch like with a
yes,
pistol like, because of
yes.
weapon
The guns have proper
fall off.
range and fall off and bullet velocity and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, this is really cool. I'm really really happy with this update. And again, from what I have seen, the stalker community is thrilled. Like this is exactly what they
I
wanted.
read to no, I've been reading it. Like it's not just been you. It's like
Mhm.
I've been seeing. That's why I've been like, yeah. I was like, I want to reinstall it. Now I know that I can't because it took it off of Game Pass. Ironically, it's like, thanks Xbox.
It was
Thanks
literally
for
two. It was
yeah.
literally. Well, I assume they probably had a 1 year
I want your thing.
because
So,
basically they released this update. I want to say the day after or 2 days after the
mhm.
it came out of Game Pass.
Yeah, very sneaky, I would say. But it's like
Mhm.
I'm glad for them because they did deliver. I mean, they took the
Mhm.
opportunity. They knew that they were gonna get their second wind on a more popular system and get
Mhm.
like the updates to kind of bring them all back. Right now, it's relatively quiet in the release front now in
Mhm.
November. This seems like a good time, especially for like the PS5 release being like the newer release. So I'm gonna chat with Paul about that
Well,
in
I
regards
mean,
to
I know Paul said he actually really liked the original version when he played
yeah.
it. I
Mhm.
can tell you right now, this is a different game than when he played it.
Exactly. And he played the
Um,
Series S
it,
version.
in oh wow,
Yeah.
in particular, I mean, this update being the biggest one. The one before it and the one before that were really two really big ones too. They made
Yeah.
big changes to the A life.
Yeah,
They
he's
made they
gonna
made
see it.
they
Yeah.
made big change. The last one made big changes to how things work at night. It
Hmm.
added night vision goggles and all that kind of stuff, and it made it that when you were running around at night, the enemy still didn't have the same vision as normal time, but you were
Hmm.
limited. Now they have limited vision, and the one before that, I don't remember exactly what it did, but 1.5, 1.6, and 1.7 are what really turned it into what it is now.
Yeah, and that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that.
I mean, you see me talking about it nonstop the last couple of days.
Exactly.
Like, it
Exactly.
really is about all I've played the last few days. So,
Yeah, because besides me just trying to see what I'm gonna be chipping away at the backlog, I even tried the update for AC Mirage. I played and I mean I played a little bit of it, but not enough to want to give a talk about it. It's like what's something new what I want to play. If I'm gonna add that to the list, I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna see if I get to it relatively sooner because I literally
mhm.
I have one upcoming review that I'm gonna get a code for soon. I can't quite say yet, but I'll be able to tell you off stream. But besides that, like it's the years why like 2025 is already winding down on the
Oh
commitment
yeah,
front for me. So
yeah.
it's giving me more the
The only
freedom.
the only thing that I have coming that I can think of, I got two, I guess.
Hmm.
Octopath Traveler Zero, but I don't really care that much about
Hmm.
it. And Metroid Prime 4 is the other
Yeah,
one that I do.
exactly.
But
And
there's
Metroid,
really not much else.
yeah, and Metroid is one that I'm gonna be reviewing. We don't get stuff from Nintendo, so I can basically that's gonna be like a I'm gonna get it at launch, and then if I beat it in a timely fashion, I'm gonna like
Mm.
give it my stamp. So I am
But you have to buy it. You're saying?
exactly, and it's a
Okay.
game that I was already planning on buying. So
Right.
it's like
Right.
it's just serendipitous. So all right, Rick, time to just go through some quick headlines. We'll see if we can. But I'm gonna let you put the grump hat on with this first one. Go for
Yeah.
it.
So very very quickly, as the resident Tales of series fanboy,
Hmm.
uh, was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. Namco Bandai revealed their next Tales of Remastered thing. It was Tales of the Abyss. No, it wasn't, because I'd have been happy then. No, it was Tales of Berseria, which is a
Yeah,
game that is already plenty playable on both PC and
and
on
PS4.
PS5, PS4, 5, whatever.
Hmm.
Um, Not on Xbox or Switch, to be fair.
Hmm.
But uh, I am not a fan of this game. I am certainly not a fan of its predecessors, Asteria. But
Hmm.
either way, they're both playable.
Hmm.
I wanted these games to be games that are currently not playable, which I am not alone in this. Even
Hmm.
people who are fans of Berseria, from what I've seen, are going like, I don't see the point of this.
Yeah.
Uh,
Regardless of the
but
quality of what they think about
yes,
this quality, like
yes.
the you can see online.
We wanted to see the games coming that we can't play, and instead we're getting the ones that we can,
Exactly.
and
It's like
that
the
is frustrating. That is very very
yeah.
frustrating.
It's a very even though they're different publishers, it's kind of like similar to the frustration that arises when they see when people see Sony remastering Horizon or they see them remastering Days Gone, and it's like the
Although
PS4
say
versions.
that's a different. Well, you're right, and people do
Hmm.
think of it that way.
Yeah.
That is different because that is a different team doing them.
Hmm.
It's not like you're wrapping up Gorilla doing it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right?
So it's like they're.
Nixes were doing it. This is the Tales of Team doing it. So
Mhm.
it is affecting bringing the proper game, the games that we can't
Yeah,
play
because
over. But
it's not a port house that
right,
can they can
right,
dump the work too. So it means that the opportunity cost of them doing
right.
this then means it pushes back, bringing back ones that kind of like you said are not readily available. And this is a if you look at the history of the Tales series, the release cadence of every
It's
single Tales game,
bizarre. It's
it's all
bizarre.
over the place. It's like
Yeah,
wow.
I showed you that list. You had like Fantasia.
Uh-huh.
Then it was like 4 years until Destiny, and
Mhm.
then 2 years or whatever till Eternia, which was
And not
Destiny
only
two,
that,
and
like
then
just the platforms that they were releasing on, it's
yes.
like
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah,
all over the
yeah.
place.
They'll have one that's on Sony. The next one will be on Xbox. The next one will be on Nintendo. Back to Sony for three of them. Yeah, there is no consistency to it all, and
Yeah.
a lot of them will be handheld only for some reason.
Exactly. So it's like it's a series prime for go dig up a lot of those old stuff to try to like make everything like get in. Like after you raped with Exilia last time you were here, and I even saw like the chatter online about it. It's like the Tales of Exilia remaster was like very well received, kind of like what they
Yeah,
did.
it's got a couple small issues, but for the most part, they did a good job. Yeah.
Exactly. Compared to like its PS3 offering, it's like a lot of people are generally pretty happy about what they felt about Tales of Excelia. So I feel for the Tales fans here because it's like
I mean,
I
don't feel too much for us. We're just
yeah.
frustrated right now,
I
but
know, but it's like I couldn't imagine. I just can't imagine that. I mean, that's kind of how I am with the a lot of the PS3 stuff from Sony that is not being remastered. It's being like kind of forgotten or just being like relegated to the streaming to the streaming side forever. Is like I know like what it's like to know that the most exciting thing they could be doing, but they're like doing the least exciting thing, even though there's a technique.
mm.
Though with the Days Gone thing, that was Ben doing it. Ben, you knew that they kind of had to do
Oh,
it
was it
because
really? I
Ben
thought
did it.
Nexus did it.
No, that was Ben.
Uh,
Ben did it because they got their
well,
live
Ben isn't
service.
making a game anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Exactly. So they kind of did it because they got their live service prior canned. So it's like
Right.
they basically did it as we need money quick. So
Hmm.
let's even though and what makes it worse is that they did the free patches of the PS4 version that already made them good. Like the Horizon Remastered, I have to give it some credit in that when you see the PS4 version run and then you see the remaster, you see, okay, they did put the work to
Oh
visually
yeah.
align it to Forbidden West, but it was Nix's doing it. It wasn't
Right.
Gorilla doing
Right.
it at the
Right.
very least. So at least you can like you can criticize the intent of like why are you remastering a game that still look perfectly good already, but in this case, it's kind of like you were saying, it's like this
Right.
is the actual
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
tells developers.
I get the frustration with Sony fans. I mean,
Mhm,
I'm a frustrated one myself, right?
mhm,
But
This is different because it's
When
like it's
it's Nyx is doing it, it's like I can't align with you there because the
hmm
reality is you are not chewing
taken.
into Naughty Dog's time here.
Yeah,
Like that's what Nixes are here for. So
yeah.
I don't have an issue with that.
And then with the not and
Here though, we got the team that it's what they
mhm.
do. Now they're being taken up for a game that we
And
don't
it's so
feel like
funny
paying
that you
enough for.
mentioned and then it's funny that you mentioned Naughty Dog there because it's like they were originally not the ones doing the remake of
Right,
part one. They just took it
right,
in house because
right.
they were not happy
It
with the
wasn't going with how they liked it. Right,
exactly because they're like you're changing stuff like we want to make it more in line, so we're taking that. So in that case, especially where we see where Naughty Dog is in this generation, them taking on that
right.
remake did take time away a little bit
Well,
from
and then
stuff.
they also themselves did two remastered. So yeah, I
Uh
mean, there it is a fair criticism there to be
hmm
honest.
exactly. But kind of like we were
But with
talking
Horizon, it's
before.
absolutely not.
Exactly. There's nuance. There's like you can find specific nuances to specific case instead of just being a
Mhm.
blanket. Oh man, opportunity cost loss because they're remastering this. Like you have to see it, and in the Tales fans is like to you guys, I feel bad because it's an opportunity cost of them doing an already readily available
Right,
PS4. This could be
right.
one to do maybe a few years down the line. Kind of like they're kind of like walking their
Sure.
way back.
Well, and also if you're going to do this, I think I said this in the Discord. Even though it's not popular, the reason it's not popular is why you do it. You need to bundle Hysteria in with this too, because
Hmm
nobody wants to buy Hysteria by itself.
Exactly.
So you might as well just put it in here. But I don't know if they're even gonna. Hysteria is kind of a black mark on them, so my guess is they kind of want to ignore that
Yeah.
one. But now to be clear, I know you know this, but I'm saying this because the two are actually tied together. That
hmm
they're a weird situation where usually when they have a sequel to one,
hmm
they are called
The
Exilia
same.
2, for example.
Uh-huh.
Here they have different names, but they are you don't have to play one to play the other.
Yeah.
But Berseria is a prequel to
Yeah, is it
Hysteria.
kind of like was there a Tales of Graces and then a Tales of Graces F? Is that
No, no,
the
no,
what I
no.
think of?
That's a case of like not a remake, but a re.
Yeah,
Think of
redo.
think of Vesperia Definitive Edition or PS3 version. That's what it
Yeah,
was.
Exil is
They
the
also
one that
did that with
had
Hearts. They did that with
yeah.
Innocence, and I think that was the only ones they did that with.
Exil is the one that had the direct sequel, right? I
Exilia
think.
did, and Symphonia did.
Okay,
Destiny did. Although we in the states have never gotten the actual Tales of Destiny 2.
gotcha. There's
Because
like an
we got
it's a
what we got
mess.
as Tales of Destiny 2 was actually Tales of Eternia.
Yeah, man, it's like it's such a and
It's so
people think
bizarre, yeah,
and people think Final Fantasy is confusing. It's
yeah.
not. It's just numbers. But Rick, today this middle of the day at noon we got or around noon we got another partner showcase from Xbox. Uh, Basically, so you know, you got they like doing their developer directs, they do their showcases, and then they do kind of either they do an idea on Xbox One where they showcase a bunch of indies, or they're like, hey, third parties come announce stuff. So they haven't done an idea at Xbox One this year like they did last year, but they basically did a partner showcase of a bunch of third party partners that wanted to showcase their games or they want to put their games on the Xbox Play Anywhere program. I definitely it's funny that they definitely were pushing more the Play Anywhere more than they have the Game Pass. Even though
Mm.
there were a couple day one Game Pass drops here, you can kind of see where the wins are right now. But besides that, it's like some of the things that they show in this here. I'm pulling up from the news.xbox.com from Xbox Wire from them. So they have promoted that 007 First Light was gonna be here. I'll just say that was the biggest debate. Again, I got debated with Bond. I went to an IOI Interactive showcase at Summer Game Fest because they said that Bond was gonna be there, and I'm a big Bond fan. And I kind of wanted to see more of the game, and they just showed us the trailer that was at the State of Play. Over here, the only thing that they showed was the Aston Martin. I'm like, oh, cool, the Aston Martin, that's such a classic car from Bond, and that's the big thing that you basically baited me to see this thing saying that Bond was gonna be here.
They were trying to sell you an Aston Martin that they're only making 1,000 of. I'm sure you'll be able to run out and buy one, right?
Exactly. So it's like, yeah, I'm like, like, it's still coming out on March 27, 2026. You can see the state of play that they showcased the game being played like a couple months ago. I'm starting to get a little worried that they're showing this game this way, and we know that there were some polish issues at the state of play,
There were
and
some performance issues.
exactly when it comes to the performance, it's like, if this is how you keep showing me this game, you're slowly draining my excitement because this is a game that I'm pretty excited
Mm,
for. So, not a great showing for Bond in this showcase. I would have rather it not being here or them being
mm,
like, tune into this thing to see Bond.
mm.
There's another game that they teased this thing that did deliver on its promise, but another they showed this game called Armadas. This I was actually pretty excited looking at it because it's a sci-fi shooter that because I like Returnal a lot. I know you don't, but it's like I kind of like that kind of
Well, to
vibe.
be clear, I don't like Returnal because
Roguelikes.
I don't like roguelikes. So
Exactly. So
I couldn't tell if that's what this was or not. So we'll see.
and apparently from the description, this is a third-person roguelite shooter.
Okay, well I'm out then.
Exactly. From Counterplay Games. Who's Counterplay?
I do know that name actually.
Yeah, Godfall. They made Godfall.
I'm really out.
Exactly. So when I learned that it was a Godfall developer, I was like, "Look, this look cool." And hearing that it's a Godfall developer, so I'm like, Now I'm cautiously
Mm,
optimistic. The only reason why I would check this out is that it's day one on Game Pass. So that launches in 2026. Clover Pit was this game about like gambling for your life when you're like, which is this other roguelike where every spin contributes to your survival. Locked in a room with a slot machine and an ATM, you must play to pay off your debts and not be plunged into the depths below via a trapdoor. With a host of odd prizes and curious items that can trigger big wins, combos, and boost your luck, every run ends up different and more compelling than the last. So that's gonna be available for anyone that has Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and Premium today, actually. So that's one of the. It was one of the drops. Not interested personally. One game that I know you were interested, Crown Swarm.
that
This
game look
valid,
cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like this was the one that was like you thought as a what in the Hollow Knight is this?
Yeah, well,
Uh,
especially because a couple of the platforms even look like Hollow Knight
except when you're like doing the bounce
textures.
things.
Yeah,
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 so it's like so basically is it a Metroidvania? So it's just they just call it a stylish action platformer. So
yeah.
I don't,
They didn't really say a whole lot, which is a little like for all I know, this could be a roguelike too, but I
actually,
don't
I
think it
just
is.
read the description. It says uncover
Uh-oh.
secrets, upgrade your abilities, and enhance your loadout as you progress through this gorgeous Metroidvania. No
Okay, well that's
roguelike.
good. That's
So
good.
it's a Metroidvania.
All
So
right.
that's gonna be launching on everything, and that's also Game Pass Ultimate drop whenever it launches in
Not for
2020.
me. It's not. I mean, I don't
Exactly.
have
Yeah,
Game Pass Ultimate
exactly.
anymore, so.
Yeah, for the people that do have, it's gonna be that. They announced Dave the Diver in the Jungle DLC. For the people that like Dave the Diver, I know that's a
I
pretty
also did not realize that Dave the Diver was not on Xbox.
exactly.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so this was them finally coming in, and the only way they kind of brought it in is because of the Xbox PC thing. But it's coming to Series X, so
Mhm.
Xbox on PC is probably what's gonna be the train horse that forces them to release it on Xbox
Mhm.
Series consoles.
Dave the
Uh,
Diver is a good game. I like that
mhm.
game.
Yeah, Echo Generation 2, apparently this is a sequel. I didn't know there was an
Yeah.
Echo Generation 1. This is basically like a I call it a mine. I personally called it a Minecraft turn-based card-based game. A card-based game. So it's like I think that's an interesting idea. I don't know if I would play it myself, but I mean it's on Game Pass. It's gonna be on Game Pass. So there's gonna be like a yeah. I'll certainly try it. Then there's this Erosion. It's like an isometric action game set in a stylish Western-themed voxel world. Trailer showed us a interesting mechanic. When you die, you respawn 10 years later. So basically, it's kind of like taking the Sifu idea in a way, but it's more like an
It's
stylish
Sifu
shooter.
mixed with an isometric shooter. Yeah.
Yeah. So this one also on Game Pass is going to be on Xbox Game Preview on PC in spring 2026. And by the way, a lot of these games are multi-platform too. There was very few
Yeah.
that were not. So it's like but if it was multi-platform, you kind of showed it. They showed it
hmm
on everything.
Yeah, the Echo Generation. I think that might have been Xbox exclusive.
Exactly,
Yeah.
that would be the one. So Hitman World of Assassination. We got to see more of Hitman than we did Bond. Again, this happened to me at the SGF showcase. I got to see more of Hitman than I did Bond. So basically, the big thing they showed here is that oh yeah, we have a new elusive target and it's Eminem. Uh,
And they
and,
showed
and they
Bomb
showed
Spaghetti.
yeah, Slim Shady. It's also here too. So it's like that. So what it's called is basically Eminem versus Slim Shady. That's a really funny crossover. And this is coming
Yeah, it is.
In December 1st, 2026. Hitman is awesome. So glad that they keep supporting it.
That game might be the finest example of post-launch support too.
Yeah, so
It really might be.
it's a great way of turning a non-live service into a live service
Yeah, which is
because it's
also
like
unfortunate, but they have done a really good job continuing support for it.
and the thing is that they supported it in such a good way that then when it became a live service, when they just renamed it from Hitman 3 to just World of Assassination and bring every content from 1, 2, and 3 together, it's like they have already set the good cadence of post support that people are like, didn't bat an eye at the fact that it's a live service, even though it is.
Yeah, I mean it is frustrating that you can
Mhm.
do the main missions, but you can't do any of the
Elusive targets.
um
Like,
no, not that because you definitely can't do that. But no, you can't do any of the Like the challenges if you're not connected to their servers, which is not a good decision. They really need to
Yeah,
adjust
yeah,
that.
I can see
But
that. Yeah, but oh yeah, could you do that without online before? I thought the game was
no,
always online before. Okay,
yeah, it
so
was. Yeah. You can play I think you can play the missions, but you can't do any challenges. And really,
mm,
doing the challenges is literally like two
the
thirds of
point.
that game.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
because
is
it's like
2/3 of that game.
because kind of like the whole point about that thing is that every map on that game is highly replayable because
Right,
they throw
right,
you curveballs of what's
right,
the challenges for this type,
right. There's like 10 ways to do every main mission.
and then they refresh that, and that's
Right,
actually it's really
right.
really cool. So I missed the Lashif thing because that's when I was traveling. I might try this one for the lulz. I have Hitman still installed. It's a pretty good game. The Bound Omen of Cthulhu. So this was a game that Javeda was be like, is this a first-person pirate game? It was like interesting, and then it's like, oh, it's a co-op horror game where it's like this whole like all this weird horror stuff were being thrown at us and all that, and it's like then at a certain point I was like, is that Cthulhu? And I was like, oh, I guess it is Cthulhu.
Mm,
So basically, Left 4 Dead Cthulhu. This is how it looks like. Not Game Pass for this one, but arrives in summer 2026. Raji Kali Yuga. So this is basically a sequel to a game called called Raji an Ancient Epic, which was an isometric action game from like what I
well,
understood.
no, it was a side scroller, I think.
I was told that it was like a. I will look to.
Unless I'm thinking of the wrong game.
Yeah, let me look because I know that Eric from SG was
No,
like,
no, no. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It was isometric. Never mind.
yeah,
I'm not thinking of the right thing.
yeah. So this one was like an isometric game that was in the style of old God of War, from what I was like told.
Yeah, it was actually pretty good.
Yeah. So this one, uh, so it's not quite that, but it's more just kind of like a top down. This is more like a 3D action game. I would say I don't like where they put this in the showcase. I'm just gonna throw it
If
out
I
there.
was the developers of this, I'd have been pissed where they put it.
Yeah, because it's like that feel they if they could have
It
flipped it,
it,
it would
it
have
had
been like
every bit of a win taken out of it because of what came before it. Yes.
exactly, and we're gonna talk about that later.
Yes.
But yeah, so this is slated to launch on Xbox Day on Xbox Game Pass day one. So it's basically them being like, okay, the last time we did an isometric one, this is now a full third-person action adventure in the vein of the newer God of War games. So it's like it's an interesting jump in style. So I'm hoping the best for it. It's like it still looked interesting. It's just that I was like, why I was still buzzing over the other one. We got to see more of Reanimal, which is the real Little Nightmares 3. That launches on February 2026, and there's a demo available right now. Roadside Research. It was like this looks like a friend swap game, I would say. It's a comedic co-op simulator where you'll do just if you ever wanted to be an alien working undercover at a rural gas station, well, that's incredibly specific. You
It
get to
basically
do that.
looked like it looked like convenient. What the hell's that game called? Convenience Store Simulator, or whatever, but not in
Uh-huh.
VR. That's what it
Exactly.
looked like.
Yeah, so it's like, look, I have grown to say that there's an audience for these games. Peak is one of those. I mean, like Schedule One was big,
Yeah.
Peak was big, Repo was big. I feel like the friend swap has become so big for a lot of people. This feels like it's gonna fit right into that. So not for me, but also because I haven't found a group to play like this kind of game too. So maybe I could eventually like get into the friend swap myself. But as of right now, not for me. But that's gonna be available in Q1 2026. Uh, Tides of Annihilation. This was the second to last thing. This was funny enough when they announced the showcase, they promoted this and Bond. They were like,
Yeah.
"Hey, new look of Bond, new look of Tides of Annihilation, and more." So
Well,
it's like
one of these games showed up, the other one did not.
exactly, and the way that this game showed up,
Yeah.
oh boy, like for character action based games, the fans that have been decrying Stop with the Souls likes gives us more action, like spectacles and fast
Mhm.
combat and things like that. The pendulum is slowly going back our way. This looks amazing. There's so much great energy and spectacle and like what you can do with like these characters and or like what you can do with like the main character. I love the motif of like being set in London as being part of like a King Arthur part of like the King Arthur legend, even though it's like made by China, is like a this is if you like fast combats and great spectacle, this is the game to keep an eye out. It's like it feels more like if Lost Soul Aside had more money put into it and had like probably a bigger budget. This is kind of like how I'm looking
I would
at this
put this
thing.
well beyond Lost Soul Aside,
Exactly,
actually. But
exactly. It's like because poor Lost Soul Aside was
like
like a
I
lot.
would put this much more on the scale of like Final Fantasy 16.
Final Fantasy 16
Yeah.
for sure. You can see like the inspiration of the icons and things like that. It's like
Mm.
it looks so cool. The only one thing that I would say is like the frame rate gave me a little bit of pause. Funny enough, when they showed this at the State of Play earlier this year, They specifically mentioned that it was a PS5 Pro showing
Right.
of the game.
Right.
This felt more like an Xbox
Well, it
showing
was
of the
obviously it
games
was either Xbox
or
or
a PC.
PC. I
A
mean,
PC.
it
So
had Xbox button prompts, so
exactly. So it's like the performance was like, okay, we're seeing more of the game. So it clearly needs a little bit more little bit more time. They had said 2026 last time. They didn't give a
yeah,
release.
they did not give any kind of date. So
Yeah, so I'm like,
this is still
oh,
a little ways off.
yeah. So I'm like, okay, I'm not expecting now in 2026, but
Yeah.
added to those wide whale games of like, if we need to be anticipating something, even if it's not like defined, this goes in that list with Intergalactic and Witcher 4 for me. And Final Fantasy
And
7.
GTA, yeah, for me,
And
yeah.
yeah, but GTA is like it's more that has moved up now because there's release dates. More like like those wide whale games
Yeah,
that
yeah. I
exist.
mean, GTA technically has to be the head of those just because it actually has a time frame, whereas none of the other
Exactly
ones
now.
do. But
So exactly, but GTA used to be in that wide whale in the
right.
wide whale category. So I'm adding that to this one. Total Chaos from the creator of Turbo Overkill comes Total Chaos, a first-person survival horror brimming with mysteries to solve and monsters to kill, avoid, scream at. So this was like a very cool looking like first-person like horror game. And it's actually dropped today. So it's available right now. I actually installed it. I started briefly playing it, but not enough to be able to say, "Oh, I played this. I want to talk about it." This one that I'm actually interested in. Uh, Turbo Overkill, is that the game that Clint told you about?
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
yeah, it's like how long ago was Turbo Overkill? I need to see.
A couple years. It
Okay,
hasn't been super long, I don't think.
so yeah, I like the vibe that it looked. It's like we made the joke to our fellow former coach Joe about kind of because he's in our Discord. He'd be like, "Oh yeah, it's like they missed this by a month for a horror game, but you can never be too, it can never be too late for a horror game." I would say. But I would say it's still funny that this came out a month after Halloween. It's like the window of this is pretty funny though. So I'm not gonna like
Mm,
completely say that he was off his rocker there. So Vampire Crawlers is the next game from the Vampire Survivor game, but instead of being like the top-down like auto shooting thing,
you can ignore what I sent. That's for something different. It just made me laugh.
yeah, so yeah, uh, this one now it's basically them following up on Vampire Survivor by making it kind of like a first person, kind of like a card-based uh, deck building game, roll like
Mm,
dungeon crawler, which is an interesting choice for them to move on from. Basically, they popularized the auto shooting like top down game like with Vampire Survivors 3 years ago. So good on them that they're not doing just a Vampire Survivors too. It technically is just a different game.
actually, I guess they are.
Yeah,
They said they are making it. It's just not this game.
exactly. So it's like, but it's not their immediate follow up. So it's like if they eventually get there, it's like at least they did this. This is coming in 2026. Supunk, an amazingly stupid name. It's basic.
Thank God somebody has a fucking brain. Because the fact that the other two thought it was a good name, I'm like, are you kidding me? That's
Uh,
awful.
yeah, but I would say no. But that's the thing. It's like it's so awful. It's amazing. That's kind of my thing.
Oh God, I think it's terrible.
Yeah. So this is basically part of Fist Forcing the Shadow Torch. Like that was like a Metroidvania that came out from China from this Chinese developer Thai Games back in like 2021, if I remember correctly. This is now more of like a 3D action adventure game with
Okay,
kind of like
so
the same looking characters with the same furry style looking characters.
it is the same character. That's
Yeah,
why.
so it's like it look cool as like this kind of
Yeah,
style of action games. So it's like it's a something to kind of keep an eye on, not on Game Pass, but it's gonna be available on anywhere. So that was
that's
basically
interesting because I think Fist was in Game Pass, wasn't it?
came after. It was originally on
After, okay,
PlayStation.
oh,
Yeah,
okay,
so
okay.
it was one of those like arrives on Xbox later, and because you arrived later, we're gonna put you on Game Pass because no one buys stuff here in this platform unless we give it to them for free. It was a cool selection of third party games, I would say, and like kind of like in the initiatives and all of that. So it's like uh, uh, I prefer this over the idea at Xbox thing we saw last year. That I don't remember a single thing that came out that year. Everyone decided to glaze over last year
Mm,
because it was funny because that was the last time they did an ID partner Xbox. This is the first time you were in the show, Rick, and it was like because
yeah,
we're like, why are people like glazing that thing as
uh,
like the greatest thing ever?
yeah.
So
No, this was a good show. I gave it a B.
yeah, I give it a B2 in like the rankings for Ryan McCaffrey. It's like this was never gonna be a first party thing,
Yeah,
but I like to hear what I'm gonna be eating with third
yeah.
party. So this is like a good one for those.
No, I thought unlike a certain other platform holder, I thought they actually did a good job of
Mhm.
of picking
A good
stuff
selection
to
of
show
stuff.
what's coming. Yeah.
Yes. Now, Rick, time to pop a blood vessel for you because it's time to go over the Game of the Year nominees for the Game Awards. Obviously,
I,
like
I, I may or may not have an aneurysm while we're
yeah,
going on here.
yeah. So basically, obviously, it's the time of the year. The nominees are up. Uh, certain snobs, certain games have gotten nominated in places and all that. Like always, the way this things happen, or the Jeff Keighley's, there's no rhyme or reason why some of these things happen. I always say the same thing with the Game Awards. It's like I always see this as the kickoff of the award season, but I never considered this award the be all end all. This is just one of them. It just has all the loudness because of the announcements that happened there, and at least kind of gives you a general tenor of what's going to be Game of the Year for individual sites. In their way to Dice and BAFTAs, they're a little bit more prestigious, but this is kind of like the kickoff, how I always see it. So, and as Alana Pierce said in her videos, I don't take it seriously because these guys don't take the nomination process seriously. So,
Yeah, very clearly.
yeah, so
Considering half the entries, they don't even know what they are. So,
exactly. But we're gonna read the Polygon version because they have the cleanest website to see this.
are you working bottom to top, or are you working top to bottom?
Let's do bottom to top. Just
Okay, that's what I figured. Because
yeah.
obviously you typically want Game of the Year to be the last one you say.
Exactly.
So,
So yeah, they put most anticipated game here. So the five there for our Double Seven First Light, Grand Theft Auto 6, Marvel's Wolverine, Resident Evil Requiem, and The Witcher 4. Just to kind of give a comment thing, like I don't know why The Witcher here is here because it's like
it
that's not
technically
really
doesn't even exist right now.
exactly, and they basically said as much. I would say it's
Yeah.
like as a White Whale, we know it's like it's gonna come out eventually and it's gonna be
It's
amazing. It's like
it's more the fact that it's CD Projekt Red's next game, so you know
mhm,
it's going to be fucking genre defining. But
exactly. Uh, So yeah, and then content creator of the year, Kadriel, Kai Cenat, Moist Critical, Sakura Mikon, the Burnt Peanut. The fact that there's a content creator called the
I've
Burnt
heard of
Peanut.
two of them, and
Yeah,
I don't like one, so I picked
yeah,
the other one.
yeah. The only thing I'll comment here because we're not gonna say who we're voting or all that is that
Right.
Kai Cenat was nominated here a year too late because last year was when he did the whole Elden Ring endless streams that made him like super popular in the gaming sphere because he was not
Yeah.
usually a gamer. He's just more a general streamer that does a bunch of weird
Right.
shit. So. Moist Critical, the only thing that I like that he's here is he's the first one that I heard the Goonicide from before I heard it last time.
I, he's genuinely a funny dude.
He's
Like
funny.
he is a master at dry humor. He
Yes.
really is.
And to me, the funny thing is that he just brought it up because people brought it up to him. He was like,
Yeah.
so he was like, man, I was just told about this Goonicide thing. That's insane. That's crazy. I just hear it like in his voice.
Yeah.
It's funny hearing it from here. And then
It's very like dry one note pitch. Yeah.
yeah, so that has there. And then with the esports thing, we got Gen G, NRG, Team Falcons, Team Liquid PH, and Team Vitality. You know NRG, right? That's like your
Yeah, yeah. But remember, I had mentioned the two teams won the
uh-huh.
World Championship. Valorant. I
NRG.
can't remember. I couldn't remember if it was Counter Strike. I think Valorant is
Yeah.
actually the other one.
Oh, okay.
Rocket League, which is the important one, because that's
It's
the
not
one
here.
rooting for.
It didn't. It was not here.
Yes, they're not there, but Valorant, their Valorant team, if
Mhm.
that's the correct team,
Mhm.
won the World Championship like a week or two after their Rocket League team did,
Yeah.
and
Best
they were
esports.
both in France, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah,
Great for
yeah.
the French. Best esports athlete: Brock Choby, Forsaken, Kakura, Menard. See, do you know any of these guys? Because I certainly don't.
Not a one of them.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. Moving on.
But a
Uh,
lot of them play like fighting games, and I don't really know the fighting
Yeah,
games.
and then the esports that got nominated for this year: Counter-Strike 2, Dota 2, League of Legends, Mobile Legends, Bang Bang, and Valorant. I don't know why Mobile Legends Bang Bang is there, but the other four make sense for
I,
esports because they're the
I picked the only game out of this bunch that I can even tolerate its existence. So
yes, and we'll save that for
yeah.
further down the line. Games for Impact are Consumi, Despelote, or Despelot, I don't know, like Lost Records, Bloom and Rage, South of Midnight, and Wonder Stop. So I would say it's like the most Games for Impact is still it's like the most tokenish award that exists from this thing.
Honestly, of them all, it might be the most mean nothing, like just complete fuck all award.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Nobody gives a shit about this.
exactly,
Nobody.
and it sucks that they still like consider it, but
Yeah.
those are the games. Innovation and accessibility: Assassin's Creed Shadows, Atomfall, Doom, The Dark Ages, EA Sports, FC 26, and South of Midnight. I have played three of these games. I wouldn't
I
give you.
played actually the only one I did not play was EA Sports.
Yeah, actually, oh yeah, yeah, because you
That
did play Atomfall. I only briefly
yeah,
play
that
Atomfall, so
Adam Fall's awesome actually.
exactly. I actually then have played four of these games, but I couldn't tell you a lick of thing of what was the accessibility thing beyond Doom: The Dark Ages, giving
But
you all the literally all the how can I
Uh,
say this? Like
uh, uh,
all the sliders for everything.
well, I
So,
will say now this is going to give away what I picked, but
uh,
for all the shit they get, Ubisoft are fucking excellent when it comes to their accessibility settings.
yeah,
The only one who are maybe slightly better are Sony.
yeah,
Like they are Ubisoft
at the
genuinely deserve a
forefront
lot
of
of
like
they
yeah,
deserve a lot of credit for it.
yeah, and we'll leave that the pick for whenever we deliver those
Yeah.
results. Debut indie game: Blueprints, Clear Obscure Expedition 33, Despelotted, Dispatch, and Megabunk.
One
It's
game in here is not really an indie, just to be
yeah,
perfectly clear, but
exactly, yeah, because he had a publisher.
it has a publisher. Whether that publisher is indie teams or not, it is still a
Exactly, it is a
publisher.
publisher, and the whole thing
So it is
about
bullshit that it's in here.
exactly, and it's a boy, and it's so funny that because I think another game was also technically published because it was Critical Role that did it, which is Dispatch.
Oh,
It's
really?
like,
Well, but
yeah.
Critical Role would not be a publisher
A
though.
game publisher. You just kind of like that.
Yeah.
They helped bankroll it, but it's like the spirit
It
of the
really is to
indie
the point
category.
like they need to officially for these awards they need to decide what indie actually means because
And a big thing because this happened today. We're not gonna read them. The Golden Joystick Awards happened.
right
They literally put
right
indies with
right
a publisher and indies that are true independent. Like they do
right
it better in like
right.
make it clear. They just don't make it clear over here at the Game Awards, which is why Expedition. I'll just say Expedition 33 being here. Sorry,
It's not an indie. It
yeah,
is not an indie. Yeah.
you're
I don't
double
care
A.
what anybody
Yeah,
says.
it's a double A game.
They might be an indie developer. They are not an indie publisher or an
Yeah.
indie
Mhm.
release rather.
Yeah. Community support: Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, Helldivers 2, and No Man's Sky. I don't know exactly what any of these five games did for community support because Final Fantasy 14 didn't
But,
release
but
expansion this year. They did last year.
the description said something about they're active with their community. Like it's not necessarily about like updates and stuff like that,
Uh-huh.
but they're active with their community. They listen to what the community wants. Blah 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 blah. So basically, this is like the anti-Destiny award. With
Yes.
even though Destiny won it, the one
uh,
year went of all years it shouldn't have won
exactly. Yeah.
it.
Actually, the one year that they won is the only time that they deserve winning it in 2019 because it's when they went independent. So they were right in the middle
No.
of.
They won it the year when they laid everybody off. That's the
Oh,
one
that's
I'm talking
right.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the one I'm talking about. Yeah,
Yeah, 2023. Yeah,
yeah,
but when they won it in 2019, they totally deserved it because it was their
yeah.
independence
Back
year.
then they did. Right, right.
Yeah, yeah. So from that one, I would say the only ones that really qualify here are two of them: Helldivers 2 and No Man's Sky. Which one are the choices? You'll see. Which one were our
There's
choices?
one other one actually. If you know how active they are, but
Is it Baldur's Gate by any
it's
chance?
Baldur's Gate. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah,
Larian was very interactive, especially on their Discord. Like
oh, okay,
most of the updates and improvements that they made were actually community suggested improvements,
yes. Now to best adaptation or the
which
TV
might be
realm.
the biggest farce of this entire list.
Yes, the list includes a Minecraft movie, Devil May Cry, Splinter Cell Deathwatch, The Last of Us Season 2, and Until Dawn. Let me tell you this, like
Okay, so
all five.
I'm going to jump in here.
Okay,
Out of these five nominations, four of them are largely considered fucking horrible.
yeah, uh,
Four of them are
yes,
horrible.
yep.
So yes,
So you can basically say that, and you can easily see which are the ones that are horrible.
there
Just
is an objective selection in this list.
exactly.
Yes.
So there's one that, despite how bad this season was compared to its first season for us, is like this is clearly set up for that one thing to
Yeah.
win. And to me, it's a travesty when within eligibility, the Sonic 3 movie that was legit
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
could have been here. People
I
put it
hadn't
for
even thought of that until you said it. I'm like, that's
yeah.
absolutely correct because Sonic 3 was a freaking awesome movie.
Yeah, 80 and 86. It had an 86 Rotten Tomato, the highest of the three Sonic
Mhm.
movies. It made a lot of money. People
Mhm.
liked that movie a lot. It wasn't memed. It wasn't
Mhm.
like because it was like legit liked.
Mhm.
And Twisted Metal season two, if we
Yeah.
needed a like they put two Sony like two Sony related properties here. They put the one that people didn't like
Right.
when we had
Right.
one that they liked, and that's the one that got ignored, which got a
Right.
third season by the way. So it's like at least they got that W. It's like this is like what a farce
Yeah.
of a reward here. Let's just say
I guess Sega didn't pony up enough money to get on this list, huh?
yeah, people, yeah, exactly. Or people completely forgot that Sonic was qualified,
Mm,
which is so funny because Indiana Jones made it in a couple things, and that was a December game. That also had its release on PS5 on April, so that's probably how they justified it too. But I've always said a lot of the things that release in December and that, oh, if you're in December, you qualify. It's like that; those get screwed. People don't think that way in that cycle, or like
mm.
when they're trying to reward things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so
You cannot release in December and get into the awards
mhm,
unless If it was something groundbreaking, that's about your only chance.
Exactly, and it's been rare for it to happen. And it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
not even Cyber. I mean, unfortunately, Cyberpunk was a December release, and that was its dog shit release at launch
Right,
too. So
right.
unfortunately, so if because if Cyberpunk had released in December 2020, the version that we have now, if that's how it was,
Oh
that
yeah,
would that
it
would have
would have
broken.
won a shitload of awards. Oh yeah.
Yes, especially after 2021 when there was barely anything. Oh,
Mm,
no, that would have been an easy show,
mm,
but they messed it up. So.
mm.
Best VR AR game: Alien Rogue Incursion, Arcanage, Deadpool VR, Ghost Town, The Midnight Walk. I don't play VR, so I can't speak for this, but I will speak for my friend Luis, aka Andres Plays 93, who is a big VR review guy. The game that he liked the most out of this ones as a VR guy is Arcanage. So if anyone has to give a vote for anything, this is the only time that I'm gonna say give it to that because that's the one. That
Well,
is like
yeah, I will say that Alien Rogue Incursion is evidently very, very, very good as well.
oh yeah.
I don't know anything about Ghost Town Midnight Walk or Midnight Walk though. I don't even know what those are.
Yeah, Deadpool VR is just a funny action game on the Deadpool. What's funny is
Uh,
that this game just came out and they nominated this so early, so
right,
they gave it the fix early on.
right.
Ghost Town, I have no idea. The Midnight Walk is that like first person horror game that has kind of like the Tim Burton style like art, like art to it that was revealed at the State of Play earlier this year. Well, it actually was like before, but it showed up at the State of Play. It came out in May, but you don't need VR for it. You can play it without VR.
Oh, okay.
Arcane Age is like a close to a Oblivion-like game that you play in VR, so it's kind of like well, that's why it's very impressive. So, best strategy sim game.
Yeah, yeah. This is the we don't know what to categorize, so it all goes in one.
Yes. So Civ 7, Final Fantasy Tactics, The Ivalice Chronicles, Jurassic World Evolution 3, The Alters, Tempest Rising, and Two Point Museum. It's like,
Six games that
dudes,
couldn't be any different.
any
Yes.
different. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, they made them real dirty, and this one's just gonna
Yeah.
win depending on who has the favoritism here because it's like it's not
I
a good
I think
representation of this.
I think I have a good guess what's going to actually win on this, and it's because of them all. It's the and never mind. Actually, I can see Final Fantasy Tactics getting some
Exactly.
support too.
Yes, it's because the only thing that I'll say with this with Civ 7 is like if Civ 7 at launch was good.
Did that come out this year? I thought that was last year.
No, Civ 7 came out this year. It was
God,
February.
it
It was
feels so
February.
long ago.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
feels like it was last February.
Yes, but it was yeah, it was technically the 2025 February, and people were not happy with Civ 7.
Mm,
And people always make the joke that Civ games take their year to become good. That's how it was with Civ
mm,
6. So,
mm.
uh, best sports racing game again, lumping together.
Again, put it all
Yeah,
together, even though they're two very different things.
exactly. So it's EA Sports FC 26, F1 25, Mario Kart World Rematch, and Sonic Racing Cross World.
And
Uh,
also, I just want to say, if you think that F1 25 and Mario Kart and Sonic Cross Worlds are the same thing, you don't know a fucking thing about racing games.
yes.
You don't know a fucking thing about them because
Yep.
they also could not be more different.
Uh-huh, exactly. Best RPG. Avowed, Clair Obscure Expedition 33, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Monster Hunter Wilds, and The Outer Worlds 2. I would say there are two
Very strong
yeah,
category this year.
exactly. Yeah.
Monster Hunter probably doesn't deserve to be here.
I was gonna say that because
And Avowed definitely doesn't, to be clear.
exactly. So, yeah, I was gonna say there was two
Yeah.
games here that didn't deserve to be here.
Mm.
And a lot of people are saying if they needed to put two replacements for this list, they would have put the Trails in the Sky remake and
Which I would agree with, yeah.
Digimon Time Story, which is for many people.
I didn't play that, so
Yeah.
I can't comment
But
there.
I can speak for that one. It's like that was like a surprisingly good JRPG for this year. That was new. So and for the two Obsidian games, it's like Outer Worlds 2 is the one that deserves it's the better game.
Yeah, yeah. Outer Worlds deserves to be there. Avowed does not.
Yeah. I would say here, like not saying what I voted here or anything, it's like this feels like the shoe-in category that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 deserves to win.
You're damn right.
Yes,
If you look at what at actual like an RPG now, yes, Expedition 33 is a JRPG,
yes.
obviously, but Kingdom Come is objectively the best RPG of the group in here.
Yeah, with all it does for like RPG, because remember,
Yeah.
it's like because the thing with Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is it's a homage of its inspirations, bringing it
Right.
together with its visual art style and all of that, and
Right.
it broke containment basically. But Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, a lot of people that play that game, you can speak for it because you play
Yeah.
more than I do. It's like a lot of people go to that as for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 as a generational like Witcher 3 like as like
Yeah.
what it's doing for the art for the Western RPG genre is so damn impressive that it deserves
It,
recognition.
it's also a specific a particularly unique. I mean, not obviously
Yeah.
it's an original game too, but there's not anything else out there like Kingdom Come, and that
Hmm.
and so they're very very unique
Yeah,
as
it's a
well.
first-person Western RPG in a genre that usually has fantasy when it comes to like that kind of style of Western RPG,
And
and
its emphasis is on authenticity, which is cool.
yeah, authenticity and sim-like
Yeah.
nature, which is both its
Hmm.
strength that makes it so impressive how committed
Hmm.
it is to the bit, and also the deterrence. Whereas a Clear Obscure, like if Clear Obscure wins it here, is because it's an easier to pick up and play game, and also the side guy stuff. The fact that what I haven't said is Clear Obscure is the most nominated game in the Game Awards history, and we'll say why. Why soon? Because it's like they hobbled three spots in one
Yeah.
in one place. So that's why it's like the most nominated game there. But it's like so it's between those two in this two. Which
Mhm.
one's gonna be win? Is like
Yeah,
if
yeah. I mean, they're clearly the two heavyweights in that
mhm.
category.
Yeah, so best ongoing game, Final Fantasy 14, Dawn Trail, Fortnite, Helldivers 2, Marvel Rivals, and No Man's Sky. Dawn Trail released last year, so I don't know what the fuck is doing
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
this
Like,
year.
why is
Yeah,
that in there? Right? But I
yeah,
guess to be fair, ongoing game isn't means it's released this year. It means
exactly. So it's like
well,
I
also Cyberpunk 2077 won 2 years ago. So
exactly. So we cannot quite like
yeah,
like notch our noses, but it's the fact that Dawn Trail was like the big release. It's like it's the updates because I know how the
right.
expansions in Final Fantasy 14 were that they do the expansion, then they do like meaty free updates throughout.
Mm,
Is that word? Did they have those this year? Did that happen? I have not heard a
I
single
I
peep.
would certainly think so. I mean,
Yeah, so it's the
they're
only
pretty often they do them, so I would
exactly.
imagine.
So that would justify it being here. Fortnite, they always update that freaking game to oblivion, no matter what. So of course it's gonna be an ongoing game. I did like what they did with the Star Wars tiny season. I enjoyed what they did. It was kind of fun, but I wouldn't put it as best ongoing game. Helldivers 2 is interesting because the big update happened last December, not this year.
No, no, there was the big update a couple months ago where they added all the mech, or not the mechs, the one
Was it that this year?
that we played with Paul, yeah,
Oh, okay. Oh, was that
where they
this?
added the underground stuff. Yeah,
Okay,
that's
okay,
what I'm told.
okay,
Yeah, yeah.
okay. Yeah, I was trying to remember if that
You're
was the one
thinking of
that.
the mechs. The mechs came last year. Yeah,
Okay, that's what I was wondering. Okay, then it qualifies because the only thing that I was thinking when I saw this and thinking was like, oh yeah, the Halo crossover. But then when
yeah,
they
yeah.
did, but if they
Because
under
that came at the same time as the Halo one, I think. Yeah.
yes, okay, so
So it
then
was like maybe July, July,
yes, so
August, something like that.
so absolutely deserves being here.
Yeah.
Marvel Rivals, of course, like like that game has been very consistent in delivering the new content.
Yeah,
It's it's
yeah.
it's, it's Gunner meat
I,
for
I
sure.
actually
So,
thought that game was dead on arrival, and I was
yeah,
very
it's
much
been
proved wrong.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more persistent than Overwatch.
Yeah.
It's taking on that. It's unfortunately it's a Marvel game, so you have to be like into that thing. But the people that like that hero style shooter, like multiplayer,
Mhm.
like they're getting it with Marvel Rivals. So it deserves. And
Mhm.
Marvel Rivals came out so late last year; they had no recognition. I feel
Right.
it deserves it now because it's like
Right.
of when it came out. And then No Man's Sky. What else can we say about that? That
It's there every year. Yeah.
it's there every year because they're
Every year.
so
Yeah.
good at always delivering great looking. Look at this new drop. This
Mhm.
is saying they're doing this again. They always try to get me back in. So it's like they know how to bait me to trying
I
to get
think
in.
they had 3 updates this year.
Yeah, they've been
Definitely two, if not three. I think it was three.
and I think it was three and a big one besides the other two. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
like yeah. Best mobile game, Destiny Rising, Personified the Phantom X, Sonic Rumble, Unassuming, Pretty Derby, and Wuthering Waves. I have no
Moving
interest in.
on.
Yeah, moving on. Now best independent game, just calling it as just best indie game. It had
We
six.
got five good selections here.
Yeah, so we got Absolum, Ball Pit, or Ball Expit, however you
Ball
want to put
Pit
it.
is how I've heard it pronounced. Yeah.
Yes. Blueprints, Clear Obscure, Expedition 33, Hades 2, and Hollow Knight Silksong. Again, one
Like
of
I
these had a
said,
publisher.
we have five indie games here to choose
Yeah,
from.
yeah. One was a publisher. So it's
Yes.
like in the spirit of the letter. Actually, there's two that had a
There,
publisher. Absolum is the other one. Doremu. So that's
oh,
insert.
okay.
Yeah. So it would be like
I thought Dotemu was the developer.
no, Doremu is a publisher.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way later. So I was like, okay, so if I'm gonna like apply the same
So
logic,
we have four good candidates here.
yeah, within this for if you really wanna like reward the actual spirit of the indie, it's Ball Pit, Blueprints, Hades 2, and Hollow Knight Silksong. And even then, Hades 2 and Hollow Knight Silksong is like a lot of there's something that Alana Pierce was saying in a video that I saw from her that I was like, that's actually a really good point. It's like even their status as indie, like usually it's like in a tight budget, they're able to do this. They've had a lot of massive funding from like the big success of their first games. With
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
yeah,
Silksong was that as well as
mhm.
they made so much on their Kickstarter from the original game that
Exactly. So it's like
they
a
were okay.
so like their status as indie also comes with a little bit of an asterisk with like the funding or how they did it compared to others.
Still no
But
publisher, so I still count it.
exactly. So if we wanted to be like, because the literal description is like outside the
Right.
usual publisher structure.
Independent
And
specifically means
yeah,
was not
was
published
yes. If Clair Obscur,
or
like
self-published.
yeah, so like for example, if Clair Obscur was made and published by Sandful Interactive, which is the
Right,
developer,
right,
it would deserve a spot
right.
here.
But
But
it was not.
because
Right,
Kepler was there, sorry, it's like
right,
it like
right.
a like it would this would be
They
one,
had
yeah,
financial backing. That
exactly.
specifically removes it from this category.
Exactly. So I would say like the one like if they're gonna keep it like if people want to respect that, I feel because there's a sweep coming because again I said like Clair Obscur is the most nominated game there, and just for spoilers, like they won 7 awards over at the Golden Joystick. So it's like we kind of get an idea where the winds are blowing there. So and you guys know how he feels like, and people know how I feel about Clair Obscur.
They're
So,
blowing to hell is where they're blowing.
so best fighting game, another like laughable
Yeah,
collection.
this is a frustrating
Yeah,
list to say the least.
yeah. 2XKO, Capcom Fighting Collection 2, Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves, Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, and Virtua Fighter 5 Rebo. It's like, I
We have
think,
two solid selections to pick from
yeah.
here.
And then three that are like such old
Three
games. And
collections or remakes. Yeah,
yeah, and one collection is like very inconsistent depending on the version. Like the
yeah,
PS5 version of Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection is not good. There's a lot
yeah,
of you can go watch Maximilian Dude's videos. Like the input delay of that specific version is
yeah,
pretty bad. They're
yeah.
updating it to improve it, so it's like
Yeah,
even as
they made it actually two
uh,
exact
yeah.
of a version. Yeah,
It's and the only really new release is 2XKO, which is like the
yeah,
Valorant. So it's like by
right.
default that would be the
Yeah,
one. So it's
yeah.
like it's such a weird, not a great year for fighting games, but they
No,
insist of keeping this category. So best family game: Donkey Kong Bonanza, Lego Party, Lego Voyagers, Mario Kart World, Sonic Racing, Crossworlds, and Split Fiction. I would say for the family, it's a solid pick of
solid
six.
category this year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, if I would be the one that says that it's gonna get there, like I feel this is the category that's either Split Fiction or Donkey Kong are gonna
yeah,
like go to bat.
yeah. I
So,
mean, I would say, and I think most people will probably agree with this.
mhm.
Mario Kart World probably doesn't deserve this
No,
nomination,
yes,
because it's just not very well liked, to be
yeah,
perfectly honest.
that's kind of like the thing is like I feel like there's elements of Mario Kart World that deserve recognition. Like for example, I know that it didn't make it in in the OST thing, but apparently like there's some insane OST work done on Mario Kart World because it's like completely new compositions of the entire history, 40-year history of Nintendo. That's actually pretty impressive because that's new music. It's not just Smash Bros. Include all the music as is, just as a
Hmm.
collection. That they actually so it's like that takes more work than people give credit for, but that didn't get
Hmm.
nominated for OST because it's very easy for people that I've heard that song before. It's like it
Hmm.
requires a lot of appreciation for OST to think that. But in their general quality of Mario Kart World, I don't think it's a well liked game. It's like without giving it away, like Sonic Racing Crossroads is considered the best car racer of the
It's
two this year. Yeah, like
yeah,
for real. Like
by a pretty good margin
yeah,
too.
in the review scene, it's like it reviewed better. A lot of people like a lot what they're doing. It's like, and I know Sonic can be a meme in many places, but like when it comes to racing, like Sonic Racing has always been like well liked, and Sonic Racing Crossworlds is actually like the best version of that Sonic Kart racer.
Hmm.
So, so yeah, again for best family game, I think it's just gonna be Donkey Kong Split Fiction, just in the fact that they are the highest
I think so
rated
too. Yeah.
game. So whichever gets it, I would be happy if which either of them won. So I don't have much of a race there. I like those games. So best action adventure game, they specifically how they qualify it is a game that mixes action adventure with some puzzle elements.
Yeah.
It,
Did you say
it's,
combat? It said it had combat too.
it has action combat and mixed with,
Okay, okay, gotcha, gotcha.
and mixed with puzzle elements. So to me,
Uh-oh, we know somebody who doesn't like these games then.
I know, but specifically, there's one game in particular out of these 5 games that is very heavy in the puzzles for the action adventure game, and it's a game that
It's
came out.
basically what it is, yeah.
Yes, and it came out in December of last year and April of this year. Under that description, I would say that's the one that should be here. The release date includes Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, Ghost of Yote, Hollow Knight Silksong, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and Split Fiction. Wildly different games for this category. Hold that, but
Yeah.
in the description given,
That really is a diverse selection.
yes, it is. And great games, all 5 of them.
Yeah.
Uh, I think in the description given by the Game Awards, I think Indiana Jones would be the one that gets there because it's the
Which
most
is funny because now I can't speak to Split Fiction, but of the
Mhm.
other four, Indiana Jones has by far the worst combat. By
Exactly. It's like,
far.
yeah. Oh no, it does. I'm not disputing it. It's like combat is messy. It's like that. The
Yeah.
thing that makes that game great is like the experience of living in the Indiana Jones universe and the production value, like the
Mhm.
tone, like the wackiness of the what's the word that I'm using? The immersive sim, the Fox immersive sim element of like the things that you're grabbing to use that is like in the hilarity, it mixes with the hilarity of the movies, even though it's not great combat, but you're actually adventuring. You're using journals, you're like going through the puzzles and all that. It's like I feel it's the most like the definition that they've given us of this thing. If they didn't specifically mention the puzzle element, the other games are definitely better. I
I
would say
I
that.
actually forget what I picked here. I have an idea, but I'm not positive if that's actually what I picked
Yeah,
or not.
this is where the one part because I'm specifically mentioning Indiana Jones. I'm spoiling it. This I picked Indiana Jones for this thing just to be like,
Yeah.
hey, you gave me a description, and that's the
I'm
closest one for that.
I'm
Like,
sure I didn't, but I don't remember if I picked Death Stranding or if I picked Yote on this. I
yeah,
think
it's
I
like
picked Death Stranding, but I'm not positive.
it's like a Death Stranding 2. It's like an action adventure game without puzzles, basically, but it's like an action, like
Mm.
it's cargo
It's puzzle.
simulator.
It's more. It's
Mm,
like
the Metal Gears,
it's terrain
yeah,
navigation is
terrain
more the puzzle.
navigation. So it's
Yeah.
like that would be that way. But
Yeah.
again, it's like the description of the category doesn't make sense just with the
Yeah.
category itself. So it's like
And I also I would not categorize Hollow Knight as a
mhm,
action adventure.
exactly. Yeah, so it's like because it's different. And then in that same similar way, we got best action where they included two shooters. Battlefield 6, Doom the Dark Ages, Hades 2, Ninja Gaiden 4, and Shinobi Art of Vengeance.
Again, though, strong
Strong list.
category.
Yeah, it's a strong category but just on the quality of those games. I still feel Battlefield 6 and Doom the Dark Ages are being made dirty by not including a best FPS category.
Yeah,
I
I
feel,
agree. Like
yeah,
we get enough shooters every year. You could have
you can have it.
a
Yeah,
best shooter category.
even if it's just PvP only, I feel like you can
Or,
do.
or even if you want to make it best shooter, so you can include the odd
Mhm.
like fucking top down or something like that,
Uh-huh. Yeah, you
you
could
could
do.
do it.
Yeah. So it's like they are being done dirty that way. On the spirit of trying to keep action, I feel the ones that are more that are definitely disturbing of the action category are Hades, Ninja Gaiden, and Shinobi Art of Vengeance. On the actual action, combat, doing combos and things like that. It's like they're like
Mm-hmm.
they do that. It's like they have a complexity to their combat. So best score in music: Clair Obscur Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, Ghost of Yote, Hades 2, Hollow Knight Silk Song. So I'm
Again, strong category.
it is a strong category in the music department. I will say this. Clair
There's a heavy favorite in it.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah. So Clair Obscur Expedition 3 is the most nominated game of this entire list. I also put this qualifier. If the music wasn't as good as it is, that game probably doesn't get the other 11 nominations. I feel that game is
You
so.
think?
I feel that game, like the music of that game, enveloped everyone playing it in an emotional like way that I feel like it augmented how everyone felt about the game in almost everything because it was like such a sonoric, like emotional booster of a game. It's like I feel
I
like
mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I mean, obviously, the
yeah,
music is a major part of Final Fantasy.
exactly. Oh, I
You
would say
take the music out of Final Fantasy, and
exactly.
you would lose a lot of the impact of those
Yeah,
games. But
and I would even say that also too for Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy one last year from that. I would say like the music is more of an identity for Clair Obscur than it is for the other
mm,
four games, despite that the soundtrack for the other four games is excellent. This Death Stranding 2's Death Stranding 2's like soundtrack by Woodkid and Ludwig Forsell is excellent too. Like it's just that
and I will say, while it is by a country mile, well, that's not true. While it is probably my favorite game on this list,
mhm,
I'm not quite sure I agree with Hollow Knight being in
mhm.
this category. It
Yeah,
has good music. You
ambient music. It has
probably could have gotten a better candidate than that.
exactly. I think because I would say that it's less a score and more ambience. It's probably
Yes,
like
that's
in
about
Hollow
right.
Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
because
now
not
that said, when you're in like boss battles, it does have individual
mhm,
themes,
yeah.
but it doesn't quite have the like
I'm gonna
resonate.
put on I'm gonna put it on Spotify. It's like which one of these would you put on Spotify? And I would have said that Hollow Knight would be the
Actually,
one.
to be honest with you, now this is not my vote, but I
Hmm
actually would say Death Stranding because I did like that. That's kind of more chill music,
hmm
but it's not the best music either. So
Exactly.
the death music is absolutely
Yeah.
Expedition 33.
Exactly. If I would say that one, like if there's one that is a lock that that game has to absolutely get,
That's gonna walk away with that one. I'm pretty
it's that
sure.
one. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It would be tough. So
Yeah.
now we go to best performance again. Like this one basically ran up the score
Yeah, you
for
get three selections here, basically.
yeah. So obviously like we get Jennifer English, Ben Starr, and Charlie Cox for Claire's Care Expedition 3303. Then we get Erika Ishii from Ghost of Yota Shiesatsu, and we get Troy Baker from Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and Konatsu Kato from Silent Hill F. It's interesting that it's Konatsu Kato because that's
Because it's the Japanese
the
one,
Japanese
right?
version. So it's not
Right.
Susie Young was the
Right.
voice of Yuffie.
Right.
So it's like I've heard she like because I didn't play it in Japanese. I've heard that like
I did. It's actually far better in Japanese than it is in
exactly. So
English.
it's like
Yeah.
apparently she goes all out. So it's like
Yeah.
I defer to those that do this. Now for the expedition one, I would say this like I feel a lot of people conflate the shock of what happens to Charlie Cox's character early in that story for why that thing is here.
And also the fact of who he is.
Exactly, and the fact of who he is because he's still a good actor. Like I love him as Daredevil.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm not shit talking him, but
yeah,
he objectively should not be on this list.
yes.
He just shouldn't be.
And I love that every time that he because that's funny he doesn't shut up about it. It's like he says like
Yeah.
I feel like a fraud. I only went for a
Uh,
1 day session and it was nothing that I really thought about it. I just did it. And so it's like in that perspective, I can imagine a lot of people were like, "Man, he was so good at that, and he was just something that he did like in a day, and he like the." But then at the same time, like I
do
feel
you
like
really want to award that? Yes,
exactly.
exactly.
If they want to word no. And to me, probably because you didn't see like the later parts of that game, like I feel like a lot of people that really emotionally connect with Expedition 33, it's all because both of Jen English and Ben Starr in the final parts of that game. Like when that game, when that entire game kind of like
That
fulfills.
may be, but from what
Yes,
I saw, he might be the most boring protagonist I've ever seen.
and like
I thought
the
he was terrible.
oh Gustav, no, I'm talking about a Verso from Ben Starr. Ben Starr,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, no.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, Ben Starr could fucking read me the dictionary, and I'd
Exactly.
give
Yeah.
him a
Yeah.
word for it.
No, but yeah, Gustav is like a gets you the story, but like the like bringing that story together, like emotionally, like as the thing that people remember the most. I see why Jan English and Ben Starr would be here, but I would say this: the Golden Joysticks got it right. Ben Starr won supportive character. Jen English won lead character. They dumped lead character into three categories of one game here. This should have been
And
just one.
again,
It should have been just one.
it needs to be. I don't care what. Okay, you know how much I love Rebirth, right?
Yeah.
If they had four people for that, I would
From
have been
that
like,
game.
that's ridiculous.
Yes.
You'd only be able to have one because here's the thing, right? The whole point is you are picking the best.
Uh-huh.
Well, you can only have one of the best, no matter how many of the best nominations you have in the one game. You can only have one. So you pick the best performance from that game, and that's your nomination. You
And
should not be able to completely dominate one. And I'm not blaming
yeah.
Sandfall. That's not their fault.
No,
This is
this is the
whoever.
people. Yeah, this is the people that
whoever
decided, yeah.
was too fucking smooth brained to realize we shouldn't pick three goddamn characters from the
From
same
the
game.
same game, from the same game.
Yeah.
So because it's like and kind of like I said, I applaud the Golden Joysticks because they were smart enough to separate
That too.
the
That really
categories.
needs to be emphasized. Is
Yeah, because
there's a
like
big difference between supporting and lead.
yes, and it's like Jennifer English comes out as like because you think like she's just a secondary character, like she comes out as the main character of that game, like Miles. And what that character does, like in later in the story, is one of the most memorable things that happened there. And Ben Starr is a great supporting kind of like channel to that. That's why like over in the Golden Joystick, they got it right with. They gave it to Ben Starr and they gave main lead to Jennifer English, and he gave more choices for nominations too. That like over there in the Golden Joysticks,
Right.
Henry from KCD2
Yeah,
was
well, yeah,
was
that's the other
nominated
thing.
there.
Like
And
the fact that he is not in this when from the minute of that game being released, Tom McKay was applauded for his performance, as well as I don't remember his name, but the guy that plays Hans Capon.
Uh-huh.
Now again, what I just said stands here. You can only have
Yeah.
one. You can't have
You
both.
would
You
have,
can have
yeah,
one.
it would have been
But-
Henry's.
and I would say I would have to give it to Henry. I mean, he's got quadruple the number of lines.
Uh-huh.
Like objectively, he should have been in this category.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane that he's not.
Yeah, and again, like I said, like I feel I go to bat for two of these Expedition 33 ones, but I also say it again, they should have split them. Golden
Yeah.
Joystick, you did it right. You did it right and give it.
And there is where you could have Tom McKay and you could have
Uh-huh.
whatever Cape Wants actor's
Exactly,
name
and
is.
that's kind
You
of how
could
it was.
have supporting, yeah.
Exactly, and that's why you can reward more people because there's a lot of
Right.
talent here. And
Right.
and me knowing that this patch kind of got in by the bad luck of its first episode's launch when they sent people, hey, you got to give us the nominees for the
Mhm.
game awards, and like the rest of that game had not come. It's like if there's a game that absolutely deserves to have actors or an actor in its
Yeah,
category
I mean it's everything in
is
that game,
Dispatch.
so yeah,
It's
it's
Dispatch.
everything
So
in
it's like a,
Dispatch.
so it's
So
like a, that's kind of the one category that I it irks me seeing that much E33 representation that way, especially not on
there
the
are other games out there, and the
exactly.
fact that the people put it in every single category, it's like, come
Uh,
on.
yeah, it just adds to kind of like again, kind of like I said, is that because I love that game, despite the fact that I
Yeah,
haven't picked it or it's same much.
I'm not criticizing anybody
Exactly,
who likes it.
exactly. So
Yes.
yeah, so it's like, but I also feel this adds to the groundswell of resentment that's growing because that game I said in my stream that is like the passengers that have kind of popped by that got into got into this game and then suddenly they feel like authorities on what it represents in RPG genre. It's so
The,
annoying because it's like
this
it's
game is Elden Ring 2.0, except it's even worse than it was with Elden Ring.
yeah, oh yeah, because like they're literally using it to shit on like the entire
Yeah,
genre that because you're the worst part is like never does the director do anything but give
yeah.
praise
Have,
to
have
like
I
its
ever
inspiration.
once,
No,
outside of maybe design choices,
uh-huh.
have I ever once criticized anybody at Sandfall? No,
No.
I've criticized the community and I've criticized the game because that's a
Hmm.
whole different argument, right?
Hmm.
But like, first of all, you would think that this was the first JRPG ever made by
Yeah,
some people.
but if
It's like,
people
look,
speak
look,
about it,
and this is not a criticism of it, but the reality is, everything these people like say it invented none of it.
no, nothing. And that's kind of
But it took a lot of good things from elsewhere and put them
mhm.
together. But it
Yeah,
really didn't invent anything
exactly.
outside of its universe, obviously. But
Yeah. The one thing that it just proves is that by choosing the aesthetic that it did, they took a lot of these things that so many JRPGs have been doing for years, put it all together in a package, and get people like in the door to realize that yeah, there's something good about this genre that people love to nudge their nose all
yeah,
about
and
it.
you know what? I mean, actually, when this game was first revealed in what was it last
20,
year's
2024.
2 years, like oh yeah, last year, yeah. What was the immediate game that it was compared to?
Persona.
No, Lost Odyssey.
Oh, that's no.
And you know what?
That's
There's a
right.
reason for that because yeah, Lost Odyssey is an actual literal JRPG.
Hmm.
It doesn't really have anime style characters outside of maybe Kaim himself.
Hmm.
And even that, he's not that anime looking.
Yeah.
So it's like it shows how little these people know what they're talking about because
Hmm.
that exists. There's
Hmm.
plenty of JRPGs out there that I mean, I should say plenty. There are JRPGs out there that don't have anime stylized characters.
Hmm.
Yeah, it might be the prevalent design, but it's
Hmm.
not the only thing there is.
Yeah, Romance and Saga wasn't like in that style. It wasn't anime, quite anime
Sorry, which
either.
one?
Romance and Saga, that was a turn-based RPG from
Oh
last
yeah,
year.
yeah,
That
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so it's like even the Final Fantasy ones are not like precisely like anime characters either.
Yeah,
So
I mean, like, like Rebirth or Remake or Rebirth. Yeah,
mhm.
they obviously are anime styled, but like they went
In the anime, like in the
they went in a more realistic style with them to the
mhm.
point that outside of Cloud's hair,
Yeah.
most of it actually doesn't even look anime.
Yeah, and to be fair, it's like there is some association that given to Akira Toriyama as a Dragon Ball to
Right.
some of the design that they did originally for this for what Tetsuya Nomura did for Final Fantasy VII. But a lot of people don't like giving Rebirth credit because it's not a turn-based game because it's its own weird thing. Because a lot of people are like, yeah, we've
Yeah,
been
yeah,
missing
because it has the best battle system in
ever. There was nobody.
RPG history.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes
yeah.
it
So
that
we don't
gives
want
you
to
the
give
best
it
of
we don't
both.
want to give it credit. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like because that's where the high fidelity games have gone in that way.
Yeah.
But it's like that's kind of like what makes it because I kept saying it's like Clear Obscure is my second favorite game of this year. That's I've said it many times.
I am glad it's not your first anymore. I will say that pleased me. When you had said it was waiver on you, I knew what your first was.
Yes,
But
I had been wavering back and forth, and then I
yeah,
finally realized that I was like, there was one game I literally wrote an editorial about of how
yeah,
much it meant. It's like I
yeah.
think that's the
That's
one.
why I was
That's the
like, I am
one.
surprised he is picking, even though I knew you liked it. But you
Yeah,
gave E33 a 9, right?
a 9.5. I gave it a nine
9.5.
five.
Oh, okay, you gave it
Yeah,
a little higher
so
than I thought you did then.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So that's why I was like, I would certainly say E33 is a game that's been in my mind the most this year because I've been seeing a lot of streamers go through. I
You
love watch.
if you're online at all, you can't not see it.
Exactly. So it's like it's a game that I've been consumed the most. So that's why I was like, it's probably like my favorite in that way. But parts of it are my favorite. Some of my favorite things, like music, for example. But like for example, like story, I like other stories better.
Mm,
Like I give it to well, I'm not gonna say who you give. Like it's not even like I didn't even give the best story to what it's even my game of the year too. So it's like when
mm,
a story kind of like to break it down that way is like yeah, it's like Clear Square is absolutely one of my favorites. Definitely my second choice for me. But it's like it's definitely has the groundswell support of so many parts, but it also makes it so annoying to discuss because the
yeah,
conversation
yeah.
has gotten so out of control with this game. And
It
I would,
really has. I mean, how long have we talked about that? I kept saying I was like,
yeah,
I wish it like months ago, right?
uh,
I said I was like, I wish it wasn't influencing my opinion, but I can't say it's not because it
mhm,
absolutely is. Like I was so frustrated hearing people talk about the game that it's like,
mhm,
even though that's stupid to say this,
mhm,
and that's not the game,
mhm.
it 100% was influencing my opinion on the game.
Yeah, and to me that sucks because it's like because I like to me I like what it represents because Sandful literally was like, we're getting out of the Ubisoft, like, spirit the director. I'm getting out of the Ubisoft, like, content mission because they just want to do the one thing. They don't want to do the creative ideas they used to do. I like JRPGs. I see that they're the high fidelity JRPG. The last one I played was Lost Odyssey. We haven't gotten that, like, the turn based one, not the ones with
Yeah,
mixing combat,
I know what you mean.
like turn based. He literally said, like, the initiative came, let's do it ourselves. This literally was an indie be like, hey, let's do a game that's not being done. It's like it was a labor of love to like all these games that have inspired me. Let's do it all in this aesthetic that it's rare in games, which is like Belle Epoque France. It's like and it's the small team and all that. It's like I feel like it was such a noble effort to be like, hey, yes, like we'll do it ourselves. I like that idea of like let's do it ourselves because the other guys don't want to do it because they've moved on. Like Square Enix is like all in on action combat. It's like they don't want to do turn based in the high fidelity. They just left turn based on this pixel art and all that. So it's like it had such great like that was the thing that I loved the most, and that they were able to pull it off with a smaller team in double A. Obviously, the it blurred the line of like, look what this indie team did. It's like no, it's not indie, it's a double A because it's like
Right,
it got the funding from Kepler, the
right.
publisher, and I know Kepler loves blurring the lines because like no, the games that we publish are from independent games,
Mm.
but it's like but you're publishing their games, so that's not inherently
And
independent.
and actually,
But
something you just said, I want to. That's another source of frustration for me. Not that it matters how it's categorized, but that it matters that they're like, oh, hey, this is an indie game, blah blah blah. It's like there's a big difference between an indie game and a double
mhm,
A game.
yeah,
An indie game, you can forgive the stiff animations. A double
hmm
A game, it's a little less forgivable.
hmm
So while I don't care that much, right? I'm not trying to
hmm
be overly nitpicky here,
hmm
but like it does cause the masses to have an incorrect perception, if you will,
hmm
about the shortcomings of this game because like, well, it's an indie game, so of course it's not. It's like it's not an indie game though. They
hmm
had funding.
yeah, exactly. So it's like
And,
so
and
that's
I'm going to be clear. I just use these animations as an example because they're not that bad, but
no,
they're not good by any.
but you can tell that it's
Yeah,
not high
that
quality to it.
right, exactly. And the
lip
facial animations in
yeah
particular are quite poor. Right,
yeah lip syncing
right,
is off. It's
right,
very rare for you to get like proper lip syncing.
right.
Though with the running animation, you can definitely see that in the
Yeah, it's very stiff. Yeah,
thing
it's
and the
very
stiffs.
stiff.
It's
Yeah,
like which is like
and that specifically is what I was trying to say. Is it's like by categorizing it as an indie, you kind of give it unfair like
pass.
boosting in what it is, as opposed to being like, okay, double A, okay, it's about where it should be. Indie, it's like, wow, that's really impressive for an indie game.
And even then, I would even say for a double A, it's still impressive compared to many double A efforts.
It is, yeah, it is.
I still
I
want to
won't
give
argue
it.
that. I won't argue
Yeah.
that. I'm just
Mhm.
pointing out like it probably gets a little overglazed because of that as well.
Exactly, because again, like again, the way to discuss E33, there's so many mixed terminologies and so many
Yeah,
mixed messagings and so many like uninformed ways to really talk about like the ways that this game can be really impressive in the studio environment. I feel like if there's a one way that if the big, which is obviously gonna get it because I already saw who won over at the Golden
yeah,
Joysticks, is like if at least we can get a positive out of this is again the re-emphasis, and you can see it a lot with the rest of the nominees that we're gonna read. Is that I love that so many smaller teams are the ones that define 2025
right.
because I feel like if it's a way to kind of create a statement of greatness can come from small beginnings or the smallerness and all that. E33 does have at least
Oh, sure.
eliminating the overglazing that its annoying fan base has gotten at this point because even I get annoyed
Yeah.
seeing that as someone that absolutely loves that game, seeing it being used to put down
Yeah.
the genre that it's like homaging, the inspirations that it's
Just,
taken, the themes that it's.
just like with Elden Ring, right?
Mhm.
Elden Ring suddenly became how every open world game needed to be. It's like you're an idiot if you think that. You
Yeah,
are an idiot. But not trying to get sidetracked. But just
exactly. But then
yeah.
at the same time, it's like you don't want every game to be Elden Ring
No,
because then Elden
no.
Ring doesn't become like because then Elden Ring is
You
not
wouldn't have a
special.
narrative ever.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it's even more annoying seeing that from E33 because I've been seeing it like a lot of passengers use it as a way to uninform in an
Mm,
uninformed way, say that the JRPG genre has just been gone for a while. I'm like, no, it's
mm.
been there. You just have been like
That,
so myopic to see it.
that
So
one in particular that Hogue shared yesterday, the
mm,
day before, I read that. I was like,
yeah, that was the one.
that makes my fucking blood vessel in my brain explode.
Yeah, the
Because it's
one
like,
that is like
what a terrible fucking statement to make.
yeah, I think it was the one about like this is like it's such a monumental thing that it's gonna be
Yes,
studied like
that
a
one.
master class and all that.
That's the same one.
It's like
It's-
don't do it. This is what,
honestly, by the time they make their next game, no
uh,
one will probably ever talk about this one again. So
yeah.
it's like, yeah, that's just such a wrong opinion.
Yeah, I would say a lot. There's a lot about this game that will be talked about when it comes to like narrative choice, music, and there's elements that are gonna be talked about. But the way people talk it as this groundswell, like groundbreaking,
Yeah,
I feel like it's just so overglazed.
right.
It's like so overglazed that this is a game still worth glazing. That's kind of like the what frustrates me. So it's like it's just
Yeah.
gotten so out of control. It's like so
Yeah. Oh
out of
yeah.
control in that way, and that to me makes me annoyed because this is a game that I absolutely still want to love and praise and support. It's just that now that conversation is so annoying.
Yeah.
It is so
Yeah.
annoying that I'd rather not talk about it because
Yep.
like
Yep.
it's a game that's still worth criticizing and like in even in story
Sure.
choices made in how like its combat is like it's cool what it does with dodging, it's cool what it does with
S-
pairing and all of that. But
Specifically, and I mean, I understand because of the setting.
mhm,
Again, not to get overly into it here, but
mhm.
um, its whole structure of I describe it as basically a significantly less shitty Final Fantasy 13. Because if
Hmm.
you think about it, that's what it is.
Yeah, it is.
You're basically through the dungeon the entire time. There's one village you go to, and all you do is walk through it.
And there's only that one village in the
Yeah,
entire game.
yeah.
So it's
So
like
like it really is. It is Final Fantasy 13, except not nearly as shitty as that game. So
exactly.
I don't want to tell you that's what I'm saying. But
Exactly, but because like it's definitely a much better, way
yeah.
better game than that is because like
Yeah, yeah.
just the only thing Final Fantasy 13 had its visuals, which
Right.
this game doesn't really
And
have.
its soundtrack. Final Fantasy 13 had an amazing soundtrack too. Let's
Yes,
be
I
clear.
would give it to it. And
Yeah,
again, like the production value of Final Fantasy, regardless
yeah,
of the
yeah.
quality of the
But everything
game.
else about 13 sucked. So
So, so yeah, but that kind of is the one thing that annoys me that it's. I'm glad for Sandfall's success because I know where the heart is. They've said it many
mm,
times. That it's like the story of how that game came together, where they found the writer, where they found the soundtrack guy was found in SoundCloud. It's like there's
yes,
just
I
so
knew
much.
that actually. Yes,
Yeah, it's
yes.
like to me, it's like it's just such an amazing story of how this kind of game kind of came together from where it came from. Because again, like to me, the great thing is like you would have thought that this game was made by the guy that did the launch version of Ghost Recon Breakpoint, the launch version, the
Yeah.
shitty launch version of Ghost Recon Breakpoint. It's like again, it just showed there's so many talented teams and people within like the studio, like the big studio environment. That is like there's so many ways to like praise the way that this game kind of came together and it turned out without having to then call it the second coming of Jesus Christ.
What
Because there's levels to that.
that just it's kind of a bigger point, but it shows that the larger discussion around gaming anymore is
It's
fucking
hyperbole.
terrible. It's
Yeah.
like if you find the little pockets like what we're in,
Hmm.
you can get good conversation.
Yeah.
But the bigger names, they don't know how to talk about games.
Nope.
They just and they have an audience, the people listen,
Hmm.
but they're either outright wrong
Hmm.
in the case of certain people who are disputing Circana
Hmm.
information.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Um, they're outright stupid, like this particular example.
Hmm.
They're lying, like the first one. You know, it's just
Hmm.
like you got to find the pocket because
It's the only way to get
most
it.
gaming discussion now is fucking abjectly wrong.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. And
that's a far bigger topic. I just wanted to say,
oh,
like
oh,
that's very much what it
exactly.
heads in.
Exactly. So it's like, and that it's so funny that we went down after talking about like best performance, hauling all the all the things, but it's kind of like, but that's just kind of the thing that it's like
Yeah.
that's the end because like for example like Paul, Claire Obscura is his game of the year,
And
and
that's
I know
fine.
and I
That's
know why
fine,
it's
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and the thing is that hearing why it's his game of the year, I understand why. And and those are the conversations I want to hear more from, instead of like this generalized nature of like this is the second coming
It
since
does everything better than everything before it. Yeah,
exactly, which is like it does some things, not
yeah.
everything. So it's like, and again, so because just the hyperbole, and this is kind of like what I hate about this era, this current era where we're in. It's like it's either the greatest thing or it's the biggest piece of garbage. It's
It's a
like
10 or it's a 0.
yeah, exactly, and that is that's been perfectly exemplified with the fan base that the
Oh
passenger
yeah.
it's fan base of passengers because I want to praise
You can't just say this is a great game. I love it.
yeah.
There's a lot of things that I would like to see improve. You have to say no. This is
It,
generational. It's the greatest thing ever. And it's like
yeah, no.
not fucking everything is generational, guys.
And by doing that, then you turn off the people that think it's a great game, because
Right.
that's
Right.
that was the thing that, because the one thing that I'll give to Hogue is that unfortunately he's one of them that he just had again a very specific idea of what he wanted that game to be, and
Yeah.
then the game ended
That
up
said,
not being that.
of everything, I mean, we've obviously discussed ad nauseum how he likes to, you know,
Over hype himself over
but I
things.
actually do think he has made an active attempt to really explain why he does not
Hmm.
actually not like it, because he does like it, but
Hmm.
not think that it's as good as everybody else. But the fucking second he says that, bam, there's somebody in his comments, right? Like the one that you were talking to him in,
Hmm.
whatever that was about.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I thought he made a pretty good point. And one of the fucking comments down there said something like, "Imagine." Oh no, sorry, it wasn't the same one. It was one when he said he was gonna get off of Twitter because of
Hmm.
the Game of the Year discussion, whatever.
Uh-huh.
And
And somebody's like, it's not. I
somebody
hate
said,
it here.
"Imagine being so stupid that you're gonna get off of Twitter because
Uh-huh.
a great game is getting Game of the Year." It's like you can't fucking read because that's not what he said.
No,
That is not what he fucking said.
yeah, because it's like he doesn't think it's the greatest thing, since the
He
greatest
doesn't
thing.
like the conversation around it. It has nothing to do with people liking it.
Yeah, because he does like it.
Yes, he
he's made it
does.
clear that he does like it. There's
Yeah,
some specific areas where he's a little probably too lawyer hard-headed to not understand
yeah,
why people respond to it
yeah.
the way, because again, like I do feel like a lot of people, it's kind of like I told why I feel that the why this game's getting overglazed, I attribute it to its music. There's so many people that
Mm.
get become very emotionally like this game has treated people in a very emotional way, so they get overly emotional about it. He's
And
not that
he's
person.
not, yeah, say he's not real big into music soundtracks, I don't think.
Yeah, he is, but not emotional
Oh, okay,
stuff.
gotcha,
So
gotcha.
it's like he's too logic based. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know who, also
yeah.
too, which is which is one more frustrating to talk games with too.
Goddamn lawyers.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, so that's what puts him at a disadvantage, because like a lot of people have. I responded to this game in an emotional way. Like Paul responded to it in a very emotional way, and I understand why. And when
And I did not, right? Which is why it
exactly,
didn't resonate with me.
exactly. So it's like why that, and I feel a lot of people don't know how to properly understand. Is like if you understand someone didn't respond emotionally towards that game, maybe don't try to convince them
Mm,
otherwise, or at least see if you can at least have a good conversation to kind of understand without taking it too personally.
mm,
Because this game is so
mm,
emotionally not manipulated, but so emotionally resonant to a lot of people. I feel it's very
mm.
hard. It's kind of how I say, like when you become too emotionally attached to something, I feel you become a little bit too more defensive. And unfortunately, that's kind of like what happened to Ho. He tried to bring logic to emotions, and I because I've tried to have that conversation
That
to that.
said, though, I will say I have seen him talk about this game, and now I know you said he
Mhm.
wasn't so great on the LSM or whatever it was.
Yeah. Oh, that was
On
bad.
Twitter, on Twitter, though, I will say he has tried to be very reasonable, in my opinion. He
Yeah.
like when somebody replies and says they like it, he never tells them they're wrong.
Yeah, and but that was a bit, and I would say that's something that he's toned down because he
Yes, yeah.
did
Well,
he
we know
responded
games
to
he's
one.
bad about that about.
Yes,
Yeah.
and all of that. He also because it was the account Limitless, who is like a big Final Fantasy 16 glazer, that he said that the story, because he was like what I just experienced of Expedition 33 is absolute cinema. It's incredible, and it was one of the most emotional things. And then Ho did the worst thing someone can do is like if you think that's emotional, you haven't read a book or something like that.
Oh,
And that's something that
yeah. Never mind. That's not a good response at all.
yes, and that's something that he has got been guiding a lot. And that was on top, like that was right before the Ellison thing, like the spoiler cast that he did, that unfortunately was like didn't go well for him because
Yeah.
like he tried to like he did a like he should have been in the second spoiler cast with Colin, Brad, and Maddie, because Colin and Brad were slightly like not quite where he was, but a little bit more on his camp where they liked the game a lot, but they were not as emotionally enveloped as in they were using more
Okay.
logic. So I feel he needed to be there because the first podcast with Dustin, Chris,
So
and
really, out of all of them, then Cog and Maddie were the only ones that were all that into it, then, huh?
no, it's like Cog was into it, was super into it.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Cog and Maddie were the only ones that were like super into it, then.
and Dustin and Chris,
Oh,
like
okay.
it's they were different.
Okay.
It's like it had the perfect reaction to have the logic people and the emotional
Yeah.
people, and they got the most loud logic people with three of the most emotional guys, and that didn't go well for that audience because it
Yeah.
was like they wanted to
Yeah.
hear because he just kept about it, and that's something that he said that that's something he's taking more into account because that like the response to that spoiler cast to him was very
Yeah. He got a lot of criticism. I know that.
yeah, and he it actually that effed him up quite a bit because he was like
Mm.
and I kind of respect because that whole conversation I try to respectfully try to tell him is like yeah I think it's again a lot of people are too emotionally like
Yeah.
invested in it and I feel like you it's like they wanted to hear the emotions from someone more than the law like more than the logic because it's like it's trying
Mm.
to apply logic to something that emotionally moves you and that
Right.
people
Yeah.
find that
I
annoying.
mean, you just cannot do that. I
Exactly,
mean,
it's just incompatible
right.
and so
Right.
that's why I was like it's
When it comes to emotions, there is no logic. Like
no.
they just don't. They don't. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. So it's like so he needed to be with people who were willing to
Right.
engage
Right.
more with it logically. But it's exactly what happened. And it's kind of why I
That
say it's
makes
like it's
sense.
very yeah. So it's like it's a game that's very hard to like if you see that if you're falling one of those camps, try then not to engage in that Discord
Yeah.
because that's kind of where
Yeah.
it is. It's like the emotionality is too there. It's up there. It's why. I also not surprised why it's set to sweep as you can hear like as we continue with some of these other
Mhm.
quick categories. Best narrative. Claire Scare Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, Ghost Jote, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and Silent Hill F. I would say that's a fairly strong five
That's
picks of
good.
the
That's a
stories.
good pick. Yeah.
Yeah. Best multiplayer, Expedition 33. I'm just kidding. No, it's not there.
It wouldn't
Arc,
surprise me if they put it in there
yep.
somehow.
Arc Raiders, Battlefield 6, Elden Ring, Night Ring, Peak, and Split Fiction. And it's a pretty varied multiplayer list here because they couldn't be more different.
Yeah, you get well that too, but you got really I think two heavy front runners plus a
Mhm.
name to carry another one. But
Yes,
Peak and Split Fictions don't have a chance on this one. I don't think.
exactly. Yeah.
It's
Peak,
going to
Peak,
be Arc or it's going to be Battlefield. I would
yeah.
guess.
Actually, funny thing, Peak won over the Golden Joystick, so it has a chance. So
That's voted on by developers though, is it not?
it's voted by fans.
Oh,
So
by fans. Oh, okay.
yeah, but that tends to also like it's not usually too far off, like kind of where the vibes can be. So and I don't know, Peak was again like Friends Lop was shockingly showed a lot of people is like there's popularity in Friends Lop, so Peak has a shot
Mm.
there. Best game direction, Clair Obscure Expedition 33, There's Stranding 2 on the Beach, Ghost of Yote, Hades 2, and Split Fiction. Best game direction is always so weird in how it defines like why it's
Yeah,
supposed to be there.
I actually think this should be one of the more like
Hmm.
prestigious awards, but I think they need to do a better job of describing what you're actually voting for here.
Yeah, because then the kinds of games that you put is like comparing potatoes and apples,
Yeah.
like
It,
together.
in my opinion, there is a very, 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 very heavy favorite
Mhm.
to this, but
Yes,
I'll guess Expedition 33 wins.
exactly. And this would be also one where
And
Mr. Quick.
it's one that it should not win, to be very
Exactly.
clear.
Yeah, and the other one, like, there's a specific game that, if when it comes to actual direction, because he
It's
understands
what it is.
cinema,
Yeah, it is.
you
Yeah.
know which one it is.
Yes.
But to be fair, though there too, I also cannot under kind of like SERP what Yote and Split Fiction also do in their filmmake and the
Oh,
way they
sure,
understand.
sure.
They understand kind of like,
But I mean, let's be clear. Death Stranding is a movie
yeah,
in certain points, so like
exactly.
it should win, and if it
They got
doesn't,
it.
it's really not right.
Yeah. Best audio design, Battlefield 6, Clear Scare Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, Ghost of Yote, and Silent Hill F. Expedition 33 deserves its music. Audio design is not.
Yeah,
There's
I agree.
yeah, there's
I,
nothing too notable there.
I don't even know if Silent Hill deserves to be here.
Yeah.
So Silent Hill has good sound.
Hmm.
It's nowhere near like Battlefield, for example,
Hmm.
or even I mean, Ghost Yote has good sound. I don't
Yeah,
know
but
if
it's
it's
but that's the thing. Like,
but Battlefield has to be the heavy favorite in this one. It
mhm.
really does.
I would agree with that. So Battlefield would have to be not the same. That's what the one that I voted for, but it's like at least just understanding actual design, like that,
Mhm.
like which one actually like feels very authentic and like does
Right.
something that like really makes or that. I think there's a specific one that is
Yeah.
obvious there.
Yeah.
Best art direction, Claire Scare Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach.
No, Claire, Expedition
Okay.
33, really.
Yeah, Hades 2 and Hollow Knight Silksong. This is the top one because that's kind of like the irony for me with Claire Scare Expedition 33
I don't
in
like the art design to
in
it
the
much myself.
macro.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something in the macro about like there's something about the imagination that's kind of cool in some of those places, but then when you look at the detail and the Unreal Engine 5 assets that the game used, it's both a pretty and ugly game.
Yeah,
That's kind of what's so
and
funny
I
about
mean,
it.
I've said ad nauseum, I don't like the character designs at all in this game, which is
Yeah,
that's a major part of your art direction.
exactly.
So
So it's like, so that's why it's like it's weird. I would say it makes for cool screenshots.
the world design
Yeah.
is brilliant,
Yes.
but the character and a lot of enemy designs I think are really actually kind of lacking
They're kind of
myself.
ugly. It's like there's a
Yeah,
certain because it's both a beautiful and ugly game, which is
yes,
funny considering it's about art. Let's just say
right,
that.
right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Death
no,
Stranding 2 on the
I know the big twist. I know what you
exactly
mean.
exactly so Death Stranding 2 on the beach obviously kind of like has it's a very photorealistic looking game
Hmm.
with some Joya Shinkawa trappings and kind of like
Hmm.
kind of like some you see the Shinkawa
Hmm.
and the roboticness and like the lighting and like the composition and things that it's so unique to him where it's like a Joey Shinkawa always makes
Hmm.
the photorealism stand out more compared to like
Hmm.
other photorealism. Ghost of Yote is a very colorful photorealistic game.
Hmm.
Hades 2 is all about the art. It's all about
Oh
like that
yeah.
painterly art. And Hollow Knight Silson has kind of like that
I,
artistic
I,
like
I,
how do you
I
describe it? Like it's kind of like a
it's a hand
flash.
drawn,
It's a
hand drawn.
hand-drawn
Yeah,
flash, almost like remember some sort of flash animations from
yeah.
back in the day and putting it in
Mm-hmm.
this like in this like cornucopia of different like hand-drawn styles and all that. If we're giving it to the most artistic of artists, I think it's between Hades and Hollow Knight. Between both of
I think
those.
so as well. But I would also not be offended if it goes to Yote got it.
Hmm.
But I do think Hades and Hollow Knight are very much your heavy favorites here,
Hmm.
and they should be, and they
Yeah,
should be.
and this
Because
is another and this is I feel another category that I wish it used to because we used to separate best graphics, technical, and best artistic
right,
content
because
because
they're very different things. They're
mhm,
very different things.
yeah,
Yes,
and it's unfair pitting the hand drawn like the beauty
right.
of like hand drawn animation to the
With Death
photorealism.
Stranding, yeah.
Exactly, it's like I feel there's ways to reward both of them, and
Right.
Golden Joystick separates them. So again,
Yeah.
there's a reward show that's voted by fans that at least in the categories they
Yeah.
know what they're talking about. At least they
Yeah.
understand the importance of separating instead of lumping everything together like this, like this one.
Mm,
And Game of the Year: Clear Obscure, Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Hades 2, Hollow Knight, Silson, and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. A clear favorite after
well,
everything.
obviously, and I think we can agree that
Mhm.
there's probably one on here that maybe shouldn't be there, and that'd be
Mhm.
Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
But the other five definitely deserve to be there. I mean, they've every one of them's
Mhm.
got enough nominations elsewhere as well. So
Yeah. I actually think two could be swapped out to me personally, and that would be Donkey Kong and Hades. Uh, because Hades,
I was more going with the fact of how beloved Hades is. But
yes. Yeah, because Hades 2, the thing that it has, what's funny is that it's technically the highest rated game of the year, like
yeah,
in reviews. Like if you were to objectively pick everything, just as like if your barometer is like who
hmm,
scored highest in Metacritic, Hades is the one
yeah,
there. The
and
thing
then
is
Six
that
Songs number two actually.
exactly. So it's like those are the two that are like the highest rated. Hades 2 right now, I feel like there's a narrative forming that is like even I saw it even for the people that glazed it a lot. It's like, look, it's an amazing game because Hades is amazing. It's still like it's the one out of those six that it's more
Of the same game. Yeah.
yeah. So it's like that's kind of like where what's underlining, and that's not like I mean I love that game. I played it on stream. Again, kind of like it
Hmm.
says like, but it is what it is. So that one could, and then Donkey Kong is like there's something cool about its platforming and its destruction and all of that.
Yeah,
It's also
I love that game, but it's a pretty big step down from the other ones.
yes, so it's like compared to like what's around it, it's like I don't feel as we talk about overglazed. I feel that Donkey Kong to me got ruined by Diageo 10 out of 10 for me. I'll just put it out.
Yeah,
I'll just put it
I,
there. It's a nine. It is a nine.
I say it's a nine. I think
Yeah.
a 10 is really given the Nintendo glaze there.
Yes, and to be fair, the Metacritic is not that high. It's a 90, so it's like okay,
Yeah.
it's like at least in the consensus word. But that's one game where it was like I couldn't get out the is it a 10 out of 10? Is it a, and also a lot of people kept talking up the incredible like out of this world ending sequence.
Mm.
It's crazy. There's some crazy sequences that happen, and there's some parts of there that, as a Donkey Kong fan, I highly appreciate it. But again, I got caught up with that. I heard it glazed. I played it as like I probably shouldn't have heard. I probably shouldn't have heard
Mm.
it. So that's why I feel like because Donkey Kong is in my top 10. Like for people that see my streams, I already have a
Great game.
preliminary. It's a great
It's a
game.
great game.
But like in the top six, I feel this is where I would sneak in Split Fiction, if anything.
Hmm.
Like if it needed to be there. I mean, it's getting its not in game direction and somewhere else. Uh, I don't know what else I would scare if I was swapping to because it's like I like Jote a lot, but it's that's also like if I'm gonna do the Hades 2,
That's
it's
another one
more
that's
off.
just very similar to the previous game, right?
Like if I'm gonna give the more off, I feel Jote is also a more off. So in fact, funny enough, I love Yote even more the fact that it's not a game of the year because I've said my piece about how much I thought Tsushima got a great game, but also got a little too much praise too.
Yeah, no,
So
I agree. I thought it did at the time too.
exactly. So it's like and not many of the Kingdom Come only has two nominations: Best RPG and Game of the Year.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's like
yeah.
it's very. I feel
No, no,
sad.
no, no. It's in narrative, I think, also, isn't it?
Is it a
I, I,
narrative?
I closed the thing. I thought it was in
Oh, no,
narrative,
sorry.
but
Okay, it has three.
okay.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I was gonna say I thought it had three.
yeah. So it's only three. Still, that's still for
That's
a
not
game.
enough. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, I've kept saying all year because I was bracing for a snub for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 just because I know who
Yeah.
votes for this panel. So the
Mhm.
fact that it made it in,
I
considering
guarantee you,
backlist,
Eurogamer didn't vote for it in these.
yeah, or many of the non-reviewers that tend to vote here that are kind of like content creators, we know who those are. They're irrelevant
Mhm.
now. But it's like, yeah, so that's basically in the Game Awards side of things, those are like your nominees. We'll talk about who won in 3 weeks in the final episode that we
It's
record.
but 4 weeks, isn't it? I thought it was the
Three.
eighth. No, no, no. That is
The
2. Yeah, you're right. That is 2 weeks. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah, because it's like next week is Thanksgiving. It's
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. Then the week, that dead week of Christmas before the big holiday, before the Game Awards, because Game Awards is on December 11th. So it's like
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
I wish it was the week after Thanksgiving because there's an entire week of December there. Why wait until the 11th? But I guess that's when he booked it. That's when it's gonna be. So
Yeah.
we'll know who wins there. But right now, like Game of the Year is happening. You can go look at the Golden Joystick Awards to at least see the more fan voted, more categorized version of things, how it is. Interesting wins there, but also it's setting up the sweep for Expedition 3. They won seven
Yeah.
awards.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but the way that they separated, at the very least, I respect, kind of like I said, I respect that they separated supportive and mainly because it gave more nods for everywhere else, which is the
Mm.
thing that I miss. And if you were to eliminate the fact that it took three spots from best performance, this would have had as many nominations as Last of Us Part Two and God of War Ragnarok. The performance category, hobbling all that is
Right.
what
Right.
it's what
Right.
like boosted it up. So, but hey, who is the one that sends these nominations? Not Jeff Keighley. Is the voting panels that he has
Yeah.
chosen. So
No,
if
well,
you
I mean, that's the issue. And truthfully, the people that know what they're talking about, that's the criticism where they say, like, it is time to reconsider your voting panel. Like, you got to start getting people in there that don't all like just the
mhm,
same things. Like,
yeah,
you got to start getting people in there that actually
and you
like racing games. You got to
mhm.
get people in there that actually like simulation and strategies and stuff like that.
And this is something again. Everyone go to Alana Pierce channel or Alana Sorry because she talks about Game Awards and Dispatch. It's the video is called about the Game Awards, Expedition 33 and Dispatch. Go watch that video. She specifically mentions how the BAFTAs specifically every category is picked by experts and they have to
That's
sign
how
off.
it
Those
should
experts,
be.
it should be,
Yes,
and
that's how it should be.
they're the one like those experts are the ones that create the categories for them the voters because like they're the people that commit to the BAFTAs for this coming year. We're gonna be the ones that are gonna play this genre and we're gonna be the ones that are going to like advocate for this genre. Keely
Mhm.
gives the outlets that end up voting for these things. They're the one. He's the one who's like, okay, I'm sending you this. You send me the list. I'm gonna tabulate
Right.
them, and whoever
Right.
wins, they're how they're gonna say. It's like we know that a lot of these people are not experts on these things. They just
And
aren't.
I'm going to be honest, like, now I haven't looked at the list in a couple of years, but when I last looked at it, the list of like who was, they didn't obviously say the names of who was
Uh-huh.
panelists, but they said what their outlets were or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them, I'm like, why is this here?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And like, when it comes to content creators, if you're not like a, say, just as an example, a kind of funny who
Yeah.
have people that know the industry,
Mm-hmm.
if you're just some streamer, why on earth do you have a vote in this? You don't
Mm-hmm.
know
Exactly.
anything about the industry if you're just a streamer. That's not an insult. I mean, you're probably making more money than the guys that work in the
Yeah.
industry, but why do you have a voice in this outside of just the people voting? The
Because you know that
public.
you're gonna be sending all your nominees for all of these categories. That's the thing.
Yes.
Like for
Yeah.
example, I will love, for example, like a Maximilian dude. Like I would love if he could be
Yeah,
like
he's the
chosen
guy
for
who
the
should get the
fighting.
fighting game, right?
Yeah, for the fighting, and even some of the RPG choices too, because like he's also like, kind of like in the Final Fantasy realm, so
Mm.
like he at least it's even though he's more an FF7 thing than more than an RPG guy, but
Oh, okay.
like for example, I would love if he could curate like the fighting like the fighting
Yeah,
game.
I know he's one of the biggest names in the fighting game community. So it's
Exactly.
like,
So
yeah, that's the guy you want talking about your fighting games.
mhm,
Not just as an example, Travis from IGN who
mhm. He's
doesn't
the
like
live
fight.
service, yeah, but he
Right,
knows, but he knows the ongoing. He would be like one that I would
sure,
like,
sure.
like
That's not an insult to Travis. I'm just using it as an example, saying like he
so people.
can't really give you a good vote on fighting games.
Yeah,
So
I'm a expert in what would you say I'm an expert on? Because I play so much.
I,
Like if you were
yeah,
to put if you were to put me in a bucket because
uh,
I play a
action
lot.
adventure, I would say is probably your main
Exactly.
category.
Like at least like you could kind of like consolidate like my expertise there.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the thing. It's like I hearing that from the Vastas, I'm like considering the Game Award. The one thing like the Game Awards are the most unserious, but it's the one that people treat the most seriously, ironically,
It's
because
the one that has the biggest money to it. That's why.
exactly. So it's like I wish like knowing that others just do it so much better. Why
Mm.
is this one the one that is so sloppy? That
And actually, it's frustrating because the reality is like, as much as I criticize him, I do like Jeff Keighley,
yeah,
and
same.
I think Jeff Keighley is a net positive to the industry. I really do.
Having now met him in person, I doubly kind of like reemphasize that.
I think more than almost anybody else that you will see, I believe that man is very, very genuine.
Hmm.
However, there is no question that he answers to a pocketbook that
Yeah,
comes out of a certain Asian country, and
yeah,
that country is not Japan.
absolutely.
And that is a problem. That
Yeah,
is very much a problem.
yep. And with that, Rick, that brings us to the end.
Yes, so much for a short episode.
Yes.
This might be our longest
I
one
love
yet.
it's funny. I think that happens when Game Awards. It's kind of like included.
Yeah,
There was a lot to
yeah.
talk about, but it's like if there's something I always love about Game of the Year time, I think it brings up a lot. And I would say like
There's a lot to talk about when that time
yes, and
comes.
I do have pent up frustration about the
Yes,
conversation about like the
yes.
most nominated game about this year as someone that loves the game. That's kind of like because it's like if I was like you, like more of a grump of like I'm not in that. It's not
No,
for me. It's not
I'm very, very frustrated over it. To be honest with you, I
exactly.
think I think it's been bad for the industry. It's been good for them. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's been bad for a year where I've said many times I don't think this was the best year we've ever had. I think it was a very good year
I
of
think it's a great year. It's a great year of
good
excellent games.
releases, but it was not a good year of like super top quality releases. I think we had like two or three that I'd really put in that category, and a bunch of like good to
Mhm.
great, but not spectacular, right? And I think Expedition 33 getting a lot of nominations, some of which it's very clearly
Mhm.
warranted. I'm not arguing that, but
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
I think that's quite bad for a lot of the games that do deserve recognition. And
Mhm.
instead of even getting noticed by people, it's all going to this one game. And I mean, you've agreed in many categories where maybe it doesn't even deserve to be there.
Exactly. We just don't know the technicalities of how
Right.
those categories are even like
Right.
mentioned. Like, and they like Expedition 33 won Studio of the Year. Yeah, I agree with that.
I
Like,
would agree with that.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
I would
would.
not dispute. Well, actually, maybe I wouldn't. I actually might have to go with Obsidian just based on output.
It could be
Yeah,
like, but at
but
least
I'm not offended
exactly.
by them.
And those are the kind of things be like, hey, you can like make arguments for why we
Right,
would why someone
right,
else could make that. It's like there are parts where it's like, okay, yeah, you do definitely deserve that, especially like as the story. Like
right.
I
Yes, sure,
the
sure.
story of like how this game like and again kind of like the director is an absolute class like literally in his acceptance speech at the game where he was like guys go play Dispatch he literally said like he was promoting another game like when he was promoting 100 Line Academy when the game came out when it was getting like when
Wow,
the game was
that's
getting all of that he literally was promoting
and the sad part is when he said that, most people voting for this probably have no idea what that is.
exactly so that's what they tell you is that to me is like the most frustrating thing that you have this genuine group of
Educate yourself,
yeah
please. If you're
yes it's
going
like
to talk about games all you want, right? We need more talk about games.
yeah
Educate yourself.
and you look at yourself instead
Educate
of like
yourself. That's all I'm asking.
yeah, instead of just being as
Yes.
you play this, and suddenly you're an authority
Yes.
on
Yes.
what this does for the industry and all of that. It's like
Yes.
there's elements that the industry will learn, and the thing that I thought that it learns that you can make games like this with smaller teams.
Yes.
You don't need
Yeah.
like the
Well,
massive teams.
and more, and actually, perhaps the most important game thing that this game proved, if more than anything else, is anybody can make a good game.
Yeah,
Anybody.
anybody, regardless of your background, and
Right. Right. Like this is the best metaphor in the gaming industry of
mhm,
like the American dream of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
you work hard, you do it right, and you succeed.
and
This
that's what.
is the definition of a like a rags to riches story, if you will, in the
Uh huh.
games industry, right? And
Absolutely.
that's a fantastic story. Like that is wonderful,
Yes.
but
But
obviously it's been so surrounded by other nonsense.
yes, which is so sad and like not even the fault of the game. It's that's kind of what's so fun is
Yeah,
that the
yeah,
conversation already has become its own monster. That
yeah,
is like
yeah.
that is like it's so funny. I could talk about that all day because it is a frustrating thing, especially
Yes.
because it's like it just then makes me like it makes me annoyed praising. It's kind of like this is kind of like the opposite of how I felt about The Last of Us Part Two. That it's like the conversation and there got so toxic over like
Right,
things are completely out of the control
right,
that then it just didn't make it fun to be able to like praise
right.
that game for what it is. I'm in that same boat with Expedition 33 in that way because in the opposite way, how overly like the passengers had glazed it,
Hmm.
and like all these people like even someone like those like I've never heard of this guy, that guy that kept shitting on like Modern Final Fantasy. I told you, was like I
Hmm.
blocked that guy like a long time ago. At that
Yeah,
that
yeah,
he
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I never
setting.
heard of him, but
Yeah,
yeah.
but it's like he's been one of those, and he's a streamer. So it's like it's in that conversation that it's like
So,
that is what makes me like annoyed. And then hearing again Guillaume, the director again today, be
mhm.
like this guy does nothing bad. Like what did he do? He literally went to give his praise to Final Fantasy, to Naoki Yamaguchi and all of
Mhm.
that. He went to Japan to all that because like of how much he loves like what those games mean, because his game is a love letter. When you're a
Mhm.
love letter, you're not meant to use it as a way to
Right,
shit on everything.
right.
So that's kind of like the problem.
And one other thing to say, it's just a real quick thing, and this is not in any way criticism of the
Mhm.
game. It's not
Mhm.
criticism of the team, anything like that.
Huh?
Sometimes it felt like I was the only person in the world who was like, "Man, I just don't think this is that good." But the reality is, when I talked around, I'm like, even though Twitter might not make you feel like this,
Hmm.
there's obviously a lot of people that like it. I'm not
Yeah.
arguing that whatsoever.
Yes.
There are a lot of people that are like, "Why is everybody praising this so much?" You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like it. It
There's
seems like
more.
that is not the case. It seems like it is 99% people that think it's the greatest game ever made, and like the occasional asshole like me coming through that's like this game
Uh-huh.
sucks, which I've never
Uh-huh.
said. I've never said the game
Exactly.
sucks,
You're
right?
just like
But
this is
but
just massively overrated.
I,
Like,
I have talked to some friends and I'm like, man, am I crazy? But I have other friends. It's like I don't think it's that great either. I think it's good.
mhm.
Most people would
I've
agree that
heard
it's
that
good.
too. Yeah, I heard
Yeah.
that
So
too.
so I'm
Yeah.
like I'm like it's that is what is so crazy about this. It's like this. I don't even want to say small group because
Hmm.
there's a lot of people that like it, right? I'm not
No,
arguing that.
no,
But
like
this small
in
group of
general.
people who have gone crazy about it
Uh-huh.
have so muted any real conversation about it that it
Mhm.
sounds like that's what everybody's like, and it's just not.
And here's also the one thing because of what I said is like it is impressive what they were able to do. There's so much room for
Absolutely.
improve. There's so much room
Yes.
for improvement
There's
that then
tons.
because of the overly glazing is like, how is that feedback gonna
This,
get to them? It's
this is
like
FromSoft all over again. That's what I keep saying. Why has From never become even remotely decent
our technical stuff.
programmers? Because you have people that refuse to acknowledge the fact that their games are technological messes.
Exactly. So and that's
Right?
kind of and that's kind of like the thing is like I feel there can be a nuance again because of like that game is excellent with what it did as a first
Yeah.
attempt. It still has ways to improve
Sure.
in many ways. You don't then have to say that this is the second coming that has like
Right.
completely like
Right. Exactly.
erased all the great work that genre has been doing in games that that many of these people refuse to see because of
Hmm.
their aversion to Japanese aesthetics or
Hmm.
my or its own myopia. And that's kind
Hmm.
of like the problem of the passengers that this game broke containment. That like this game literally broke containment and it spread to
Hmm.
get the kind of people you don't want to hear be like the evangelizers of this game
Hmm.
because then this is what happens. You get
Hmm.
someone that liked it fine, but then finds it like then the conversation becomes so obnoxious that then he doesn't want to play it anymore because like
Right.
becomes some, and that to me is sad because I feel it would be worth it for you to see if the later parts of that game hit
Well,
different for you
I
and
will
all
be
that.
clear. That is not the only reason I stopped playing it. It really wasn't doing it for me anymore.
Exactly. So
That's more why I stopped.
yeah,
But
but also you on your own like
oh,
on your
it definitely influenced me.
exactly
No question about
exactly. It's
that.
like that has become clear, and I know many people. I just know how it is when I mean. This is the Breath of the Wild. Like, hey, look at me
Yes.
with Breath of the
Yes.
Wild. There's like I like that game fine. I don't think it's my favorite cell. The Breath of the Wild is the
It's
greatest game of all
objectively
time.
the greatest game ever made.
And then I'm
There's
like,
very little game there, but okay.
exactly. And then I get into like that's when I become like I go feral myself like
Yeah.
no, it's not the greatest game of all. There's so
Yeah.
much that's problematic about
Yeah.
it. So it's like that's kind of what happens. Everyone has their games. For Rick, unfortunately, was this
You can
one.
say in your head. I mean,
Yeah.
I say it all the time.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm not gonna let somebody else tell me what I like. But the reality is, when you maybe have an opinion and you just have it beat into your head that that opinion is wrong,
Hmm.
like it's human instinct, especially in America at least,
Yeah.
to rebel against that and be like, no, you know
Yeah.
what, fuck you.
Exactly, exactly, and you know who did that? The Overglazers, unfortunately, because like
Absolutely.
that to me was always gonna be like the tragedy for the people that maybe too are turned off by the overglazing it's getting because like the
Hmm.
developers made a genuine love letter to this
Hmm.
genre. They've said it over and over and over again. Never in any interview they feel, yeah, like we're feeling very confident about what we had here. And in fact, like even the in the speech, it's like this feels surreal. How did we
Hmm.
get it? Like like
Hmm.
Guillermo says like this feels surreal. I don't know how we got here. It's like we only set up to make like this thing because we love this inspiration. No one was doing it. This like it feels it's like that's the spirit. Why not
Hmm.
just praise? Be like, look, why is not the conversation? Look with like they decided to do this because this genre is awesome. Go
Yeah.
play the other things that inspired it
And
too.
also
Like
let's talk about what's good about it instead of how it's going to drastically change the
changing.
entire future of JRPGs.
Hmm. Exactly, because it doesn't do
It's
anything
not. It's
remotely
not
new
going to. Right.
besides this aesthetic,
Right.
basically. So that's kind of, and that's the problem. And so again, that's going to be annoying. But I mean, the it is set. Like basically, the fix is
It's
set.
gonna win Game of the Year. I mean, I don't think
Yes.
there's even a question
So I
about
feel
it. But
like part of me would love if some
considering Jeff Keighley basically said that in opening night live, I think is what it was.
exactly when
Yeah,
he emphasized the
yeah.
game when he was talking
He
about
said
the
something
Independence
like
game.
we have a new indie game
Uh,
that's almost assuredly going to be in competition for Game of the Year. I was like,
mhm.
oh, well, that doesn't make that sound sketchy or anything.
Exactly. But it's like the fix is set at this point because that's where
Yeah.
the conversation is. And just to kind of like circle back to kind of say about this game, I think this was a great year. I wouldn't call it the best year, but I would
I think
say,
last year was actually better, probably, but
yeah, it,
in terms of ceiling, like the ceiling was higher last year.
yes, I would say it's more like because I feel last year for me had more games that
No,
were
no,
more
I'm
for
sorry, 23, not last year.
2023. Yeah, 20, yeah.
23. I'm sorry. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
2023 is the better year
yeah, yeah, yeah.
of that. But I would say like 2025 is more, I feel like the surprise games. Like you wouldn't have expected
Yeah,
what they
I would
did.
agree with that. I would
Yeah,
agree with
so
that.
2025 is a more surprising year. 2023 was more a blockbuster. It was more the absolute blockbuster, like big
Mm.
ceiling year. And to me personally, 2024 was so tuned in for me. That's how I kind of say it. Even though
Yeah,
I'm
actually, specifically, if you liked RPGs, 2024 was one of the greatest years ever. If you didn't
exactly,
like RPGs, there actually wasn't much there.
exactly.
But if you
So
liked RPGs, you were eating good all year long. Yeah.
exactly, and that's kind of what makes the whole conversation about JRPG so much more annoying because we just went through the greatest
Hmm.
JRPG or
Yeah.
RPG year,
Yeah.
Not Western, because Western RPGs have been like Western games in general have just been in the general malaise
Hmm.
over the last 3 years. I would say like the
Right.
Western industry is kind of,
Which is
uh,
again part of the reason why KCD was so well liked because it was a
mhm.
good one.
Yeah, it wasn't. It not only was it a good one, it was a
It
revolutionary
was a
one.
great. Yeah, yeah. Actually, to be honest with you, even if you didn't like it, the
It's a
KCD
game to
two is
respect. It's a game to respect.
it's the closest to your generational game because it's the closest to say like, hey, this is taking the genre a step forward.
Yeah, and it's just unfortunate that it's so samey. And also
Mm,
the slight controversy that surrounds its creator. That's a lot of people can hear that
mm,
if they decide to be that way, that it always gonna have that asterisk that I feel like it is the
mm.
kind of game that I'm gonna say this like it should be an easy reference for anyone.
Oh yeah.
The fact that it has so much that it had to like swim against the current because of its creator and kind of like its nature and all of that, I feel prevents its ceiling from being like the thing that it absolutely deserves to be in a way. But the fact that it
Hmm.
still made it, it's like it just shows that it still made it
It's
despite
that
like
good. Yeah, it still shows it's
exactly. So
that
it's like
good.
at a certain point something is just that good that you just cannot
Yeah,
like no matter how much you activist against it.
yeah.
So that's kind of but that's kind of what I also find the conversation more frustrating is like you're saying the RPGs were dead or have not been getting anything. It's like were you asleep last
Yeah.
year? Like were you
Yeah.
absolutely asleep last year? It's like
Yeah,
shut
they
up.
never stopped last year.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Exactly. The only thing that made you notice this time is because you're an anti-weeb.
Right.
Or an
Right.
basically it basically so it's like and just tells me that you're racist to against Japan. That's what it tells me. This is how like then you come in because I'm like it's great that we got all that in 2024 and now we get the Western one, the Western style one because we haven't gotten that one in that in a while.
Mhm.
But here's where we are. 2026, I mean, the fix will be GTA 6 if it qualifies.
There's definitely looking ahead, a very high ceiling in
For next year.
2026.
Yeah.
The question's going to be, do we reach that ceiling, right?
Hmm.
As well as how much does it fill in below the GTAs? And
Hmm.
I never was excited for Fable. I don't care about Fable at all, but
Yeah.
that is a big one for most people.
Hmm.
Um, if we get Intergalactic next year, which I think there's a chance we could. I mean
Hmm.
that's two really big games for next year. You got Wolverine. I mean, so
Yeah.
we definitely got some big hitters next year too.
Oh yeah, it's like in the big hitter stuff. It's like 2025 is gonna be the year that showed the industry that there is a healthy indie slash
Hmm.
double A.
And the triple A's are back full force next year. Yeah.
Exactly, and a way of being like, hey, if things are getting too expensive in AAA land, but you feel like if you follow Dustin Legary, he's been like retweeting a bunch of double A games, and I look at them I'm like, that's double A,
Yeah,
like
it's pretty crazy.
so I'm like, oh
Well,
man,
I mean, it was a major issue that the double A scene went away. It's like
hmm,
double A was important. The
exactly,
double A was every bit as important as indie because it was the stopgap between the two. And
hmm,
we see what happens. It went away, and triple A budgets bloated like crazy,
hmm, and then you
and
barely
to
get
the point it
games.
became completely unsustainable. Yeah,
Exactly. So it's like I feel that's the thing that 2020 the nominees of 2025 show me because even as generational as KCD2 is, you would even qualify that. Would it that even be triple A? I think you could even make the case like a double A team.
yeah. I mean, because typically you would obviously uh, dictate it based on its budget. Its budget was like 70 million. Like it
40
was
million.
small. 40. Okay.
It was
Yeah,
40
but
million
but that's what happens when you don't make something in the
in
states.
this
You
in the
make it.
States
You
too.
make it
So
in Czechia.
and Czechia and all of that. And again, it just goes to show is like they were able to make that game that cheap. It
And
always
also, the reality is, Warhorse is a fairly small team. Don't
mhm,
forget, the original KCD
was kickstarted.
was a Kickstarter. That's right.
Exactly.
It was just a wildly successful one, and then
Mhm.
they got picked up by
They were an
by
indie, and they were an
yes,
indie
yep.
that
They're
then kind
not
of
now, but they
not now,
were at the
but they
time,
were
right?
because it was like a
And then
well to be fair,
Deep Silver published the original game, so
mhm,
it was not an indie either. But
you
they
could call
then
it a
got
double A.
purchased by them.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it maintained a double A status, and it had a double A budget that when you look at that game, even the little that I played is like this is visually very impressive. It is
Yeah.
visually like very impressive that it's like a it puts into shame the more expensive the more expensive ones that it's like
Mhm.
they're able to do that of course with the technicality of where it was made but again it just kind of goes to show it's like it doesn't need to be the highest of budget. That's
Right,
gonna be the
right.
lasting impact of 2025. Besides, also showing you greatness comes from small beginnings. Your legacy lives on Uncharted.
Gotta start somewhere.
Exactly. The games for next week, I'm gonna read them real quick. Constance comes to PC on November 24. Ayla, AILA comes to PS5, Series X, and SPC on November 25. Also, on November 25 comes Pools on PS5 and PSVR 2, Wizard of Legends 2 on Switch. And on November 27, I see Bubble Bobble, like you and oh,
Bubble.
Bubble
Yeah.
Bubble Sugar Dungeons on PS5, Switch, and PC, and Duck Detective: The Ghost of Glamping on iOS, Android. So basically, that is a week where you look at the Black Friday sales
Yeah.
and get anything from from this last 3 months to see if you want to get in because then we're gonna get into the December stuff. But Rick, we said we wanted to do a short episode, and once again because we can't help ourselves.
It was our longest, yes.
Yes.
We're at 3.5 hours.
God damn it, has it really been that long?
Yeah, I checked it partway through. I was like, my God.
God,
It's
yeah, I haven't eaten anything, but
yeah.
it always happens with us. Hopefully that this file doesn't die. I'm getting
Unfortunately, we're both interested in the industry at large, and that's why we just kind of go back and forth. So,
exactly yeah. So but this is why I can't wait for this live stream, like to be able to set that up and that become because I don't want to switch that before the season ends, but that's gonna make it better because then I won't have to worry about oh now I have to edit and render this. But this was a fun conversation because at least we know that it's always interesting to talk about all this even if we like regardless
we're,
of
we're
my
both
fire
students of it, so there's a lot to talk about.
exactly. So where can people find you, Rick?
Butch4969 on Twitter, Xbox, PlayStation, you name it,
Mhm.
and youtube.com/spreading the nerd. Fridays, 7:30 p.m.
Mhm.
Eastern Standard Time. I do believe we're doing an episode tomorrow. I don't know what
Okay.
it's about, but we are doing one.
Okay. May or may not pop in there depending on what I'm doing. But and find me at the Slayer Giant on Twitch and the Slayer Giant on Twitter, the Slayer Giant on BlueSky, and my written content at seasongaming.com. You can read my Black Ops 7 review that I ranted about over there at the website, plus all the other reviews that I've done this year. So Rick, thank you so much for being here. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Enjoy your break for Thanksgiving. We'll talk about recording a different day depending for that
Yeah,
return. And
just whatever works for you guys will work for me.
mhm,
That just
yeah,
so long as I know in advance, so I can make sure I'm free. That's all.
yeah, yeah. I definitely want to get that final episode in the year with
Yeah.
the three of us
Hmm.
before we go on that break and we begin the new era of the live stream next year. So, but yeah, everyone that listened to this very long episode, thank you for
Yeah. If you
yeah,
stuck with us all the way, please get a drink.
exactly. I got it right. Thank you for being there. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy and enjoy whenever this goes out because again, this month has just been horrible with the posting
Happy
schedule.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's happy Thanksgiving for that. See you in 2 weeks and
Press X.
to play. Hasta la vista, baby.